Yo, selamat sore teman-teman. Halo Wahyu, halo Farel. Dipin gak nih? Apaan tuh yang dipin? Firstnya kah? Jangan coy, yang gue pin ini dong. Prediksi dulu dong. Mantap, udah ada 3 vote ya, GG. Gila. Akhirnya saatnya tunggu-tunggu. China versus China. Ini dia. Sayang sih ya nggak ada perebutan juara 3 ya. Oh, kalau ada perebutan juara 3 seru sih. Let's go FPX, we'll see soon brody. Lagi masih sambil nunggu, kita ngobrol-ngobrol dulu ya. By the way, musiknya kegedean gak sih? Kayak musiknya kegedean teman-teman ya. Halo Ahmad Rafidian Kusuma. Halo Cunong. Selamat sore teman-teman. Wah. Masih agak lama ya. Kita masih nunggu sekitar 6 menit ya teman-teman ya. By the way, udah tahu kan teman-teman yang tim yang masuk semifinal apa aja kan? Coba gue mau tanya dulu dah, kira-kira kalian tahu nggak nih tim-tim yang udah lolos ke semifinal siapa aja guys? Aduh anjing, lupa karena yang belum beli udut, beli dulu lah tuh. Ini kayak pertandingan bakal wadaw sini. By the way, sorry kalau gua agak lemas dikit ya, gua belum sempet tidur lagi ya. FVX, Nova, TF, JT. Mantap, dari kemarin berarti ngikutin berarti ya. Dre, gue kemarin di Tanah Abang keputar-putar bangsat. Wow, emang parah cuy, emang gede banget itu Tanah Abang, sumpah. Lu udah balik lagi kan ke Kalimantan apa masih di Jakarta lu? Jangankan lu yuk, gua aja orang Jakarta nih. Baru sekali gua ke Tanah Abang, nggak mau lagi gua ke Tanah Abang cuy. Halo Sholtir, selamat sore. Final stabil lah ya, FVX lawan TF. We'll see soon ya, we'll see tomorrow sih kalau soal itu sih. Tapi ya gue berharapnya jangan CN sama CN lah ya, CN sama saya lah gitu. Apa namanya, pembuktian lah. Kalau region kita tuh juga nggak boleh dipandang sebelah hidung ya, sebelah mata ya. Udah balik malam tadi, oh cepet loh. Oh beli, oh ada urusan doang, habis itu balik. Oh belanja ini kah buat lebaran kah? Belanja kain kata apa? Y1Z Fadau masih membandingkan statistik ya, so far sih statistiknya sosok lah ya, dua-duanya keras nih. Bentar teman-teman, gue sambil buka YouTube juga di handphone ya. By the way, jangan lupa di like dulu teman-teman sampai gocap kali ya guys ya. Baru nanti kita giveaway teman-teman. Tiga menit Mang Yoi buat Idul Adha. Oh siap, bener kan? Udah pasti sih. Paru-paru gue ada flek astulah rokok. Ya emang pasti dong, kalau orang rokok udah pasti ada fleknya. Cuma gede atau enggaknya kan kita nggak tahu ya. Lo kena ini TBC shelter. Ini paru-paru gue belum di scan aja ini. Kalau di scan sih wadaw juga kayaknya dah. Akhir bulan atau enggak awal bulan gue mau usulin ke anak-anak pengurus WR Jabar buat kopdar. Siap. Semoga nanti pas lagi ada gathering lagi tidak inilah ya, bisa silaturahmi nih gue dari sono nih. Aduh. Nah, kita sambil dengerin caster ini aja kali, caster ngomong kali ya teman-teman ya. Ini kayaknya sebentar lagi sih. Oh belum. Masih ini ya, masih video apa namanya, ceng-cengan nih kalau ini nih. They have to protect their top laner. You can go back early. You don't have to stay in Singapore now. Oh, okay. I see. Pointing so far, it was quite obvious they will play revolves around their jungler. Alright. As for small better than theirs. We have better teamwork. Oh, nice. From the perspective of the practice matches, I think this match is like a preview for the final match. Siap. Will not start a channel again as you're watching all match. Me too, Brody. Semoga ini matchnya bakal GG ya. Dikulum dikunyah. Assalamualaikum semuanya. Waalaikumsalam juga Sekbadig. Nanti gua kabarin dulu ya. Siap Cunong. Atau enggak awal-awal bulan gua mau suka udah sorry. Karena tiap bangun pagi tidur pagi selalu air bening 1 gelas buat netralisir racun dan bersihin paru-paru. Oke siap. By the way GP langsung ya shelter ya. Semoga tidak terjadi yang parah ya. Antara kalau flag tuh paru-paru basah atau TBC kayaknya deh. Enggak TBC kata lu bang enggak ya. Ya kurang-kurang aja lah Brody. Oke, apa nih? Oh, iklan dulu, siap. Sumpah ini keren banget ya lambang-lambang tangan gini. Keren banget. Oke, kita lihat udah mulai masuk tes teman-teman. Let's go, kita matiin musik dulu ya. Kita nyalain dulu. Halo, Sanfeng, halo. Oh, ini kalau Sunda masuk worldwide pasti bilang aing teu sieun anjing. Saya tidak takut gitu ya. Aing teu sieun. Siap. Thanks Brody, you're welcome Brody. Wah anjay, ini dari kemarin udah ada sih nih. Yang apa namanya 3D animation yang di samping-sampingnya gini kayak aspas gitu. Dan gue berharapnya semoga nanti finalnya kayak LoL PC sih, gue berharapnya ada konser dulu gitu ya, berharapnya sih. Ini apa nih? Aduh ini by the way gue mute dulu teman-teman ya, gue gak kena copyright teman-teman. Karena mereka juga ngomong pakai bahasa mereka sendiri, benar dong. Utututi ciao lah. Anjay, ini masih VT biasa ya. Masih VT biasa teman-teman. We need the more stable mentality in order to unleash our full power. Anjay, siap. Apakah akan K-pop lagi? Enggak dong, kan yang tahun ini lagunya lu tahu belum sih? Udah dengar kan lagunya yang rapping gitu? Kok rapping, rap lah, rap music lah. Tapi emang dia nggak dibikin album gitu sih, cuma satu lagu doang masalahnya ya. Nggak tahu juga dah bakal ada konser apa enggak. Halo Pak Nobis, halo Yesus Muharram. Never Stop Me kan nyoi. Never Stop Me. Sambil dengar dulu apa kita dengar Never Stop Me dulu ya teman-teman. Uga tuh. Dulu juga waktu first tournya LoL PC sama juga cuma satu, enggak lah, LoL PC banyak cowok lagunya cowok serius gua. Minimal kayak ada 5 apa 6 lagu gitu di setiap kali turnamen. Ntar ya tadi ntar tahun ini kan bentar lagi mau ada WoW juga kan. Bang, halo Fiona. GPX apa kabar kok GPX? Prediksi kamu bang siapa? Pantos Phoenix gua. Aslinya lagu akas enak Pars Warrior Legend Never Die dan lain-lain. Yep. Tapi itu beda season. GG keren videonya Jo anjay. Semis. Ini dia guys, Nova Team. Let's go. True Damage, Pentakill, lagu-lagu kesini banyak banget pokoknya. Semoga FX jatuhin Nova ketemu Flash aja Will season. Wis, oke, coach sudah masuk teman-teman. Pado sih monster baronan, monster bro, monster. Betul, setuju gue. Maksud gue pas 2013an kok pas pertama banget ada turnamen Olympic nya baru satu. Oh iya, itu gue nggak tahu sih. Kalau itu gue nggak tahu sih serius. Kayak 2013 itu sebelum Warriors kan ya, Warriors itu 2014 nggak sih? Mudah-mudahan Walter nambah juga MV-nya, amin. Gue prediksi yang menang FPX soalnya Pak Andre nggak mau twerking ya. Udah langsung drafting bro di Let's Go. Oke, gue pause dulu teman-teman ya, kita gedein dulu ya. Bentar, kita gedein dulu teman-teman ya. Brody.
For Fun Plus Phoenix, one of the best teams in China, one of the biggest esports brands in the world, a team that anyone will be familiar with.
Gue matiin aja teman-teman bentar ya.
If you're a mobile esports
Habis kelar drafting kali, ya. Persom ya, halo Lina Job Street.
International mobile esports teams many times
Kok bahasa Mandarin susah nih, cewek gue kalau marah ngomelnya pakai Mandarin kayak orang tolol. Gue mau belajar, susah banget cok sumpah Mandarin tuh. Fiora Fado 11-12 sama lo ya kok? Enggak lah, gue badut anjing, Fiora gue bangsut. Belum tidur ini dari pagi kok Andre? Belum. Emang kelihatan ya? Belum tidur. Mantap, lu masih streaming ya by the way kan? Enggak, lu udah kelar tadi gue lihat sih gue. Mantap, cepet banget gameplay game-nya, nyoi. Kita on time sekali ya, langsung R-nya ya. Zap, Sing,
Nova Esports.
Jace,
We saw in the video teaser leading up to this match.
Kha'Zix open. Wow. Sana Bennett.
Foundation for the squad so that he can be the 1v9 king on the flip side. Plus Phoenix saying our jungler's better.
Gocap pertama FX menang ya anjing. Gocap pertama nggak tuh? Oh iya, karma open ya. Wow. Rokokannya macam apa yang gue sebutin nih kok rasanya seperti kecoa. Wah, nggak mau nyebut brand gue. Final nanti tanggal 9 mulai jam 7 malam. Siap. Terima kasih infonya Junong. Z-nya Fado di respect. Disrespect apa di respect? Lo salah bahasa tuh cowok, disrespect pak. Dia di disrespect dong anjing. Kalau disrespect ya nggak di banned dong. Taruh di Twitch kamu bang. Kamu apa bang? Enggak, gue belum input sih.
Nova Esports going back to what worked so well for them in their series against Rolster Y. The quarterfinals
nggak dimainin ya, GG juga.
Long instead of indexing on a late game
di Twitch berapa viewernya?
Early bridge that structures Nova's early game into a big game that will hopefully for them.
Total berapa sih masih kelihatan? Oh ini nih. 5,1k. Kapan gue buka ini? Tanggal 9 Tomar lagi nggak? Tanggal 9 kemungkinan besar kita bakal nobar lagi Papa Gamer. Ntar kita ketemu lagi, kita ngumpul lagi, oke? Drop gift di Twitch ada lagi nanti ya pas final. Ada dan itu beda-beda ya. Udah bet 250 buat FPX. Siap. Emang kalau bet gitu kalau menang di Twitch dapat apa sih? Rakan Brody.
Okay, what is he gonna do? There's no way that he can steal this dragon away from me. There's no way he's gonna find a kick onto my back. Oh my god, he just did it.
I also want to flag
Alistar
some of the other
Banner.
things that we got in the first rotation from Nova. You saw the Corki get
Alistar
a first pick
Banner.
here. Expect to see that throughout this series. Very high priority between these two teams. It gets taken away from Yezi.
Nautilus ini belum
Yezi
dipakai sih.
basically has only played Corki this
Iya,
time.
ada dapat recall.
Instead, he's going to be on
Mana belum masuk wildcard-nya nih, belum mau beli skin nanti dong, Cok. Kelar tanggal 9, kelar icon dulu baru nanti di bagian semua gitu.
Frontline for FPX.
Terakhir kan kemarin yang emote Jinx.
Taking a moment to absorb all of the bans so far. No Ziggs
Respect
means
maksudnya,
there's going to be a
oke.
strong magic damage dealer for Nova Esports
Bener,
and FPX
masih sangat
sniping
penting
away the
disrespect.
other main magic
Itu
damage
bukan
carry in
ini
Morgana.
lagi. Itu bahkan bukan tanda ini lagi. Itu udah ada satu huruf yang beda kan. Oriana. Oke, Oriana PC, Morgan. Nah,
Nova Esports have to
wah ini
solidify
flex
their
banget ya,
support
pikannya
in.
gila ya.
Galio will be the call.
Nggak bisa
And
ditebak
what
bahkan
I'm
lu.
looking at for FPX, every single champion for this Jax
Galio.
has a shield.
Galio support kiri sih ketebak banget ya. Kiri sih ketebak banget ya. Galio pasti support, Oriana PC, Rivennya Baron, Lisinnya jungle, Corkinya mid. Yang kanan nih yang jadi pertanyaan dari FPX nih. Lucian. Hah?
Okay.
So I don't think all this shielding is actually for 0711.
Well, not
Though this is how any other team would play it. Any other team,
Lucian
you're absolutely
Baron.
right, would be all about the Jax in the jungle.
Lucian
FPX
Baron.
play to their top side early. 0711,
Jungle-nya
as they were
Jax.
talking, not as flashy
Aduh,
of
gue
a
lupa lagi nih,
character.
si Xiaoma lagi.
He's gonna be the aid, the support,
Berarti
the
karma,
leader.
karmanya berarti di mid ya.
Lucian top versus
Hari ini Gea nggak apa ada, Gea sisa berapa
challenging
slot
guys
kok?
to a one
Oke,
v one.
tungguin aja, nggak usah nanya-nanya berapa
Yes,
slot.
you have more lethality,
Tungguin
but
aja.
you'll be able to dodge all of your engage,
Lo harus
stay
dijaga
in the
juga anjing
distance
OP.
with the aid of
Mantap.
karma, especially
Shadow itu
Morgan
nggak ketebak
Sensor,
anjir
do
makanya.
the damage necessary to win early game team fights for FPX.
And that's during at
Draftingnya
least the skirmishing
sih
part
wadaw
of the
sekali
objective
ya.
fights 5 minutes into the game.
Morgana
What I'm going
mid.
to be really focused on is
Iya.
what will Nova do to punish something like a Lucian Baron lane.
Morgananya
The reason
mid
why
ya?
we don't
Gue
see
juga nggak,
Lucian
gue
succeed
lupa sih gue
on the
antara
top
yang
side of
FPX
the map
itu.
or even in solo lane is usually
Mana ada
yes,
Rakan
you
Baron,
have
goblok.
leading dominance, but teams don't
Wah, FPX
successfully
meta jaga jarak,
translate
nyoy.
that into meaningful advantages. And you are playing against a Lee Sin.
Anjing ini carry-nya bener-bener cuman satu, selebihnya belakang semua, Cok.
Woi,
Wede, gila. Sekarang bukan satu-satu champion lagi, semuanya sekarang ya. Corki Lucian lagi anjing nyoi. Lulu Baron aja ada. Masalahnya gue selalu bau kalau Gea, iya deh. Wah keren, siap. Oke teman-teman, gue matiin webcam dulu teman-teman ya, biar nggak menghalangin teman-teman ya. Sebentar, gue tinggal sebentar ya, gue pengen ngambil ciki dulu teman-teman. Buat cemilan. Let's go.
Got some potentially lane swaps coming in, or at least some early vision for the Baron side of the map.
Yeah, early rotates coming out, and I think they're anticipating what Nova are doing here, which is Yiza and Neon roaming up from the mid lane. This is a very common WRL strategy. We're seeing it deployed against other WRL teams to get extra gold onto Neon so that he can be a bigger threat in the mid game.
Just a straight up exhaust. That is Neon saying you cannot contest.
Hey, hello, I'm back, bro.
Cateringnya
nanti di mana om ya? Catering atau catering kali? Nanti tunggu aja ya. Kece-kece star coach tim luar negeri, nyoi. Kayaknya mau wajib just deh. Kau anjing lo, lu anjing. Benar berarti Morgananya APC itu. Yezinya mid ya, oke, gue udah ingetin namanya dulu.
That's gonna be rough. Versus Yezi. So as
Morgana nggak mungkin support, emang nggak mungkin. Udah pasti rakan kalau kayak gitu. Cuma tadi gue masih berpikirnya adalah mereka main duo Morgana sama ini tadinya. Morgana sama siapa namanya? Karma tadi di bawah. Karma rakannya juga flex soalnya bisa di mid juga deh.
They've already taken plans without even involving the jungler. Long has finally finished his jungle clear setup. He's trying to contest this mid wave. And I expect that Nova Esports want to carry that momentum over to the top side so they can protect Itse in this Lucian matchup.
You can already see that
Hyperjack sekarang mah pasti mid nyoy.
Even with the support.
Bener-bener main hyper carry banget ya, jungle di carry di ini banget ya. Gila lu.
You see FPX play this way quite often. There's a fair amount of conversation that goes to 0711. He looks good when
udah dukung FPX tapi kok pakai Baron Rex deh, nggak apa-apa lah, Cok. Why not?
Because he's playing Jax and FPX will get to the late game. Right. But he is going to play a more supportive role.
Ntar pasti clear mid juga tuh Jax ya. Bukan clear mid, dia lebih kepada bagi XP sih. Mid mah nggak mungkin di clearing dulu, cok, kasihan lah kalau kayak gitu nggak farming dong. Ke-swipe up itu layarnya balik ke home jadi focus ya, kocak. Ada apa dengan Baron Range? Nggak tahu. Walaupun gue suka ngata-ngatain Baron Range ya.
0711 looking at the map rather than this is a gold mine that I can cash in on. It's more
Pas
like, hey,
login langsung ke lobby
my
bukannya
homie's
ke
doing
match-nya.
okay.
Iya, ngulang dong anjing.
Yeah, bam. And then he doesn't necessarily need to come
FPX
to a
mau
lane
mematahkan
because
mitos
you
Lucius,
were talking to me
coba
especially
ya,
about
we'll see
FPX
ya.
and their playstyle. They are very comfortable with taking 50-50s in lane matchups because they are bold enough to understand that they will always be comfortable going into the mid game
Kangen tremor itu.
without needing to
Anyway.
create an advantage through jungle pressure. It's
Baron
just
itu
about the
merepotkan
laners
jungler.
Which
Kenapa
is
itu?
something that FPX has the luxury of because they're so reliably winning lanes. Nova Esports on the other side, very pointed, as we see during this composition, all about landing the combo behind Long, him going in, getting the Orianna Shockwave behind it.
Lo kemarin lihat kok yang TF mau nge-end langsung JDG nge-pause.
I do have word that
Yang
while
mana ya?
we're in this pause, we have some fans that have shown up here in Singapore to check out this intense
Yang pertandingannya mana ya? Kalau yang kemarin banget nggak nonton
In Singapore.
In Singapore.
yang JDG
Where are
lawan
you in
TF.
Singapore?
Lawan kena geng. Oh, bang halo Mas Syarul. Tuh kalau berapa menit gitu pas udah nggak minus ambil minin jungle-nya.
Yeah, I don't remember which floor,
Mantap.
but
It's near where we were getting tested. It's
Oh.
that whole area out front.
We do have sounds of the fan zone. Actually, should be able to feed that through. I wanna
Di Cina
hear the
kebanyakan
fan
pakai
zone go
Huawei
on.
jadi
If
dikasih
you're in the fan
Samsung
zone
gini
right
mulu.
now, give us your biggest cheer.
Detik-detik sebelum Jax jungler punah, nyoy bener-bener. Bener nih. Detik-detik sebelum Jax jungler punah. Wah, komersial dulu teman-teman. Waduh, komersial dulu teman-teman. Nampaknya ada masalah ya. Wah. Draft solo queue jangan sama nama draft tour nih, bener. Diemin aja. Kalau mau berteori itu ya terserah dah. Nah kan sampai komersial break iya. Atau bet Jungle Jax terlalu OP saat tour nih, betul. Ya lagunya habis anjing. Shit. Wah. Tambah kendala sama kabelnya, waduh. Aduh, lama ya berarti ya nunggu ya. Anjay, ada yang cosplay juga tuh. Kapan nih bang? Kapan nih buy one bang lawan Mr. Like Dog? Iya ampun, buy one mulu loh. Udah masuk nih, udah kelar komersial big nih. Torabika Ice Cappuccino passwordnya, waduh. Torabika yang nggak bilang kembung. Masalahnya banyak pemain nerapin di rank, cok, Baron range. No problem sebenarnya, no problem sebenarnya. Tapi pas 3,3 Jax orang bisa nge-stuck ke jungle, memang betul. Makanya ini detik-detik sebelum punah. Tapi bukan berarti dia bener-bener punah banget, nggak juga. Masih bisa dipindahin ke Baron soalnya. Atau even mid gitu bisa. Cuman jarang sih kalau mid enggak, paling Baron sih. Kok nyebut Brenham ya nggak apa-apa lah. Yang penting kan ini aja tidak ditunjukkan lah ya. Baron terus critical enak banget satu hit bisa, tapi nggak akan masuk meta kalau yang itu enggak. Lah gue nanti next update mau pakai Timo Baron dan Mas Jamori jadi continuous. Continuous, nggak salah loh, bukannya justru dihilangin. Oh continuous ya, iya tapi area dihilangin. Kalau saya bilang lu kuat kopi, jawabnya kopi nikmat nyaman di lambung ya bapak lah. Kok ngatur kok. Baron range problem bang, akibatnya support jadi harus ke tank, jadi harus tank. Tapi lu lihat sekarang supportnya pakai rakan bukan tank kan? Ayo, lu mau ngomong apa lu? Ayo. Patah soalnya kalau kita ngomongin soal drafting kayak gitu, comfort lah. Dan juga kadang-kadang ada orang yang pakai one trick champion tuh juga lo nggak bisa underestimate sih. Siapa tahu dia main emang Baron Range yang emang main Lucian one trick gitu kan. Kita nggak tahu. Area tetap kok, justru area dihilangin. Coba deh lu baca lagi dah. Timo udah cukup damage-nya, yang harus dibawa tuh stat darahnya terlalu tipis dari dibandingkan teman-teman yang lain. Betul sih, kalau itu benar. Late game-nya benar-benar kurang lah. Jadi efek damage jamurnya sama kayak efek damage skill 1. Iya, tapi areanya dihilangin. Coba aja baca lagi. Kalau yang gue baca di league sih gitu. 3-3 tuh huge patch banget soalnya menurut gue. Capek loh itu sumpah. Apalagi nanti lo lagi ngejar rank kan. Wah, itu run berubah-berubah, champion berubah-berubah. Butuh range sih menurut gue Timo. Atau juga sih gue kalau itu. Yang penting enggak lah, nggak usah dipakai. Yang jadi problem itu meta turnya banyak pemain nerapin di rank dan itu beda ya memang. Itu benar. Suka ngide. Udah mulai masuk main lagi kan nih. Udah masuk main lagi guys. Tricky itu champ tricky. Nice, udah mulai lagi guys. Let's go.
The money where his mouth is. Prove it. Right here on the Rift, baby.
Jangan dibahas sesuatu tuh kalau ketemu yang jago. Sekarang aja masih kewalahan. Waduh. Gua kalau jadi bahas soal jadi tumbal proyek. Oke, ini kan langsung kita main. Kita nonton dulu guys ya. Let's go. Oke, kalah duit nampaknya cerah.
This is exactly what Fun Plus Phoenix did in their game 1 against RRQ quarterfinal series last week. They rotated all their support and their junglers towards the top side of the map, bullying the respective Baron laner off the towers, funneling and snowballing the gold into Fado's pockets. And it makes incredible sense here since
dikasih kemit dong duitnya.
Mark, Neon, I get it. It's their strategy that Neon just came up and
Bersaja pakai pantai Mas Timo bisa, benar.
But also, if I am user right now, I am so
gua kalau jadi bahas soal tumbal proyek ya duh. Wukong skill dia bisa nembus tembok tapi tipis ya.
But it's their strategy. I think they recognize that Yiza is going to have a rough time in this melee versus ranged matchup, and so they're putting as much gold as possible on to Neon, who does a significant proportion of Nova's damage.
See, that's the copium angle I tell my teammates. It's like, hey, you're not going to get this gold anyway, so it doesn't matter who gets it as long as one of us is getting it.
Mark, I'm so angry whenever you gank my lane, miss, and take all my gold. It does not work.
Listen, gimana cara masukin ada Morgana?
Kalau
dari ini prediksi ya teman-teman ya, menurut gue ya. Kalau misalkan dari gue sih, menurut gue kalau gimana cara Listen masuk adalah ya nunggu shield. Pertama yang paling penting itu nunggu shieldnya dua-duanya habis. Baru lu bisa tendang Jax-nya. Entah itu diagonal, entah itu vertikal atau entah itu horizontal ya. Cuman sih kemungkinan besar harusnya kalau emang mereka kemungkinan besar sih horizontal sih. Jadi nendangnya dari samping gitu loh. Dan itu dengan sikon shield udah pada hilang loh, apalagi Morgana.
And indeed, you can see 0711 trying to steal away some farm. This isn't even really
Halo Bang Andre, halo ya skill.
Though that's of course a good thing. It's about shutting
Hyper
down
carry
the
Jax, yes,
and so far FPX have done a masterful job.
Dan ini kalau dan war game Listen nggak akan masuk pertama masalahnya. Mereka tuh punya dua champion yang range-nya bagus juga. Ada Orianna, ada Corki. Nah ntar ngadu-ngadu ilmu dah tuh. Karma sama Morgana, Orianna sama si Corki. Cuma secara based on range dari dua kedua itu, ini Orianna lama masalah sekalinya. Cuman kalau udah late game sih monster banget ini masalahnya. Dia salah satu champion apa yang benar-benar bisa dibikin carry guys, soalnya guys si Orianna ini. Mati nih orang. Oh nice.
He's going to be doing an awful lot of damage.
And the fact that Fun plus Phoenix were able to snowball so much gold into Fado, bypass the first 4 minutes of the game without any devastating impact from Long's lead is a huge move for Fun plus Phoenix as they head into potentially our first mid-game fight.
So here we go. the opposite side for Nova if they want something that will do damage during
Iya,
this first team
trading.
fight.
Game lama ini, game lama ini. Nunggu orinya jadi masalahnya, Cok.
A lot of gold. Long does have Lee Sin.
Looks like Neon is actually trying to poke 0711 off the dragon as Long wraps up the Rift Herald, beelines towards the top side of the map, and forces FPX away from supporting Fado immediately.
Okay, so Rift Herald traded to 1. Nova Esports got it. Ocean Drake in response to FPX.
Langsung pecah nggak tuh?
They needed that turret. Nova Esports badly wants an early gold lead so that they can force this game to their advantage using the Lee Sin. On the opposite side, FPX are very happy getting the Ocean Dragon and extending this fight up top because it gives them more time to bring that Jax online, to bring their Morgana online, to bring their late game team fight online.
And this is, if this is your first time
Kalau
watching
Jax atau Lucian
Long
mati
Rift
atau rapar si
Icons,
FX.
and this is your first time
Nggak
watching
Lucian nggak
you'll
dihitung
notice
tuh.
that in a lot of their games,
Lucian juga
there might
jatuhnya.
not be a lot of kills, but there is ton
Ya dia
of
finisher juga
active
sih.
actions that
Cuma
are
tetap.
being made by FPX.
Iya nggak. Dua-duanya iya benar.
Deny the
Dua-duanya
enemy
iya.
team, in this case Nova, from being able to get
Dua-duanya
And you can
chain
see,
itu
I
rantai
also
sih.
want to highlight an example of one of those. Fado getting
Satu
really
matanya
risky
buntung
late
masalah dari dua-duanya juga.
because he had Lei shadowing him in the bush. They were trying to bait and engage out of users so that they could get a free kill up there. And that would have given them the turret. You can see Fado's actually broken
Bisa
two
gitu
turret
di skill 3 ke belakang masih basic attack kena ke turret ya juga.
FPX, one of the things that we have come to admire about this team is their constant line of communication, actively and fluidly reacting to what their opponents have been doing throughout Icons, and being able to have spatial awareness of where everyone is on the Rift.
Over on the Nova Esports side, all
Oke,
their gold
kita nggak bakal
is going
melihat
to
ada
the
hulu breaker
bottom
nih berarti ya
side
dari
of
si
their map.
Lucian.
Oriana and their
Iya, Luciannya carry juga ini.
carries will be so deadly in the
DPS-nya dari
mid-lane
situ
game
ya.
team fights, and they're
Oke.
necessary because Nova,
Berarti
as you can see,
tanky
are
nih
not
Jax-nya ini
able to
harusnya.
force the fights they have against lesser teams. They're not able
Tapi
to
kita
get
lihat aja ya, gue nggak tahu deh dia bikin board apa nggak. Kayak feeling gue sih nggak belum kelihatan sih dia bakal bikin apa.
which means that now Nova are looking at
Kalau
the
sempat dulu kok
FPX
biar enak
scaling
analisisnya.
damage
Iya
and
di.
going, okay, how are
Tower
we
nggak
going to
pecah.
fight in
Ini
the
iya, ini main scaling ini.
poke?
Game lama ini guys, game lama guys. Game 20 menit baru
Whittle them
kelar
down
nih feeling
from
gue.
afar. Use the long range to advance to your advantage. Nova Esports, while Long's early advantage has ceased away, 0711 still has to fear.
Temponya
Long's
masih
vicinity.
santai guys,
So,
dua tim ini guys.
The poking and prodding coming out
Masih
from
lambat,
FPX is
masih
desired. Nova
santai-santai,
Esports across this
farming,
entire game,
trading
still
dulu.
even when they get late game, how do we start
Oke,
a fight
ini
and
udah mulai
make it
pecah nih.
go?
Belum
How do we
ternyata
get
guys.
Long into the front lines, carrying the Oriana ball, with the package following him, with the Galio ulting on top of both of those? That's their game plan. It's start a fight that's 5v5 that lets us just roll through the enemy front lines, reach Xiaoma and Yezi and Fado in the back lines of FPX.
Yitse and Long do have an insane amount of mobility. Hold up now,
Oh.
Long. Oh, this forced a flash.
This is the
He
dream.
chases
First skill
Fado.
kah?
Wah!
Wah!
A Dragon's Rage kicks him over the way.
No,
way,
no,
he
no,
gets
no,
out
no,
of
no.
line.
Oh, nice.
He forces the flash out of Lei, but he secures first
Aduh.
blood for FPX. And Yitse trades one.
Hey!
To the bottom. No, but
Oh,
we've got chaos on the other side of the map
oh.
because it is 0711 splitting on
Lampu
the bottom.
kuning guys buat Jack guys.
0711 realizes everyone's rotated up to the top side. The second he sees the Galio ult, he knows he can go into
Oh,
the bottom
nice.
side.
Lei and Yetzi pushing the tempo here.
Ini
He
kurat
already grabbed
udah
it.
sih.
He used the Galio dash to dodge
Lah,
the
lah, lah,
transcendent
Pepe
in
dia.
place.
Oh.
That was incredible from Yami.
Nicely done. Yami dodging out on
Lah,
potentially
lah, lah.
a kill
Ayo,
for
berani nggak?
FPX, but it's still 0711 pushing the
Wah,
pace with that turret
gawat.
take.
First kill to FPX, first turret to Nova Esports, second turret back over to FPX.
Dapat, wah!
Oh.
FPX
Hampir,
have
hampir.
earned a
Dapat si mati lu itu
contestable
sumpah,
gold
Cok.
advantage, and the two teams are dead even.
Gue
It
gak
took
ngerti
8
start kayak
minutes
gitu
to get
pick
there,
Lucian.
TJ, but finally, blood erupts from the
Okay.
Rift. Fun plus Phoenix are the ones that strike first.
Rift Herald's coming
Ooh,
back up
sakit
very
banget,
shortly.
anjing.
FPX are fully positioned around it, daring Nova to step in. This is Nova's chance to do that rolling engagement. Long starting things off with the Oriana Shockwave, Yami following behind. And the second they threaten it, the second FPX see that
Ini
format
Starling ya? Oh
pushing
iya,
it together,
rekannya
see
ngeteng
they
ya.
disappear,
Phoenix Starling
goes
berarti
back
harusnya.
into the fog.
Oh,
Long will
dua-duanya
have to be
supportnya
careful
ngeteng,
about
gak ada
how he
yang damage,
chooses
oke.
his engages and his mobility tools. He is
Menarik.
down to flash, which means if he commits both, he is
Oh
dead
gawat, Jax
and
makan turret
gone.
dan kill
Their
nyoy.
key targets are
Lumayan
Yezi,
berbahaya, dia
0711,
udah lumayan
and
berbahaya.
Xiaoma. Those are the
fatal anjir. Bisa melee lagi pada udah ketemu 3 supporter. Makanya ini hyper carry Jax.
Okay, Transcendent Abrasive pulls Yami back, but he
Aduh,
is bodyguarding
telat
them.
banget
It
Jax-nya.
gives time for Long to be able to secure the Rift Herald. The fight erupts. Shama pulls out the pulling and forces them back, but it's still
Masuk nih listening. Oh enggak nih.
Heat say 0711 almost goes down.
Wah menarik si
It
anjing.
comes from Yuza, the man who's been starving
Aduh,
all
kenapa kali
game,
di
who's
starting
been
ya?
struggling in lane. He steps to the front lines, finds himself the kills necessary to win that fight, and it's all him occupying 3-4 players'
Bang, gak ada
focus
suara tembakau
as he
terbakar ya,
buys
memang
time
tidak
for
ada.
the team. The rest of the squad uses the package, uses the space created by it to burn down the Rift Herald, and now they can try and do it again.
Hey, pos
as we
lagi
head
dong.
into our dragon. It's going to be a Cloud Drake, so lower priority. But I don't doubt that 2 WRL teams will fight over a Cloud Drake if given the opportunity.
Wah.
Take this time to lower the tension bar a little bit.
Ada Cece lagi padahal ada.
Honestly,
What Jack?
TJ, it's crazy to me
Oh.
that it was that long before we
anjing.
finally saw
League of Pos kah?
go off between the two teams. But you could see how well Fun plus Phoenix were maneuvering around the map.
Dude.
Just to dodge any sign of aggression.
Nova wanted to fight them so badly. We didn't really talk about it at the time. Hi, Yami. We didn't really talk about it at the time because there was a lot going on. But the full engage with 3
Aduh,
players that
nge-post
were like
lagi,
behind
Cak.
the Dragon Lane turret at 2-3 minutes
Yeah.
and didn't get anything. Was so tragic, but also so impressive from FPX.
And you can just tell why this team is so respected,
Wall
so
trick,
admired
flick
from
of
many
pause,
around the
siap.
world because they are
Endorse
managing to do
mencontoh
things that other
metaphors.
teams
Waduh.
cannot come close to in terms of execution.
Respected by many, I will say Nova Esports not among the FPX respecters.
That's because they want to take them down, TJ.
Yeah. And some of the disrespect we've seen so far includes that team fight around
Palakau.
the Rift Herald, which was really impressive. The way they used the package to split the fight, that's the reward for giving all that gold over to the Corki. That package hurts.
Raja Pos
But
gitu.
they dropped the package, separating the team fight.
Pas baru nanti beserta season kah guys?
Not a very tanky
Harusnya ya?
character, especially
Ping
when
problem
he's
guys,
kind of
harusnya
struggling
ping 2
with
naik
he's
jadi
done a
ke-5.
really remarkable job keeping even.
Kayak
He's
gua
got
tahu
good
tuh.
gold.
Kayak gua
And
tahu tuh.
he manages to hold that front line because he lands just the sickest series of stuns I've ever seen. It's Riven just playing the kit perfectly in a front line so that the enemy team can't full focus him. And I think that was some kind of rare mispositioning from FPX in order to get into that situation. They're so desperate to gain access to the Rift Herald that they think, oh, it's one Riven. What can they do? Stun us individually for 4 seconds?
No way.
No way, dude! Yiza pulls it out. And now, all the early game gold building we saw onto the Lucian is gone. That Lucian is past the point where Lucian is really scary as an early game AD carry. Still going to be a solid contributor to team fights. Fado still will have damage in team fights.
Yeah.
But they didn't really reap the rewards of having an early game Lucian beyond the fact that it made it more difficult for Long to find any traction.
And it made it difficult, at least at the beginning, for Yeetze to move around the map and be able to make plays on the Dragon side of the Rift. The other thing I want to flag here for Fado is, as we get later and later into the game, because of Lucian's natural short range as a marksman, he is so dependent on his mobility and his culling to be able to do effective damage from safety. If he ever dashes in, and it's the wrong dash, that early game advantage.
Boom! You did like a gesture, but the audience
Dari
didn't
FPX ini kayaknya harusnya
It's
iya.
okay. You picked up.
It was like a whoosh gesture, like that's getting washed away.
It's getting swept down.
I liked it. And we have kind of a mixed bag going into the late game as well, because on one hand you're like, what do you mean mixed bag, TJ? There's a Jax. Yeah, 0711 has the Jax. That will be really good in the late game. But on the opposite side, you're looking at a full wombo combo engage. So just as FPX do genuinely have a really good late game.
Riset kapan bang? Belum tahu gua tanggal pasti, cuman kemungkinan besar tanggal 15 ya kalau prediksi.
I think the team fight,
Katanya ketupan kopi kok bodo amat anjing. Harusnya tim negara lain pas play-in jarang pause, makanya. Sorry bang, aku kesini cuma cari Gea, oke. Anda datang di waktu yang salah.
She will just sit in the backline, moving her little ball around and doing absurd amounts of damage.
Her cooldowns get insanely fast.
Yeah,
when you get
Shockwave
close.
multiple times in the same team fight.
Yeah, and then command attack is one tool that not a lot of people expect to do a considerable amount of damage, but because
That's the little burst.
FPS-nya turun tuh sampai 15.
that's just
Bisa jadi.
the attack is actually just moving the ball
Oh yeah,
around.
the move.
Yeah, and the move action itself does damage.
Nggak ada GA bang, tungguin
Yeah.
aja.
One instance, it's like an eighth of my HP, but you can cast that like every 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds.
And in the late game, not only is it doing like, I would say more than an eighth at that point. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
sixth of your HP in the late game, but also all these Orianas are building Conqueror. So
They're stacking
you
that
do it like
adaptive
3
damage,
times in a
baby.
team fight, and by the end of that team fight, it's like a fourth people's HP on every move of the Oriana ball, and then you hit the
Gimana kalau mereka mainnya
it's
di HP RAM 3
deceptive.
GB FPS-nya
That's
cuma
the
30
beauty
kayak Aing.
of good Oriana
Udah bunuh
gameplay,
diri
because
mungkin
you're
nunggu
so
ah.
concerned about the Lee Sin trying to find a roundhouse kick
100%.
to you on the
Kabarnya
face,
FPS-nya
a
turun sampai
Riven coming in
3000.
with a giant sword slashing you, and then you're just like, okay, I'm
Bishop
fine,
ada
right?
cari
I
item
got, boom,
defense di sisi.
shockwave,
Oke.
Shockwave!
bam,
Bam!
yeah.
So that's going to be the trouble in the late game for FPX, who yes have Jax, yes have Morgana, who similarly is really good in the late game.
G aja bukan dia yang itu
Don't
dong.
necessarily have a late game team fight. I think Nova have a really good
Wah boleh juga tuh idenya deh.
frontline engage,
Bagus
followed
bagus.
by a really
Kalian cari GA guys,
sustained
tuh cari di shop yang item
I
defense
wanted
guys
to
yang
go back to a
gambarnya
point that
sayap
you flagged
ya.
at the beginning of the draft phase.
How are you?
At
It's
the
a
end of
match.
it, before
Oke.
getting into game. When you look
Ini
at FUN
120
Plus Phoenix's
FPS masih
composition,
gini.
they have a lot of
Emang
range, but
120?
one big
Tahu
thing
dari
that
mana
you talked about
120, Cok?
was Lei
Healy
is really
gitu.
the only main engager. He's on a recon, and if they burn quickness or they burn grand entrance too early, they have no ways of being able to force a fight on their terms, which is why it is imperative that they're the first ones to the objectives so that they force Nova.
Apa ini dapat dikasih handphone baru kah ini?
And we've seen that a couple of times so far.
Cuman gimana cara pindahinnya kalau kayak gitu ya?
Is so far ahead of the rest of the team, right? We saw it
Enggak skin bang, apaan cok?
moments ago.
Ada tombol bendera bang, ya report dong anjing. Samsung S22 kan kuat loh.
You really want to
Wah,
walk
nggak
across
tahu
the
dah gua.
package, Lei?
Well, I wasn't there when he went in.
But then the package came out, and Lei is like,
I think he actually dashed over it, so he didn't notice it. But Jax isn't going to be able to get in range. His dash isn't that long. That will change.
Come
not
on,
the range of
guys.
the dash, but 0711 will get more comfortable being a frontline engager as we get later. But until then, yeah, your best team fights are going to be on the back foot. You're looking for the Morgana to land a big Dark Binding, which is, you know, a long-range spell, but in the context of the way these two teams are playing macro, pretty short-range.
yeah.
And you need Nova Esports to be stepping into you, ideally, so that you can land a big 5-man knockup, followed by the Morgana Dark Binding, and then get in there.
Nggak
with the
kuat bang,
Jax
coba
to
lempar dari lantai 2.
That's
Pasti
their
pecah,
dream
iya.
team fight. And it's going to be dicey if we do go to the late game.
The mobility
Bodo amat ya mau
introduces a
ya,
lot of
bodo
mind
amat
games
anjing.
in those late game team fight situations, because as you're inching closer and closer
Oh.
on such mobile bruisers like Lee Sin and Riven, it's up to you to determine, hey, do I think I can beat the projectile
Gua
speed
kalau
of
main di
something
sana
like a
nungguin
Dark
ini
Binding
sambil sebat sih.
or
Waduh.
Karma Poke or even a Grand Entrance coming out, or do
Asli
you just
gua
walk
lagi
up and see
ngantuk
like,
banget
okay,
anjir,
do
kagak
I
ada mood
get
buat
them to play
nyebet
chicken
cok.
and lose and force out the projectile so I can dodge it more easily?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we kind of have made a big deal out of this top lane matchup, which ended up being a handshake. We've made a big deal out of Long, and he's ended up kind of being shut down, being very quiet.
By the way, bentar guys, gua tinggal dulu ya, bentar ya, 5 menit gua mau ke bola ya guys, bentar guys.
Not a whole lot of noise coming out of those star players, but
Gak
Nova
pernah
Esports
GA
have
skin
rounded
bang.
out a gold lead
Ya pernah.
through the fact
Dong.
that they
Slipstream kok ya,
showed
slipstream
those
gitu.
objectives,
Ide
had
bagus.
Lee Sin won the
bentar, guys.
advantage in the second objective fight. And FPX are still on the back foot going into this second half of the game, waiting for scale-up, waiting for their Jax to come online, which I think does favor Nova, but it's going to come down to at least one major team fight. So here we go.
Damn, that was so well timed, TJ. Good job.
I felt it in my bones. I actually can't explain it, but we were sitting there and oh, okay, I'm going to stop
We
bragging
jinxed
now.
it!
I'm going to stop bragging now. I didn't feel that in my bones, that one.
Well,
It's like I'm feeling that in like my back.
I don't want to burn through all of our cool story talking points. So one thing I actually
Yeah, at this rate, we're going to need a lot of pause talk.
one thing I actually want to
At this rate, it's just kind of like a, okay, we still have the same issue type deal. That was we fixed the issue and now there's a new thing. That was is this fixed? Oh, I hit the play button. It's not fixed. Get back into the pause.
It's like when you put the tape in and then it's still got the tape like all caught up in the receiver and you're just like, oh no. But something that the desk was mentioning at the top of the pre-show was talking about how Nova or Long is currently the second highest kill leader right behind Chaz.
Ceritain masalah sama Neng Riko. Iya, ceritain masalah apa, Cak?
I was looking at the spreadsheets at the very beginning of the game. We have some very cool spreadsheets.
Gila, total tuh ini.
You know, if only there were a way to quantify how much
79.
Long
GG banget ini Tas.
esports. And here it is. He's got 70 kills across the tournament. Chaz is the only player that comes close. And that is, I think Chaz played very well. But also, RRQ played a frankly astonishing number of games. And you have to remember, Nova, despite coming in through the play-in stage, did win most of their games pretty quickly. So, Long is a disproportionate kill leader for his team, and he is still in this tournament, which means, first of all, if Long gets 9 more kills across this series, he will be the... or
apa si Atau yang rasa
he
Indomie.
will have more kills than anyone else in the tournament. He will be the kill leader for Icons. And secondly, this means that it is possible, especially if Long wins this series and goes on to play in a Grand Finals, a best of 7 Grand Finals, that he crosses the 100 kill finish line this tournament. And I don't know, I was talking to our production, I was trying to arrange like a balloon, like one of those gender reveal parties where it pops and there's like balloons with confetti inside of them.
Oh yeah, like at the baby shower.
Yeah! And I don't know if we're gonna get that. But
I mean, I'd be down for just like a cake, given
Well,
the Long, you know.
Lu suka yogurt
I
nggak?
was
Suka.
specifically asking for indoor
Cuman
fireworks.
nggak
I
yang
was told under no uncertain terms that was
makan, sering makan gitu.
But
I
I feel
Kita
like
tahu
there's a
Ciki kok,
middle
Kita
ground
tahu.
between cake and indoor
Lawan posisi
fireworks.
sampai kelar petik mangga, iya ampun petik
you know,
mangga.
our
gitu.
studio ceiling is pretty high.
It's pretty high. I think we could do it.
Do you know how high fireworks shoot up?
No.
Oh,
Upwards.
well,
Who knows that
I've worked at
information?
amusement parks before.
Fireworks technicians?
So, and we ran like fireworks every night.
Wait,
so,
you were a firework technician?
no.
Naik flurry
No,
KitKat
no,
apa bubblegum ya kok?
I worked at amusement park where
Galau gue.
There were fireworks.
there were fireworks.
Tapi
every
gue belum
single
nyobain
night.
yang
And
KitKat
those
sih. Gue
things
kemarin
are
nyobainnya
like,
yang bubblegum doang. Emang sekarang ada yang KitKat baru lagi?
200 kilometers high.
Wow, in kilometers as well. That is taller than the building we're in.
Yep. That
I
is,
think I'm seeing the problem.
well, I'm glad that I was able to illustrate that problem for you. Oh, wait, hang on. Do that again.
Laman posnya sampai
You
gue
guys
udah
didn't
ganti
see it,
HP
but,
jadi Red Magic
me and
5.
T-
Iya.
Absolutely not. Nova Esports, 2 of a gold.
KitKat ada tapi bukan di McD-nya.
now,
Di
and
mana
they
dong
are
kalau
climbing
gitu?
towards that 100 gold
Di awal tour masih kah? Masih.
in the tournament. So something to keep your eye on, and we in production will be keeping our eyes on his kill total.
The audience will never know what we did off camera.
No, they will not, Mark. That is cursed knowledge. Maybe we can get video of it. Maybe we can get video of it later. There's a good setup left to pitch to production.
Okay.
Cobain Ice yang telepon dulu guys.
I do want to also
Jangan
talk
McFlurry
about the
mulu.
FPX side of things, because it's very easy to sort
Gue
out
jarang
the
beli es
right
krim
there.
sih masalahnya tuh.
The
Tapi emang
long
enak
so
ya?
long as the son of the dragon, as Leonard likes to say, the best jungler
That's
in
pretty
China.
badass. Not
Lo tau nggak tukang McFlurry yang biasa di mall-mall gitu?
But on the
Nah itu
opposite
dia
side
jual
of things, you have
apa
FPX who
emangnya?
are maybe a little more difficult to talk about. They're the best team in China. We know that because they won the WRL. But what do they do? Everyone kind of talks about 0711, who was really good tactically.
Oh,
That's not
yang
as
kayak
flashy
Mac
as,
di boot
I've got
kecil
7
gitu ya?
kills in this tournament. But the thing he's really good
Yang
at
kayak,
is he's
ya
really
gue
good
nggak
at
bisa
pairing
sebutin
lanes. And the
spesifik
thing
mallnya
that
sih.
FPX
Cuma
are
ada
really
beberapa
good
emang
at is
yang kayak emang dia
finding
bootnya kecil
individual
cuma jualan es
solutions.
krim doang
Their
kayaknya deh, atau
frontline
nggak snack-snack
management
doang.
is really good. And specifically, I want to highlight the way that
Next
they
season
play
ada
around
RTC
their
lagi nggak kok?
dealers. The way that they
Nggak
play
tahu gue.
around,
Jangan tanya ke gue
the
itu
middle of
Kanek
their
sumpah gue nggak
actions.
tahu kalau
They
program-program
see
kayak gitu cok.
I'm just
Nah
taking
iya yang
notes.
jual es krim doang. Oh iya tahu.
Okay.
Oh cuman ada di situ doang tapi.
Sure. Yezi and
Oh gue
Shama.
baru tahu.
I am in the TJ
Di dekat
class
tempat
right
gue
now.
Yezi and Shama, who
ada
are
sih di
on
PGS
the
sih,
half
cuman
map,
ya gue nggak pernah
play
ke
as
situ
damage
anjir.
dealers. And Shama is oftentimes left alone. Like you'll see during this game, he's on Orion on the opposite side of the map with nobody really backing him up. And the big thing that he does is despite falling behind in the early game, despite sitting very, very low on the CS markers in your average game at 12 minutes, Shamod, the Dragon laner for FPX, has a negative 13 CS difference. That means he's killed 13 less creeps on average than his lane opponent. But that's because
Kalian nih,
his lane opponents are
kalau
getting
makan
ganks, they're
kentang,
getting set up.
ada
They
yang
have a
doyan
support, oftentimes
di
lane will leave Shamod
cocol ke es krim nggak sih?
and he's still able to show up in the team fights. He does 24% of the team's damage on average in team fights.
24%?
Despite that
Ya ini
deficit,
match-nya
is there a
nakal memang ya.
decimal after that?
powering through.
Okay.
And the only player who does more damage in team fights for FPX is Yes. And
GWS
neither of those
kok, kenapa
players are the
GWS
flash
anjing?
players who get early gold. But both those players are the people who play
Gue
Scaling
enak, Cok.
champions, who play things like Orianna and Corki.
Buat anda yang suka
nyocol-nyocol
tentang ke es krim, kalian kena kanker, sumpah cok, sumpah. Kena kanker loh.
We're gonna play this team fight perfectly. We're gonna do real damage in the fights.
Gue lebih suka pirang goreng, pirang nggak tuh pirang. Pakai cuka nggak tuh?
Processing that seems like they are
Bangsat psikopat
don't
anjing.
necessarily see in flare or
Itu sama kastanya lo makan pisang goreng,
what FPX are doing.
udah pakai
They're
coklat pakai keju
constantly
lagi
making
cok.
decisions so
Psikopat
fluidly
anjing sumpah.
that it looks like
Orang
nothing,
sakit lu.
but it's just them creating
Enggak, pisang goreng yang
a cloud
pasti
of
cuka
pressure
apa sih?
that is so omniscient.
Cuka apa? Cuka empe gitu.
The enemy team is always feeling it, and any decision they want to make, they suddenly feel like
Martabak manis pakai nasi
I
gua
don't-
tonjok lu
I don't
ya
wanna do this
anjing.
decision anymore. This feels like a bad idea.
FPX do a really good job, not just like on the
Sumpah
map,
anjing
obviously,
psikopat
we
cok
did
anjing
that,
martabak
we're
manis
talking
pakai
about
nasi dong.
teams. Like, oh, this team's so smart.
Suka
You think,
empe-empe.
like, oh, well, they're taking control of the map in a really interesting way. But what they do
Sama
more
lu
than
juga psikopat,
that is
anjing.
they have really, really good
Pisang goreng udah enak loh, manis
control.
gitu loh.
The way that they set up
Lu kasih
teams
cuka empe-empe
plus
sakit otak lu
shooting
anjing
their
cok.
carries is the secret. And I think
Sukanya
part
cuka
of that
kambang.
is
Ha.
the players that I haven't mentioned,
Ha.
the players that have kind of been an afterthought.
Nasi
Fado
goreng
and
pakai nasi
Ray.
putih. Aduh
And
ini
yes,
lagi
Ray is the
anjing
support player,
anjing.
so he's definitely not on any of the damage charts.
Es krim potong keliling enak
So
tip,
early.
yang plastiknya rasa
Out
garam.
of that lane and into the team.
Di
It's
tempat
like
gua nggak
literally
ada.
huge knockups, finding huge
Tapi makan mie pakai
Literally
nasi,
the first second
pakai
of the
kerupuk
game.
tambah kecap. Oke, gue
He'll
pakai deh.
come out
Tapi
the
nggak pakai
bottom
kecap
lane and he's
lagi.
like, hey, is there another support here? Can I get you some
Bang, kalau
vision?
kereta listrik Jakarta
Can I
ke
do something cheeky? They even
selatan
do it
asapnya
when
ke arah
they
mana?
have
Ya,
center lane setups as well,
ampun
and
kereta
instead of
listrik
lane going
pakai
because he's gonna
asap.
be farming and
Gue
the
setrum
whole
lu,
map,
gue setrum lu
it's
geragas.
Shamrock that shows up. We saw that.
Kalau gue
against
sukanya makanan
RRQ
prasmanan pakai
as well.
semangka.
Yeah, and oftentimes Fado is on like something really distracting, which I think
Wah,
is
lu
the
harus nyoba
secret.
kok. Apa tadi yang es
Because
krim?
FPX are
Apa nasi
really
goreng
good
pakai
at
nasi
putting
putih?
Fado on like a
Kalau lu suruh gue nyoba nasi goreng pakai
It's
pakai nasi
really
putih, ketemu gue
terrifying to
strum
deal
sama
with.
gue pakai
And
standar
he'll
anjing
get the
sumpah.
ganks, he'll get the early attention like the Lucian this
Dulu ada
game.
yang viral
And
es
then
kepal
come
Milo. Oh
late
itu
game,
enak, itu enak.
They will be able to use the fact that you're running from Fado, use the fact that Lei is landing big engage to set
Pernah
up
makan
for
nasi
the
pakai
teams to
kelapa
do
plus
damage.
gula nggak lu kok?
What the other thing we don't see as
Lama-lama
much
gue
from
gebuk
FPX,
palo
but
pakai
we're seeing
kelapa
it
mau
feel
lu
like
mau.
big falls now.
Sure.
The other thing we don't see as
Es
much
kepal
from
Milo nggak
FPX,
enak anjing.
and I'm hoping that we'll get to see from
Ada di dunia ini nggak
this
suka
tournament
orang nggak doyan
is the full
Milo ya.
CC pick composition.
Sumpah lu
Where
psikopat.
everyone on the team has stuns and
Jadi
they have a
semua
little bit of
dicampur
this
nasi,
here,
lauk, dan
and you'll see
semangka.
them in team fights hold this like inverted U shape.
Oh,
Di piring nih lo baru ambil dari
bottom of the
prasmanan nih,
U,
gue
the kind
tumplakin
of,
ke muka lu nih. Anjing
bottom of
pakai
the U
semangka
is
kalau.
pointed towards the enemy team.
Bubur pakai
And so
nasi
they
gimana
can
kok?
walk forward with Fado, with 0711
Lu
on
pada
top,
manusia
they're
nggak sih
at the
anjing
very
rekomen
front of this
makanan yang
inverted U.
dimakan-makan
And
sama
any part of that U
kayaknya orang
can
penjara juga
ignite
nggak mau
the
makan
stun.
dah tuh deh.
And so they can't be surrounded.
Sumpah itu enak kok
by
nasi
their
kelapa
opponent.
gitu.
So
Apa
esports
cok?
find it
Air
very hard to
kelapa.
engage against
Itu
them.
santan namanya
Every
bangsat,
single
bukan
member
bukan
in that
nasi
U
kelapa
formation
dong.
can start
Naik floor enak kok ya,
You know,
itu
whenever
pasti
they
enak
land
lah.
the stun, the rest of
Alasan
FPX will
gua
show
dulu
up
di
like
pabrik makan
sharks.
mie kuah
It's
pakai
a
susu kental manis.
contrast to a big common position that we've
Anjing.
seen from a majority
Anjing,
of the Western
anjing,
teams, I
sumpah.
think.
Itu gue yakin atasan lu sampai sekarang nggak punya anak, itu mandul cok abis makan itu cok. Abis makan mie kuah pakai susu kental manis coklat. Mandul sumpah atasan lu itu.
First line, right? And then
Kalau harus coba nyobain biji kopi kok. Ini lagi satu anjing
back
anjing.
line
Ini lo ampas kecuali
directly
best.
behind them.
Some like assassins that will hunt the kills.
Kok lu bandingin Milo sama McLaren nggak head to head dong anjing? Ini satu minuman loh, satu lagi es krim bangsat. Gimana sih?
Yeah.
Milo mah enak aja, es
the ways
kapalnya
that
yang nggak
people
enak.
would
Oh iya
differentiate
sih,
from that play style
emang
and try
beda,
to
emang
get
beda.
around fortress
Terlalu
is
manis sih
something
menurut
called
gua.
the flank formation, where you have one core approaching from the left side of an objective, and then you'll have the assassins looking to pick them off, and coming up on the right side of the
Nasi
flank
malam-malam
to make
enak
sure that
angkau.
they
Tadi
can
gue udah
pick
makan nasi
apart
padang,
the
Cok.
fortress. But because of this U formation that you brought up
Pizza
with
X
FPX,
nasi.
it gives them the most optimal coverage everywhere
Kena
around them.
kanker lu,
And
kena
it's
kanker,
the
sumpah.
least amount of distance between each player.
Here are the stats for that top lane matchup we've been talking about. As I said,
Nasi plus
Fado,
gula plus kelapa
a
parut, mana
leader
ada satu
in the
goblok.
game, will get all the early attention. He's oftentimes left alone. You know,
Itu yang
you
makan
receive
kayaknya
some
bukan
pressure of
orang,
Long's
coy.
doing
Itu yang
well,
makan
but Long
lebah
is there
anjing.
to boost
Yang dicari
his
gula
own.
doang,
Long
babi.
is there to boost his own.
Cobain bang, apalagi cok, nasi
He's
campur
showing
mila
up
enak
to the
kok.
influencer party to take selfies of himself standing by the pool.
Sumpah.
And
Tapi sumpah
because
cok,
that
nih
uses
nih.
numbers
Dulu
don't
nih ya, ada
boost
temen
good,
gue
where
yang
Fado does get
gimana ya
enabled by
sebutannya ya,
0711. I think truthfully they're equivalently skilled players.
Kayak-
You can see the markers
kayak masih
of
kuliah
their
lah.
team fights.
Terus kayak hidupnya tuh pas-pasan gitu loh.
Better the team fight
Nah,
stats specifically are
dia tuh suka di challenge
damage
gitu.
down per minute,
Ada temen gue yang
which is a very good
ibaratnya
indicator of how you're playing.
banyak duit gitu ya, suka di challenge aneh-aneh cok. Dia pernah makan nasi pakai apa ya, pokoknya manis gitu, gue lupa. Nasi pakai Milo apa? Jadi nasinya kayak ada lah kayak sekepel gini lah, di sekepel gitu. Terus dipakein Milo, serius, muntah orangnya demi gocap loh anjing, sumpah.
It's pretty cool to see.
Tapi mie
that
instan pakai susu enak kok, emang enak.
Going into the knockout stage.
Susunya tapi susu bubuk ya.
And we have confirmed that
Tahu-tahu ada
FPX
kopi
have some
orang
of the
kok,
best
varian baru kopi luwak ya.
5-on-5 decision making and execution.
Indomie double plus telur
But it's
double
not
setengah matang nggak ada
necessarily
obat,
like the
enggak.
only playstyle that they go to, and FPX
Gua bukan pemakan
clearly demonstrated
telur rebus cok, enggak.
demonstrated
Jadi
an
gua
aptitude
kurang gitu.
towards the split push and
Lo udah
being
kelar
able
tadi?
to
Belum.
choke and
Ini masih
stranglehold
technical
enemy
pause.
teams out of resources
Lo kebanyakan
through
makan
the
es
pressure
kepal
of
Milo
the
auto impoten, bener. Bener.
Bener.
Kalau tiap hari lu makan anjir. Kelamaan pause ini ikan belut juga udah sampai berbulu. Iya. Sprite plus Yakult enak kok asli. Kalau nggak pernah nyoba biasanya orang-orang sama soju juga, iya.
You'll oftentimes see him on things like Renekton.
Kenapa jadi ke situ, mohon maaf.
Spending his HP bar as a resource.
Nah, soju pakai Yakult enak kok, bener. Itu enak. Onigiri Milo bang, gue sambit mau kalau pakai udah mulai guys. Udah mulai guys, let's go guys, kita nonton lagi guys. Udah lupakan makanan psikopat dulu ya, anjing kalian nih bangsat, kanker kalian, sumpah kanker cok. Nanya, babi ngumpan pe.
Rift Herald has been deployed as well on the bottom side of the map. That's going to be maybe a distraction.
Udah ya, makanan udah dulu guys.
Nobar.
Makanan psikopat udah dulu ya, anjing.
FPX is focused away from the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, so FPX roaming right here, poking away, trying to draw FPX away from this fight. Nova force their way in.
It's minion wave. Neon is holding it.
Dive!
Oh, they
Aduh.
rush to three-man taunt from Yami. It locks at the core of the FPX, and they have to back away from the side of the river.
But the damage trade goes all right because Neon hovers to the side, dumping out damage. Now he's focused by Fado. But the
Gila,
kill is
gila,
not through.
cecenya udah
He's
masuk,
back
masuk
on
keluar
split.
lagi loh,
Huge knockdown
gila.
from Lei.
5v4.
It sets up 0711. He gets exhausted. He flashes forward, but now he's blinking on HP. Nova silence 0711, and Neon goes golden, but he is isolated by.
Flash!
But a good flash away from the pit. And he
Wah,
he
anjing gak ada
gets
yang.
out alive. No one goes down from Nova.
And Remake's still full HP. He steps forward. Lei and Fado all need to back away without the presence of 0711.
Wah, anjing, gak ada yang mati loh, Cok.
So FPX reset away from the Dragon as that fight was played on the brink of disaster. Nova Esports are going to get to claim
Tomat
the
pas gue juga
second
enak ke buat
Dragon
9.
of this
Itu enak
game.
sih.
And by pushing the
Tomat
tempo
muda itu
immediately,
ya dapat deg. Wah,
recycling
deganya
in
dioper
teleports
dong.
as well for Yitse so that he can step up in case anyone from FPX dare to challenge. It's the Dragon secure for Nova.
And he's
Pisang goreng
beyond
pakai sambal.
just a hero playing on the side
ada
of
beberapa
that
orang yang
fight
makan loh.
and doing a huge amount of damage. He gets focused by Fado, who commits a full culling to trying to shut him down. Manages to survive and get back
Bang,
into
cosplay
the
sih
fight.
minum kelapa
Then
muda.
he's in awkward
Ya.
position 'cause he's like on the flank. Everyone turns to focus him. A
Ribet,
pixel
minum kelapa ribet,
perfect
guys.
Flash Valkyrie gets
Udah
him
paling bener minum
behind
teh
the pit
manis.
and to safety.
Honestly, that is
Extra
like
aja
one of
pakai
the
susu
most
terbaik.
people
Wah,
I've seen
anjing.
the entire tournament.
Wah,
It wasn't
anjing.
necessarily like a
Wasn't a
quirky,
package.
specific
Kamu mengucapkan
mechanic. It's
kata-kata
just
haram
the
sampingnya. Aduh, anjing, jadi
position
pengen gue, Cok.
awareness of how Neon can escape a critical death.
Yeah, really well played by Nyan in that team fight. And it does give Nova Esports a slight advantage.
Sumpah gue pukulin lu ya Fiona ya, anjing lu lempar secokat lumer gak tuh anjing.
3,000 now. The combination of that and the previous skirmishes going their way.
We're at 13 minutes now into the game.
Ya mati Jacknya. Mati Jacknya, Cok. Mati Jacknya, Cok.
Available. I think you might be right. He's gonna try to buy as much time as he can. Late in range. Oh, 3-man knockup.
Bro!
0-7
Bro!
He gets out alive, but it's the wind slash. Comboed with long
Wah,
damage that
anjing.
takes out FPX's jungler. They're still
Wah.
fighting to the front line. Xiaomong
Wah.
gets defeated. Nova, do they turn for the Baron?
FPX commit too much to try and save their jungler because they know if the jungler goes down, its objective's over to Nova. And you're absolutely right. Nova could burn the Baron, but I think at this rate they also have enough of an advantage that they don't need to take that risk.
They are looking for the minion wave instead, ensuring the push. Valdo expends the ignite.
Enak
Creating
banget
pressure
cobain
on the
daun
wall, and it
Sulawesi.
looks like
Oh,
FPX are able
iya
to
bener.
successfully defend the mid-turret.
Orang Sulawesi
But
makan
Nova pulling
pisang
ahead
makan
in
pakai
these
sambal, Cok.
fights.
Bener.
5,000 gold now in 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Nah, ini ada dua kaum nih, ada kuku bima persusu atau persusu. Kalau gue sih kuku bima sih, tapi sih mohon maaf nih. Kan Jax mati tamat bener. Tapi masih ada Lucian masalahnya. Cuma nama pincang aja.
Nothing left in recourse when Long dives into the backlines, assassinates a member, and then bails, leaving Xiaoma overextended because they know they can't find 5v4 around Xiaoma.
At this point, FPX have to reconsider how they are taking these fights. Since that was a pick that Nova executed on, the fact that FPX almost salvaged it from a 4-man knockup that Lei created, you can see that where FPX can shine if they fight on their terms.
Nomicon coming online as well for Remake is a huge power spike. He's completed the Archangel staff. Remake is going to do
Bodo amat kadek.
damage.
Justru jangan terlalu sering. Oke.
From here on, as we've already talked about, Neon is doing massive damage in the side of these fights. And so Nova have the game in their hands for now. When will FPX come online? Well, right about now. 0711 has been power farming. He's completed his wit's end. As he's completed Rabadon's death cap. They can seem fight at any moment. They just need to win it.
Triple item completion for FPX's jungler means that
Ini lama-lama boba
this
gue
is going to
suruh
be a
pakai
prime
kuku
time
bima
where
juga nih
Jax
anjing.
can look to clean up the
Muntah
fights.
loh.
The fact that Long is maintaining this gold advantage through the advantageous skirmishes that they fought. Nova have all the position in the world that they need to be able to take this fight, but a good pick on Ayami, getting the flash out. Now FPX working with the summoner advantage.
Nova around this Baron setting things up. On
GG
the opposite
boba,
side,
Cok.
it's playing defense, losing ground on the map in 3 different lanes, having to correct that, and then
Ya gue kalau langsung order, ogah.
to seeing them play.
Lagi nggak mood gue makan yang
We
manis-manis.
have Long split pushing on the
Yeah.
top side of the map, ensuring that not only he's taking up more resources than 0711, but he's also maintaining the split push pressure.
And you see this every time Nova go into a side lane, they force FPX to respond. They force them to play defense on the map. This wave in the bottom side is actually pushing for Nova. And I think finally FPX have corrected it, but they're losing so much ground at all times. that they're
Overrated
having
menurutku
to
enakan
attack
pop
these
as
side lanes.
Coco
They're
Cheese.
skirmish right now in the middle of the map.
Ini juga salah satu orang-orang kaum psikopat yang makan coklat sama keju nih. Boleh nih dia masa nih anjing. Bahas gameplay, tidak bahas makanan dan minuman. Iya betul sekali anjing, mana makanannya. Kaum psikopat lagi anjing. Jijik langganan Mixway juga lu. Mau, waduh. Mixway gue gak pernah beli yang bau-baunya. Oke.
Big thing to notice here, Fado did not go for the Hullbreaker at all. It is a crit build from Lucian.
14 seconds on this
Wah,
Elder
Elder
Dragon spawn. Vision control still in Nova's hands. FPX try to push forward to gain control of it. They get nothing for that. They haven't even cleared vision in the pit.
Package is on the way from Neon.
Scuttle is over to FPX, which means they will see if Nova start this dragon, but they won't have vision of the dragon's HP itself. So they do not have advantage in this fight. They're waiting to try and bait Nova into stepping forward so they can land their full engage combo. FPX, as we said, want to fight on the back foot here.
Long fishing for a Sonic Wave, doesn't find anything. Lei, he's got to be careful about where he steps up.
Nova are waiting for a good trigger pull, which looks like Long getting into the backlines, being followed up on by Remake and Yami's ultimates.
And this is good from Nova. They know that they have the package. It's not going to last forever, so they have to start the dragon.
Wah,
They need to
aduh, Luciannya kemana, Cok?
FPX, they wanted this fight. This is their dream scenario.
Watch for the grand entrance for Lei Yite.
Waduh, Luciannya telat, Cok. Wah.
And that is main engage gone down. Neon using the package, separating FPX from the rest of the damage on the backside of the map. Dragon being
Bisa colong nggak? Oh, enggak.
Nova Esports, they have the damage. The shockwave clear FC and Fado
Rata ini
flashing
FX.
forward, but Navi follows up. Remake has FC in his sights, takes him out, and
Udah ini
goes
gamenya
under the
Nova
tower of the
sih.
stasis, only to land the inevitable, and that's a prime
Gaming!
ace for Nova Esports.
They're pushing further forward. They're so long on these death timers,
Mau
Mark.
mati
I
kapan
think
lu?
that's game
Lah, ngatur lu.
number 1 of our
Pakai Indomie kuah
semifinal.
dengan
And
telur setengah
Nova
matang itu
Esports
termasuk psikopat enggak lah, itu bagus
surprising
loh.
FPX, not only
This
being
game
the
is done.
first team to
Done,
take a
done,
game
done.
off of FPX this entire Icons tournament, but taking game 1 of this series.
And taking it easily, shutting down the early game attempt to play through Fado on the top side, and then picking apart FPX in the part of the game where they are supposed to be the best. Nova Esports just went toe-to-toe against FPX's team fights and took them apart.
And you saw the surprise reactions from Nova Esports. A lot of the times in their past wins,
Wah, GG anjing.
it's seriousness, it's
Aduh, males
composed.
sebenarnya nonton yang
They looked at each other
scaling-scaling
like,
gitu ya guys ya.
did we just win that game? Dude, that was easier than we thought.
These are the
War-nya
games
tuh
that
sekali nge-war langsung kelar anjir.
tournament.
Bangke. Udah, gue pasang lagu dulu guys. Lovidiana. Lu suka nggak martabak yang toppingnya banyak? Kayaknya gue cukup 2 deh, coklat kacang aja deh, nggak mau pakai yang lain-lain, nggak mau. Menurut gue martabak manis by itself tuh udah enak banget menurut gue. Jadi sebenarnya topping tuh coklatnya tuh udah cukup banget sih. Bahkan gue martabak polos aja gue doyan. Gue telur ceplok apa dadar demen, nah itu. Emang enak sih Indomie kuah dengan telur setengah matang, apalagi ditambah bon cabai level 10 surga dunia. Waduh, gas. Makan telur mentah enak kok, paling muntah 1 menit. Jangan cow, jangan lah. Kalau telur mentah yang di Indo nggak sehat cow, itu ada bakterinya soalnya. Mecin. Setel HXL VG garok berak. Coklat keju kacang lah kok. Enggak. Psikopat tuh pokoknya, makan coklat pakai keju tuh psikopat aja, nggak bohong gua. Di Bandung ada martabak San Francisco 100.000 12 top. 12 topping. 100.000 12 topping. Oh yang dibaginya tuh banyak ya. Oh itu mah di Jakarta juga ada. Cuma itu mah udah nggak ngetren lagi kayaknya di Jakarta dah. Kelapa muda bakar enak, kelapa muda bakar. Pasti kok iya yang dibagi banyak. Oh iya ya, tahu-tahu gue pikir tuh toppingnya tuh yang ditumpuk-tumpuk semua anjir. Itu bahasa dari mana lagi tuh ya, skill? Keju manis dan coklat juga manis, kok psikopat. Nggak ada keju manis bangsat, nggak ada keju manis, nggak ada. Keju tuh asin anjing. Koneng Riku ngomong apa tuh? Nggak tahu gua. Tungguin aja. Tetap paling tier S ya kue putu, banyak lah. Buat tuh kan kue putu tier S ya, buat gua tuh kue rangi tier S. Kue rangi. Lu kalau suka minuman hangat kan sudah ada bandrek. Ada, gue tau kalau bandrek. Cuman sayangnya gue suka minuman hangat. Telepon lebih besar daripada kue putu. No sebat, no debat dong anjing. Mohon maaf. Kenapa no sebat dong? Ada keju manis bang, parah. Nah, mana ada, nggak ada keju mana yang manis. Coba lu sebutin brandnya coba. Keju itu semi gurih keasinan makanya. Gila, setuju parah gue. Kue rangin, itu dia bro. Telur Jepang sabi apalagi pakai gurita plus salmon mentah enak banget ya. Soalnya kalau telur yang kalau lu biasa ngelihat orang Jepang makan telur mentah ya itu memang dia udah dari ayamnya memang udah kayak diapain gitu istilahnya tuh. Jadi kalau lo makan telur mentahnya tuh aman, udah nggak ada salmonellanya. Tapi jangan lo sekali-sekali makan telur di Indo mentah, jangan. Itu penyakit guys, serius gua. Betul kerak telur masih masuk TRA nggak bang? Aduh gua kayak lu salah nanya tuh, gua nggak doyan kerak telur saya. Coba yang tahu bahasa Aceh bubur apa? Apa itu? Ada di Roma Malkis. Kalau gua martabak manis dari dulu pesannya selalu keju susu. Oh ada juga nih kalau keju susu. Gue tetap nggak suka sih gue. Tetap gue nggak suka. Menurut gue karakter keju itu asin soalnya. Dan menurut gue keju itu nggak cocok ditaruh di manis kalau buat gue ya. Gua, lu pada makan jasuke kan guys? Jagung susu keju kan? Gua beli jasuke nggak pakai susu. Jadi gue cuma makan jagung, keju, saus. Gua tuh terlalu mahte banget kalau manisnya kayak gitu. Keju cazu mazu apa itu? Ada yang tahu bahasa Aceh bubur? Apa itu cok? Memek bet. Oh, gue orang Aceh. Oh orang Aceh siap. Jasuke betul. Martabak kacang coklat TRSS. Nah itu benar. Ini baru kaum saya ini baru nih. Ini baru kacang coklat bro. Kacang coklat tuh udah sangat sempurna. Ada tekstur empuknya, fluffy-nya dari martabak ya kan. Garing-garing dari si kacangnya. Manis dari coklatnya, wangi-wanginya. Tendang dulu coklat keju tendang dulu guys. Habis makan martabak coklat auto bisul karena memang makan coklat kacang. Gue sih enggak sih kalau gue. Apa emang? Kalau coklat kacang bikin bisul ya? Bukan jerawat ya? Keju cazu masih populer loh di Google langsung keluar lu yang bener lu bohong. Bohong masuk penjara lu ya anjing. Goblok anjing. Masih psikopat nih orang nih anjing. Itu keju belatung, bangsat. Keju sama mozzarella jelas. Padahal keju tuh banyak tau yang jenisnya di Indonesia yang belum ngetren tapi enak banyak. Kayak cottage cheese tuh enak menurut gua. Yang agak ekstrim tuh ada blue tapi masih sosok lah. Banyak sebenarnya. Mozzarella. Tuh anjing. Lu tukang ngelihat kolom komentar di Instagram lu ya. Aurece. Iya, aurece. Minuman susu keju enak gak sih? Emang ada minuman susu keju ya? Baru lihat lagi. Coklat kacang biasanya yang beli orang tua. Iya. Kocak lu anjing bawa umur gue liat. Berarti pisang apa tuh? Berarti pisang plus cuka sabil ya, enggak psikopat setan. Selamat malam Bang Mister Halo, selamat malam juga Mugianti Puspitasari. Petacis gak tuh anjing. Kakak. Lu kalau nanti ke Bandung gue suruh nyoba nasi tutuk oncom, udah tahu gue udah pernah makan nasi tutuk oncom, mantap kalau itu. Super doyan banget gue. Gue pemakan oncom soalnya, doyan gue oncom. Anjing ya gue kayak super makan micin tuh langsung waduh emang ya. Sama nasi goreng rempah itu boleh tuh. Orang tua mah biasanya pesen ketan anjir. Tadi siapa tuh yang ngomong anjing martabak pakai ketan? Gue tonjok lu ya. Sumpah coy itu jangan digabung anjing. Makan timun mentah dengan olesan saus enak pedes dan seger. Wah juga ya, itu boleh lah. Berarti combro doyan ya? Biasa aja. Biasa aja. Oncomnya tuh di nasi kalau gue doyannya, Cok. Keju yang putih cair biasanya disukain cewek, apa namanya, kok gue tonjok lu ya. Itu bukan keju, tolong. Tolong. Sama serabi so-so lah. Kok kopi plus arang di Jogja kok enak ya bikin sendiri, muntah ya. Gue sampai sekarang belum nyobain sih gue. Apa namanya, kopi jos namanya kalau nggak salah tuh, kopi arang tuh. Buset, 73 menit nggak tahu apaan tuh. Tapi dulu kan emang pakai ketan bang, makanya ada di menu. Emang iya. Mandi bang, udah Cok. Kalau boleh tahu tim dari negara mana aja bang yang ikutan tur nih? Kalau untuk timnya ikutan tur nih secara keseluruhan apa gimana? Kalau secara keseluruhan, ini kan kita lagi bahasnya soalnya kan semifinal ya. Kalau semifinal tuh tim yang lolos, 4 tim yang sekarang semifinal tuh ada bukan dari negara mananya ya, tapi lebih tepatnya region mananya ya. Jadi mewakilinya tuh region gitu. Nah kalau sekarang ada 3 tim kalau di semifinal ya. Kalau di semifinal tuh ada 3 tim yang dari region China, ada 1 tim yang dari regional Southeast Asia gitu, dari Asia Tenggara gitu. Kalau dari secara keseluruhan itu total kurang lebih ada sekitar 24 tim. 24 tim. Nah dari region mana aja gue kurang begitu hafal, cuman yang gue tahu ada dari North America, ada dari itu NA, ada dari South America, ada dari Brazil, ada dari Southeast Asia, ada dari China, ada dari China, ada dari China tadi, ada Korea, ada Jepang, ada EMEA tadi yang Europe. Terus apa lagi ya? Brasil udah gue sebut belum sih? Brasil soalnya beda region sendiri tuh sama South America soalnya. Ya pokoknya kurang lebih kayak gitulah. Totalnya 24 tim ya. Lah bener bang maksudnya. Tapi hati-hati beli kopi arang, kalau nggak tahu itu arangnya beli di mana. Kadang ada yang suka buat arang bakarnya pakai minyak tanah. Emang iya ya, bahaya dong kayak gitu Cok. Kopi jos enak, gue belum pernah cobain sih gue. Lo harus cobain kalau ke Jogja, next lah ya kalau gue ke Jogja lah ya. Gue belum ke Jogja lagi ini Cok. Dan kayaknya udah nggak akan ke Jogja lagi deh gue. Dulu kan biasa kalau ke Jogja kan gue ziarah kan. Kalau kalian tahu nama tempatnya tuh di Sendang Sono kalau kalian tahu. Di Muntilan. Review ekstra jos susu dong Bang Andre. Wah anjing gue pengen sih pesen, tapi kuku Bima gue pengen nih. Wah anjing jorok nih Sunfang. By the way guys, kita masuk ke draft dulu guys ya. Let's go. Ada kamu yang meninggal pas sayang-sayangnya. Iya, kocak. Kocak lu. Bentar kita matiin dulu musiknya. Kita iniin, kita gedein suaranya.
Right now, Rico's predictions are doing pretty
Oke,
well.
let's go. Kita
And
masuk ke game kedua, teman-teman.
just game
Bentar gue
2.
ganti layar dulu
This
ya.
is a best of 5.
Lupa gue.
And right now, we have Zed as the first ban on the board. Omo, how are you feeling about this? No, and Sitch as well comes on in. And
Atau
send on the side
Spiritus,
of
wah
FPX
ngeri
on
amat.
the Yumi.
Oh udah internasional ya berarti bang. Yes ini lagi ibaratnya ini liga dunianya lah gitu. Kalau mungkin Mugianti nggak tahu mungkin kayak kalau di ML kayak M1-nya gitu kurang lebih.
And it's so perfect too, right? Singe answers
Atau
a
kayak
lot
Dota
of
kayak TI-nya kurang lebih kayak
has
gitu.
a lot of dashes. So Nova wants to
Ini
get
liga
out of
dunianya
that-
intinya.
get that out of the
Ke
window
Bali
with
pernah nggak? Kok
Karma,
pernah.
while FPX lost
Mau nitip nggak om?
earlier.
Mau ke
Basically,
warung
I
nih?
just
Wah
wanna
pengen
respect to
pengen
make sure
cok.
that Double seven,
Turni World Tag, yes, betul
7-11
sekali.
doesn't get the
Yes.
support and the utility that he needs.
Because he lost that game, he's now 0-7-11. If you had won that game, he's 0-7-1-1.
True.
Okay, so
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Yeah. That's how
we
it
figured it out.
works. Okay. Right now, we are seeing the Corki come on in for Nova
Oh, another
and
bait champ.
Jace.
Nice.
Yeah.
From one bait champ to another. Cool FPS.
Aduh ada Rico, annoying.
Jeez. Oh, but now we have Jax coming on in.
Kalau
How are you
martabak
feeling
pakai
about
susu
this?
hangat
This
enak
means
nggak bang?
that,
Hah?
that is out of the hands of Long. It could be the
Dicelupin
classics
gitu?
coming in for Long. Still.
Lino? It's
It could,
Lino?
it could be another Lee Sin, honestly. Like earlier, Nova.
Oh, but you said it.
Oh, my bold predictions out of the window. Again, although, okay, fine. Nova won with this draft. It's like
let's not change what's done. Not broken. FPX on the other hand, Jace has been very 50-50. If you get ahead, sure. If you don't get ahead, fine. I'll default to 1-3-1.
baru.
Totally cool. One thing that's left open though is the Wukong. And Wukong has been one of the while it can be offensive, is also a defensive answer to mechanical champions. Like if Lee Sin goes in,
Kalau kebalik, cobain lawar belut atau lawar kelungga sama rujak kop. Rujak koper gue belum pernah nyoba. Kayaknya lawar belut gue pernah nyoba deh. Belutnya yang digoreng-garing nggak sih? Bener nggak sih? Kelungga tuh apa? Apa nama lain dari belutnya? Gantung martabak kodo, kalau asin ya psikopat lo. Ke kampung Bali pernah nggak kok? Nggak tahu, gue pernah ke Bali Besok. Yang menang Nova karena ada Ayang Riven. Okay.
The rest of this from FPX are damage heavy and setup. You need, like another Black Shield, you need shields for 7-Eleven to survive in these team fights.
And we saw earlier that FPX, their mood was very, very somber as they gathered for their huddle. Their energy was really very serious and of course very, very down coming from that loss. We saw from the earlier video that they don't take losses very lightly, whereas on the other hand, for Nova Esports, they were actually pretty chill.
Yeah.
They were pretty chill, like not.
They won.
Yeah, they were chill, and it's just affirmation that what they're doing.
Bang, saran dong pemain baru itu harusnya pahami satu champion sampai fase atau nyoba-nyoba champion sesuai role-nya. Menurut gua, lo ikutin dulu tutorialnya. Siapa mau ganti, terus nanti lu coba-coba beberapa champion karena kan dikasih waktu tuh sebelum lu main ranked ya, lu bakal main casual dulu. Nah lu cobain dulu champion mana aja yang kurang lebih cocok sama playstyle lu, atau mungkin kalau lu udah pernah ada pengalaman mobile sebelumnya, lu bisa cobain yang role yang mirip-mirip lah, kan misalkan di ML ada marksman, lu cobain di sini namanya ADC gitu. Nah kalau untuk emang lu demen main ADC di sini ya udah main aja, tinggal main beberapa champion ADC yang lain terus ya udah. Dan menurut gua, saran dari gua mendingan lu main satu role sih. Menurut gue ya, gitu. Untuk di awal. Nanti kalau nanti udah mulai advance baru lalu tag another role boleh lah gitu. Kelunga kelapa yang paling mudah kok. Oh, oke. Sepertinya menarik. Belajar role jungle aja bang biar tahu macro and draft. Nah itu bisa juga.
Well, currently we do
Aduh,
see
China kok isi banget ya kemarin. Iya, aduh.
We do see Nova kind of taking on this sort of like chameleon-like identity. So if FPX is drafting a Nova draft and Nova drafting an FPX draft, so far it seems to be Nova is better at adapting to
Ini game
this
butuh
and
makro aja
FPX
udah Zetwin, bener. Butuh banget makro di sini soalnya, bener. Ziggs.
On that Jax to pop off, and you see how well these WRL teams team fight sometimes. The kiting around it is too good.
And the fact that, yeah, you're right, the kiting, the range, that means 0711 is going to have a very hard time reaching these backline carries. He has to set up flanks. And now with the Gragas being enabled, that means FPX, when these 5v5s, if they're not confident in the team fight, they can just opt out.
Well, I do really think that, like, okay, so Nova got that one game for prediction support.
True.
Of course, FPX, I really do hope they know what they're doing. But I gotta say, Omo, I'm actually not feeling too confident.
Mana kemarin gue ganteng banget, alik-alik keren banget gue. Siap cocote. Gue kemarin gak nonton cok, sedih banget gue. Tidur gue kemarin tuh, aduh, yang pas yang TF menang.
That's what Miku and Omo think.
Ini aduh meta Jax atau Lee Sin. Nah ini.
I'll tell you, Miko, what we think. Even though that this series...
You had to think about it.
Yeah,
you had to think about what you thought.
I was getting ready for the Crusher.
Okay, all right.
Long and 0711. Big storyline matchup here. I'm going to take that storyline and flip it down to the support role because Yami had an insane game-winning engage 3-man taunt, and his statement to Lei summed up in the teaser video we saw, I'm a better support than you.
And we've seen that across game number 1. It wasn't about the statement lanes that this match normally is about. Fado completely neutralized. Jungle matchup completely neutralized. Yes, Long had some good performances in the later team fights, but frankly, it was about Remake, it was about the bottom side of their map.
NP dari Cina ya bang? Iya, ini dua-duanya dari Cina kok. Nova sama FPX.
Up one game in this best of 3 off the power of the bottom half of their map.
Remake forced to play a different champion this time around. Orianna taken away.
Oh.
It's the Ziggs, but Yami making a run back on the Galio, baby.
Yeah, Ziggs coming out. Staple, a little bit less scaling power than the Orianna, but longer ranged. Yami, here on the Galio, as you talked about, and Nyan, who
Kalah
had
dong
an
lu.
incredible game one, getting his Corki again.
I
Gragas
really
untuk
liked
bisa heal,
how
Cok.
Riku brought up Neon's usage
Surprise,
of
I'm
Hullbreaker
back,
in those teamfights,
mantap.
isolating himself so he can maximize the Hullbreaker stats. I don't think that's something that we have seen that often being cognitive in this tournament.
Yezi, on the opposite side of that matchup here, is going to have the tools to fight during the early
Keren
game.
banget
So,
champion
the big
berjadi
marker
stats
is,
itu yoi
does
dong.
Yezi get to do huge burst damage to Neon in those shock
Wow,
blasts?
Trip
Does he
adalah
have an
game
answer
terbaik
in the side lanes with a Hullbreaker?
menurut saya.
Because this Corki isn't just Neon's Corki, it's
Jadi
also
biar nggak
Yezi's
bias ya.
Corki.
I think it was like, what, 7 games of Corki this entire tournament? That's a lot.
That's remarkable. I think that's exactly right, Mark. So, yeah, Yezi has played a ton of Corki. And it's being taken away from him, which is forcing him to reach deeper in his pool.
Karma didn't work out too well for Fun plus Phoenix. This time it's the Jace, something that can contest and look for split pushing.
We talked a lot about Long during the last game. He didn't find the early game control that you expect from a Lee Sin. Still was relevant, but we got to go back to it. This is a game where Long needs to find early game gold. This is yet another game where FPX have so far avoided the threat. So far being 2 minutes in, doesn't sound like a whole lot, but Long normally very active in those first 2 minutes. So every moment that FPX stalls out and drags this on without Long finding early gold is a success.
It's something that's also uncharacteristic for
Jawabannya nggak mau di jurang. Enggak.
Played so far this tournament. Around this time, you would see 0711 and Lei roaming.
Bang, kapan kamu
towards
bisa
the top
membership?
side of
Nggak
the
tahu
map,
ini belum bisa
trying
gue,
to push
Cok.
And help a dive for Fado.
JDG juara 2 aja bisa kalah sama Flash.
Yeah, Fado is
Oh,
such a
JDG.
reliably good top laner. He's so reliably
JDG bener-bener. Gue suka kebalik-balik kan gara-gara kemarin ada ngomongin DKG juga, Cok, bangke.
And so FPX normally when that shove is
Karena sih semoga bisa ngalahin G-Team. Amin lah ya. Amin lah ya.
shut down whatever poor soul is pinned behind their turret. But 0711 so far hasn't felt the confidence to do that. And I think part of that is Long. Whenever we've seen 0711 and FPX have presence up in the top lane, it has been successful. They did get some kills onto Yuza last game, but it was always with pressure surrounding him, with the rest of Nova roaming up and limiting the damage. Just as FPX are
Ke
containing
animasinya,
Long,
Bang.
Nova
Kalau
are
pakai headset
containing
kayak lihat bioskop sound
Unfortunately
jadinya
for
fight
0711,
banget
he's on
parah.
top of a ward, so Yami and Remake don't bite any of the bait that Xiaoma was
Memang
fishing for them.
sangat bagus.
It forces him to stay a little longer than he would have liked.
But it was
By the way,
that
Mugianti
double
baru
bait.
main Warcraft.
Because 0711 is down here in the bottom lane. The reason he's doing that is to cover for the
Katain juga
lane.
TF
He's
Cocotnya
up
bagus
roaming
mainnya,
in the middle
mantap.
lane now. He was up top
Itu
a
dia.
minute ago. So it's more an efficiency rotate than anything else, I think, from FPX. Like, yeah, it would be really nice if they'd found a bottom side kill, but also because of the way that the players were positioned on the map, they just managed to have 2 players down supporting Xiaoma. And now that the wave is crashing, there'll still be 2 players.
Jadi masih masuk nggak sih ke meta yang sekarang? Masuknya meta apa? Meta di turnamen? Enggak kayaknya kalau Jada. Enchanter tuh hampir semuanya nggak rata-rata nggak masuk, Cok. Mati.
The two-man engage from Yami and Remake capitalizes for first blood.
Because they see the
Mulai ada Neton ko Andre, goblok.
So brilliant engage by Nova in the middle of the
Ada
map.
banget.
As he manages to dodge all
Bangsat.
of the use of summoner spells, excellent little knockback followed by
Mugianti kamu OD, bangsat.
But during that time,
Karena dia tuh sungguhnya
Lei
produsen
rotates out
musik
of the bottom side to try and
film yang
save
berkedok
this mid
developer
laner.
game.
And
Waduh.
Nova Esports go, okay, well, we can make this play happen down bottom, and they shut down Xiaoma before he can respond.
It's a fluid tactical game from both of these teams. As soon as one team shows their pieces blatantly on the map, the enemy team will strike immediately. And for FPX, they're the ones that lose out on the trade. Nova Esports now net themselves a solid 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and it's rare that Lei's roams get punished. Normally, Xiaoma has enough.
Baru sebulan Bang ambil role support, woi keren.
Morgana can't clear wave fast enough. Needs somebody being a bodyguard.
Dude, Yami is on a mission this game, TJ. He said,
Nggak apa,
"I'm gonna prove
coba-coba
I'm
aja
better
dulu.
support than you." First roam
Tapi
on
kalau
the map,
support memang
already
agak susah sih kalau di game ini untuk di
punishing.
awal ya kalau mau
5
climbing ya.
seconds away from the objective spawning.
Yet again, this matchup coming down to those 2 supports, and it may yet again as it is team fight time. First objective on the board.
Oh,
Oke,
that's a lot of
sepertinya
damage from
seperti
Dude,
biasa
does he just
trading
lay down the
damage
package
lagi.
right now?
Hey.
Neon on a solo mission calls over Yami for the heroic entrance. Just 11 has to flash back into the pit just to secure the dragon. Look at the pressure that Noah just put
Mega
down
Inferno
onto
bomb.
the bottom side. But Yise, he wins it. Didn't even need long there.
Massive win for Yuzi. He'll get the Rift Herald as well. I was waiting for Remake to try and confirm a kill on the bottom side, but instead he's going to roam up. It's Nova Esports get the gold lead on the map rotations. Nobody has enough HP to match them, and so they'll get a free turret in the top side. FPX have but one response is going to be to come down here to the bottom lane, where Neon yet again bullies out 2 players trying to punish him.
Dude,
second charge!
can we talk about how much work Neon is putting in both Game 1 and Game 2? He's doing a great job of being able to handle so much of FPX's members and pressure on the opposite side of the map of where Nova wants to play. It is neutralizing FPX of being able to find leads where they would normally find them throughout the Icons tournament.
And it's the Hullbreaker being used very effectively in order to gain those kill advantages. As Riku pointed out on the desk, he's always getting that stat bonus from being alone on the map.
Paling favorit Lux, ultimate-nya bisa sampai best musuh. Kamu sudah ada di jalan yang benar ya, Mugianti ya, bagus.
That's Neon single-handedly using a fairly squishy character to bully all of FPX.
Item yang biasa dibuat apa? Oh, belum hafal ya, belum hafal. Kamu harus menjadi support damage untuk mencuri kill dari teman-teman kamu ya. Apa itu ada cemengkir? Tidak ada. Support mengcarry.
There's constantly going to be a Neon and Yezi on the opposite side of the map playing in kind of their own 1v1 kingdom, and the rest of the game is going to be
Draft milih mana kok?
4v4. And frankly, Nova have the better players so far in that side lane. A lot of this game rests on Yezi containing.
Ini draftnya selalu imbang sih menurut gua dari tadi. Menurut gua ya Boam. By the way, halo Boam. Kurang keren gimana lagi Riot, nah itu dia. Kamu ada di jalan setan, Dos, bukan support teh. Minta di TO kamu ya, brengsek ya. Orang baru main dari setan-setan ini emang brengsek. Di jalan setan sejak dini. Bangsat. Enggak, Cok. Anything is possible, bro.
We're now seeing an FPX in a position they haven't been since the middle of their regular season. Behind in golden lanes and having to respond is really interesting. Because 0711 has frankly always looked weak at managing to get an advantage in lane for his players. And so he's defaulting to his other strategy, which is, okay, I'm going to farm as much as possible, and I'm going to try to be the Jax carry in the late game. Last game, he got full build, he completed the Wit's End, that's the third item. It normally signals that a Jax
dulu waktu kecil pelangi itu indah ya bang, tapi sekarang kok beda ya, bener. Rotasi sekarang pelangi udah bukan ciptaan Tuhan lagi, Cok, sekarang, Cok. Lux itu baron laner sama kayak Atau, pala kau. Gue butuh penjelasan kenapa gue keren banget ya. Bodo amat anjing. Kata kau Anda tetaplah di jalan setan anak muda, pala kau. Trauma kalau nyuri kill bang, pernah sampai rage-rage nyuri langsung feeder marksman saya. Jadi Mugianti sukanya main support yang model kayak gimana nih?
One thing that's different this time around and may have been the reason for that kind of awkward play on the map is that the Nova Esports vision is much worse than it was.
Bentar guys, dikit lagi guys, masih ngunyah guys.
The turret take up top, but they don't have the deep vision that allowed Nova to run FPX around the map last time.
FPX, can they take advantage of it? 7 seconds before the Rift Herald spots, they find a rotation where Neon was shadowing the mid lane. Great capitalization from FPX at tower over.
But 2 players on the bottom side of the map means Nova have a player advantage around the Rift Herald. Vision in the pit for FPX.
Wah, bonyok sini sama Six si anjir.
Slowly as they want to.
They already use explosive cast, but look at the poke damage from Remake. You can't
Repainting a flag. Repainting a flag. Mana tiluk-tiluk babunda?
Finding Shalva, but a flash despite the wind slash, but it is still Neon that comes in as the last flanker, picking up members on the backside of the fight, and Nova have completely.
GG, thank you anjing FX, Cok.
A really good teamfight engage from Yami as well. As Nova re-engage onto the retreating FPX. Yes, it's
defending a flank gak tuh? Pakai kok bunda bangsat. Matiin deh ya.
Looks like FPX might be able to turn into massive taunt from Yami that combines together with teamfight.
GG defending a flank nyoi. Menurutku Leomort lebih bagus nggak abis di buff. Bodo amat anjing, Cok. Bangsat Leomort nggak tuh? Kamu harus coba main asal support Mugianti. Gue tampol ya kadek ya bangsat emang. Suka ngadi-ngadi di pantai. Ternyata Metalising ngeri ya daripada Jax. Metalising kan mainnya di early, Cok, masalahnya, Cok.
Right.
Udah strong gitu sejak dini.
They have to use it.
Bad investment from FPX.
Unlucky.
Yeah. This poor Jax is going to have to keep farming his own jungle as well because it keeps getting taken away, and every time the turret falls, like especially that mid turret, it's so much easier from Nova to steal away 0711's farm.
Yeah, FPX, they have given up control of the dragon.
There we go.
They're trying to go for turret trades. Bado already taking out, or Yezi taking out the top side map. Rift Herald charges.
Wah,
Doesn't
gigi
take out
banget ini
the
udah.
turret, but it gets more turret plates back over to FPX. They're
Tapi kita
trying
lihat
to
ya,
stem
masih ada bisa
the
perubahan nggak
bleeding
nih
that
masalahnya?
Nova is causing.
WCK Rift Herald use, as we called it, when you take the first
Ini
turret,
Gragas
but
support
don't take
enak
the
mau
turret.
ganti. Nah, Gragas support tuh bagus banget sih bener.
League of Legends,
Kayak Lulu kalau nggak Soraka tipe healer. Oh, sukanya yang kayak gitu. Lulu udah kalau Lulu sudah sangat di jalan yang benar sih.
like a real pain to kill. Here in Wild Rift, all the plates
Lulu
are
bagus banget Lulu.
resistant, so it doesn't matter.
Xavier support
But
bagus sih.
it
Apa
is
itu
always
anjing?
really funny. Here for the gold.
Saya beta emang mainnya Enchanter sih boleh lah
I
kalau buat
just
di awal
love
tuh.
that you have been keeping
Lulu,
track
Rakan
of Rift Herald
bagus.
names.
Rivennya
WCK,
ngeplank lah goblok
WNS.
anjing.
Yeah, the WNS Rift Herald.
Soraka jungle bagus terus skill satu sakit bisa temennya kepala kau. Lebih ngeri lagi meta cocotnya lah bro. Band gue dong, bodoh amat anjing.
It's
Esok
like
banget
5
tinggal
AM,
lempar-lempar
not
ciu
watch.
pala kau otak. Gragas kalau di bahasa
Almost
Jawa
12
artinya
minutes
Soraka
into the game.
emang iya ya?
It is 4-0 here for Nova Esports. A
Emang bener
3,000
mau ganti?
that FPX have been able to somewhat salvage from completely
Yeah.
overflowing.
FPX
Kalau
will
tipe
either
healer
withdraw
pakai
on the
Estes
map,
goblok.
but it's going to be
Lu yang
very
bener
difficult
pada lu
for
ngentit nih
you.
viewer gue nih anjing emang nih bangsat. Orang nanya disesatin cok, brengsek emang.
Clone is gone though.
Nah lu build SPD auto bagus pala kau. Lira bagus salah game.
So FPX in the late game.
Dulu beli yang skin Star Guardiannya mau ganti, lucu betul sih. Gragas tuh rakus bang, emang iya. Oh geragasan gitu ya?
Shock blasts are strong enough that they can just walk up and bully the turret down.
Moan season pada nge-troll pindah ML dulu, oke. Iya bahasa Jawanya Soraka, oh gitu. Baik, aduh. Kita kembali ke game guys. Ya. Kayaknya sih bakal 2-0 ya ini ya harusnya. Waduh!
Blast on top of that. So there's just an incredible amount
What
of
the
like
fuck?
chained poke
Brody.
damage that can follow a dark
Yeah.
landing at any point from FPX.
Brody ngepost mulu Brody, bangke lah. Oh nih teman-teman nih mumpung kalian di sini ya. Jadi gue pengen kasih satu knowledge yang penting buat kalian semua sih. Tapi terserah ini sekali lagi emang lo mau ikutin atau enggak ya teman-teman ya. Jadi gue mau bahas tentang masalah support yang menurut gue menarik gitu ya. Karena menurut gue di sini pasti kalian itu ada yang masih berpikir kalau ibaratnya tuh orang-orang yang bermain Lux support, main Rakan yang damage support, atau misalkan main Morgana support. Intinya support yang memang berdamage gitu. Dan itu kalian nyebutnya bukan support. Gini guys, kita balik lagi ke pembahasan tentang support ya, yang artinya supporting atau mendukung atau membantu gitu. Entah itu dari bentuk crowd control atau misalkan skill-skill yang memang bisa membantu dalam penguncian, nah intinya lah gitu lah ya. Ya kalau lu masih berpikir support berdamage itu salah dan gak bisa tahan badan, lu harus berpikir gimana caranya lu masukin jadi intinya tuh mikirnya selalu kalau misalkan dalam teamfight itu harus ada badan gitu. Sedangkan gimana ceritanya kalau misalkan lu main 4 fighter nih misalkan contohnya, 4 fighter tapi lu bisa di counter gitu. Gua kasih contoh misalkan itu mainnya pakai meta Yumi waktu awal-awal gitu ya. Nah, itu ada kok cara buat nge-counter, intinya gitulah. Bentar gue sambil lihat ya. Gue takutnya udah mulai teman-teman. Ini kalau pause kayak tadi sih lama ya, mohon maaf ya. Ya intinya main aja dulu lah ya, jangan terlalu yang apa ya istilahnya, berteori sih kalau gue nyebutnya sih. Cacat banget ngepost, tabrak aja lah. Kalian kalah juga lawan gue, bodo amat. Ya leh, Renekton gak tuh anjing. China doang koneksi saya, iya. Karma lah kok, maksudnya karma gimana? Riven support pakai aftershock gimana kok? Otak lu nggak ada. Kalau main support main killjoy aja. Aha. Jadi cuman emang ada juga sih yang Kalau main tuh emang suka sebel juga kalau disampah gitu. Cuman ya kalau memang marksman-nya tolol, sampah aja nggak apa-apa aja. Hukumnya halal lagi untuk di kill steal, cek. Aku disupport sama Pipe, nah itu dia. Bahkan ini menurut gua Walter tuh diversity-nya gila banget sih. Sampai ada support berbentuk assassin tuh. Sampai ada support berbentuk ADC bahkan atau marksman itu wah gila banget sih. Emang diversity-nya tuh menurut gua gila banget tuh Walter. Buat yang gak tau diversity tuh intinya keberagaman lah gitu. Kalau support saya aware ke jungle saya bang, jadi mending support mati daripada jungle mati. Ya boleh sebenarnya berpikir seperti itu, cuman ya nggak apa juga. Cuman jangan selalu menumbalkan diri juga. Kalau misalkan lo kayak mainnya lagi random gitu, terus jungle lo emang kerjanya maju-maju doang di depan kayak orang dongo, jangan disupport kalau kayak gitu. Di sini game ini support bisa carry juga kok ibaratnya. Even lo main support Enchanter atau support yang tanky gitu bisa kok serius. Meta post diam-diam pemainnya diganti, mana ada cok. Ya mimit gimana kepala lo? Pakai itu bisa diwajarin, kenapa bisa diwajarkan? Gimana nggak beragam bang? TF aja pacarnya Grace. Mana ada goblok? Gue nunggu rune meteor kok biar jadi MF support. Apa itu emang ada ya? Anjay keberagaman nyoy. ADC tipe magic damage ada nggak? Lol. ADC tapi magic damage. Ya ADC tipe magic damage itu namanya APC. ADC itu sendiri singkatannya namanya attack damage carry. Kalau lu mainnya pakai carry, lu pakai ability power namanya APC, ability power carry gitu. Lu satu sarapin kalau KS gold sendiri anjing, terus kena shutdown kan anjing. Iya sih, iya. Banyak yang memang suka nge-troll di situ sih. Karena ini gamenya kan ada bounty kan, jadi gampang banget game changing tuh. Lah beneran TF itu pacarnya Grace. Tahu dari mana lu? Emang iya beneran ya? Enggak lah, cok. Gue udah biasa sih kalau mabar temen pakai support damage, tinggal baronnya bruiser sama jungle-nya fighter. Nah iya, pokoknya itu keberagaman lah gitu. Chorky, apa ya Chorky maksudnya? Ada namanya Twitch. Emang iya ya? Chorky Kaisa bisa dibuat AP. Oh iya. Nah ya ada Twitch, Timo. Iya benar. Banyak kok sebenarnya. Bukan maksudnya ke situnya, bukan maksudnya ADC yang bisa dijadiin magic damage sih. Tapi tadi nanya gimana ya, gue juga agak bingung. Iya ada Twitch, ada Timo. Oh oke. Gue ngerti. Berarti gue salah ya. Berarti bukan lo ngomong ADC, itu kan ADC roll ya. Mohon maaf ya kalau kayak gitu lo nyebutnya apa ya? Sniper ya kalau di sniper tapi yang damage-nya magic gitu loh intinya. Jangan ngomong APC ADC, itu beda cok, soalnya cok pengertiannya cok. Warna trash static save gimana kok? Bagus. Iya beneran pacaran sama Graves, emang iya ya? Chorky build AD outputnya magic. Ya bahkan dia bisa dibikin full magic juga kalau lo mau tahu. Ezreal AP lebih ngeri itu, skill 2-nya goblok itu sumpah. Bukan TF sama Graves, cuma sebatas partner. Bagus. Kalau Twitch murni APC kok di LoL PC-nya. Oke. Ya kayaknya bukan marksman ya, namanya sniper ya. Marksman ya benar ya berarti. Tetap marksman kalau di WR mah. Oh, tetap marksman. Oke, thank you. Nah, itu beda pengertiannya. Soalnya gini. Yang satu pembahasannya tentang carry-nya, yang satu lagi pembahasannya tentang tipe championnya gitu. Tadi kayaknya gue salah nangkap deh, atau lu yang tadi salah bahasa tadi ya. Soalnya tadi gue bacanya ADC gitu. ADC tapi yang damage-nya magic. Ya itu namanya APC, bukan marksman mage. Gitu beda lagi dong, pengertian dong, beda lagi dong. Karena kalau lu bilang kayak gitu, yang bisa masuk APC banyak soalnya. Even mage yang dimintain sekarang masuknya ke APC semua gitu. Varus tuh lebih cocok APC. APC bisa, ADC bisa dia. Dia sekarang lebih bener-bener variatif sih kalau Varus tuh. Lu bisa main Conqueror lagi bahkan sekarang. Bisa main pakai Lethal Tempo juga bisa. Sorry, bukan Conqueror, Lethal Tempo teman-teman. Twitch ADC crit kali. Emang iya ya? Gue nggak tahu sih, gue asli. Kalau POV gue carry itu nggak selalu yang punya range kayak marksman, bisa jadi baron lane, jungler atau mid-nya. Iya, memang. Betul. Dan memang rata-rata kalau yang carry ya pasti DPS soalnya. Jadi lu bisa mage, bisa APC, bisa ADC juga. Sau CP pala kau. ADC attack damage carry, APC ability power carry, betul. Asa dibuat support boleh nggak bang? No. Don't do that please, don't do that. Kalau jangan. Nah, the reason kenapa ADC yang memang ada tulisannya ADC support gitu ya, marksman support ya, nggak dipakai buat main di jadikan support ya, karena memang nggak prima aja gitu. Marksman tapi lebih mengandalkan magic damage maksudku bang. Oke, berarti lo salah bahasa tadi mungkin kali ya. Boleh banget. Oke. Fun fact, Yanto di PC sering dijadiin ADC dulu. Memang karena DPS tinggi banget sih kalau Yanto tuh. Dan dia punya attack speed-nya tinggi banget masalahnya. Dulu asli di role support kok. Iya, di role support, tapi penempatannya jangan lo taruh di posisi support, jangan menurut gua. No. Kalau lo mau taruh di mid masih oke, masih fine gitu. Sekarang soalnya metanya rata-rata support itu di mid. Bukan secara support harfiah yang membantu ADC ya, bukan. Tapi lebih ke balik lagi ke gamenya. Let's go, kita balik dulu ke gamenya guys. Let's go. Udah mulai guys.
TJ on his money printing rant.
Pas banget lagi abis.
That's what I'm known for.
What treasurers don't want you to know.
Financial crimes. That is a joke.
Enggak support. Iya enggak tap, cuman penempatannya bukan di support, jangan dimainin. Ase kalau lo main di rank tetap jadi ADC kalau itu, tetap jadi ADC.
FPX struggling to scale towards their gems.
Dude, Long has the GA third item once again. So many other Lee Sins this tournament have gone for.
Kalau gue sih bilangnya roll sama job, maksudnya tuh rollnya ADC.
Long's going in.
That's right.
ADC itu jobnya oke. Oh iya benar. Boleh.
Yes. Because having that stasis button just
Cuma
allows
nggak
so
meta
much
aja.
gunplay, it allows so much
Aha, ya.
mechanical expression.
You also have ways to just bait FPX in as well. You can throw yourself into the heart of the enemy team and they'll think, okay, everyone dive the Lee Sin, and then boom, they've committed tools and spells and then stasis.
It's the same thing we were talking about. Yeezer's also really good at this. He will full commit to a front line in the stasis, and then you have to respect him because he's going to come out of that stasis angry.
You won't like him when he's angry.
No, you won't like him when he's done sleeping. Don't wake him up from his nap. And so he's like in the front line, frozen. Nice
Aku bilangnya ADC biar nggak dibilang pindah sebelah bang. Oke. Kalau mau jago support lo harus belajar terus torakan minimal, yang lain auto gampang. Oke. Saya main di sini nggak bisa solo carry ya kalau 1 versus 2 gitu. 1 versus 2 masih memungkinkan, masih banget. Tapi memang lu di sini berasa banget 1 versus 2 aja lu butuh high mekanik banget kalau di sini, apalagi lawan lu sama-sama jago ya ibaratnya. Karena di sini untuk survivability-nya kecil. Kecuali nanti next part 3,3 itu bakal ada meta yang berubah lagi soalnya.
Shout out to Exus. 15 minutes into the game.
Gone, but still in our hearts.
True. FPX finding themselves down 4,000 gold as Nova are slowly trying to find a way back into controlling FPX. Oh, Lei, he's stunned. Did you see Yitze? He intercepted the body slam and that gets the flash out.
Bang, kalau dapat execute tuh dapat berapa detik ya? Berapa detikan sih? Maksudnya execute setelah ngadu hit gitu maksudnya. Kayaknya sekitar 4-5 detik dah. Itu gue nggak tahu pasnya itu dari dulu.
That FPX can take on fair terms, so expect them to step forward and take it. 0711 has completed his wits end, so this
masih DG ketiga ini.
has real damage as well, but this lethality.
Hey!
Whoa, that's a flash out of
Mati
Yami
dong.
trying to
Oh, bayangan, cok.
but that was the clone.
Wah,
So much
nah.
wasted. Fado manages to slip over the wall with the clone.
Oke. Flash sudah buang dari Galio, ulti udah dipakai dari Ziggs ya, nice.
Being lined up here, 5,000 HP already gone. You
Eh,
see
Jacknya
Fado is
ngebukin
actually
tuh.
falling up on Yami, but everyone into the backline. Fado Atau trying to use the Cyclone as a deterrent.
Oh, Juga dia masuk.
Once members away. Hero's entrance from Yami. 1400 HP.
Oh, wah, masih dapet, Cok.
And look at the taunt from Yami.
Wah, nice Jax.
Yes, he's solo. He cannot join the fight.
Oh, itu waduh, Corkinya tebel banget anjing.
Wah,
GG.
but it's still Nova. They have the damage
Wah,
overload. They're the ones that force FPX out of the pit.
Nod does it again. FPX
Oh, tuh ada
play
yang
the
jawab
team
tuh nanti.
fight perfectly. But that Nova steal away the dragon. So FPX feel they have to overcommit to shut it down. And during that time,
Wukong udah bisa nembus tembok ya belum? Oh gila banget pakai skill clone-nya Nyoi.
Oh, what a recall. Is that gonna work?
Yeah!
Oh my god.
Right in between the pockets of vision that Nova Esports had there.
That is genuinely very impressive map knowledge. Here's your Coca-Cola pop-up play for a very aggressive team fight. Watch this. So, Yiza re-engages, but because
Anjing itu Rivennya berani banget ya masuk ke 5 orang kayak gitu anjir.
Stasis is installed out the fight, and we get this split fight, which looks very good for FPX, except for the fact that Long wins the smite fight, then goes into Stasis and is able to get away. Yiza finally gets picked off, but they overextend, they're hungry now.
Sumpah itu Corkinya masih tebel banget sih anjir.
And even with the re-engage from Xiaoma, trying to isolate Neon there, he doesn't do enough damage to completely 1v1 Neon at this point in the game. And something that Yami did that I didn't realize at the beginning of the fight, as you see him popping off, he was isolated with 0711, forcing him to
Tapi
re-engage.
duit masih beda tipis. Mati tuh. Kena root Morgana.
It's a stasis from Long.
Waduh, Corkinya kah? Hidup kah? Nice banget dijauhin sama Gragas. Nice. Wah, tapi di combat lagi, Cok. Iya, telat banget tapi ultinya Morgana ya. Wah, nice, Cok. Yo. Wah, GG, sumpah warga.
These team fights are so close, Mark.
Mau nanya bang, buff naga ini bertahan sampai berapa menit ya atau sampai late game? Sampai habis kalau naga di sini. Yang bertahannya nggak lama itu Baron. Ada waktunya 2 menit kalau nggak salah.
To take the majority of the focus from FPX, you see first Long goes in, attracts the focus, goes into Zhonya's, then Yiza steps in, does the same thing, and right as it's about to go real wrong, it's Neon with the package.
Reserve PC udah mulai bisa ya sekarang kalau rank udah banyak kok dari dulu mah.
All of this fight as a result.
They're always reacting. Watch how Neon re-engages here.
GA earning his money.
Sumpah itu Corkinya tebel banget anjir.
And right when they burn him down, the cooldowns are back up for the rest of Nova, and Yiza can step forward. Then when Yiza's cooldowns are spent, that's when Yami spends his tool, which means there's never overlapping cooldowns. There's never a moment where two members of Nova stun the same target at the same time.
Ini masih bisa sih, ini masih bisa di comeback sih guys.
So that
Belum ada Elder nih soalnya, duit cuma beda tipis doang, beda goceng nih.
The maximum length of time.
That damage number from Remake is
Kasus APC yang bau booming, ya itu. Sakit juga mas main Corki itu, sakit. Sakit banget Corki. Cuman ini Corkinya tebel di sini. Mainnya hull breaker tuh lihat. Nggak ada yang lihat Galio ulti. Bukan masalah ulti nya, dia tuh kalau lo main kayak gitu tuh nggak gampang anjing lo masuk ke ulti kayak gitu.
Nova's team fights, their organization in these fights can earn you. And if FPX don't draft a composition,
masih bagus Galio masih bisa ulti buat ngasih shieldnya itu udah bagus menurut gua. Janji nggak ngulti clone Wukong, iya deh. Nunggu Black Claw, salah game.
And a half items for Remake is doing some serious chunks from Xiaoma's HP bar.
So here we go with Nova Esports yet again at the 20-minute mark in full control of the map. A little bit of deja vu as I see FPX falling yet further behind in gold and not having enough access to their own jungle to farm their way back into this game. And what are we approaching? Well, Elder Baron. FPX need to make a Hail Mary, need to make a huge play here.
You already have Yitzhak prepping the wave on the dragon side of the map, pushing in this wave. There are turrets that are ready to fall from one minion wave crashing. FPX.
Kok hashtag Mega Red kok jarang banget dipakai ya? Karena emang nggak terlalu bagus menurut gua. Sekarang Gunblade tuh, hashtag Gunblade tuh ada item yang lebih bagus daripada Gunblade sih soalnya. Ada Divine soalnya sekarang. Sumpah ini damage dari FPS kurang banget ya.
good start for them, but the poke battle very much going.
Oh sekarang Wukong enakan anding kok. Kalau Wukong Baron masih anding sih. Jungle bisa anding, bisa gaps. Sorry, bisa gaps, bisa conqueror.
So that they don't get full combo, so they can avoid focusing a single target. Hopefully, Nova are instead, as a result, kiting them into this choke.
Oh hashtag Mega Drive.
What is that?
Kurang tahu dah gue.
I don't know, but that's not what Yezi wanted to do. That's a crucial ability gone.
That's a huge waste of his stasis.
Long engaging right into Atau. Burns the Cyclone for free. Stasis by some time.
Ratain
Here
efek,
comes Neon
guys.
with the package. Goes golden. Distracts them momentarily.
Nice
FPX
banget
forced to
kitingnya,
retreat from the
nice.
train.
Gila.
But it's good kiting from FPX. They don't make the mistake they did last time. They don't waste cooldown on players in golden stasis.
Aduh berat ini Wukong udah pakai ulti lagi, udah ini free dagger sih. GG guys pokoknya guys.
It's too late.
GG guys,
Nova
GG
has
guys.
secured the Elder Dragon and 0711 was trying
Oh,
to
masih
regain
di-
HP, but the opportunity has passed up. And look at Nova. It's Lei trying to re-engage with the body slam flash, but 0711 so low in HP.
Ya ampun itu Jax masuk meninggal doang. S.
Unaffected, undeterred.
Oh, enggak, S. Jax masih bisa kabur ya.
Nova, as it is Nova all day, every day. FPX looking to find some stragglers, finding
Nggak
ways
bisa
to
sih
get
mati.
back, but the damage is done.
And FPX look like they've been mentally out of this as well. That fight was so badly coordinated, they missed the window and then
ngurangin
tried to
CD item
engage
aktif.
anyway.
Waduh, kurang tahu
Stragglers
gua.
one at a time, laying miles
Itu kalau gua
ahead
hashtag
of
Mega Drive,
damage.
gua jujur nggak
It
tahu
was
gua.
not a good fight. It is not a good look from FPX as Nova march towards game number 2
Hey!
in this series.
They are
Okay,
on the doorstep
ini
of
di
the
MC.
Nexus here. Yezi doing everything that he can to kick away from Long.
Eh.
2000 HP. He's pushed out the mid wave.
Nggak ada creep itu, Cok. Oh, masuk lagi creep.
No, it is not coming through. Nova are on the brink of eliminating FPX and advancing to the finals.
And with one more win, they
Satu menang lagi, guys.
upset the
Satu menang lagi,
order
guys.
in the WRL. FPX won a dumb.
Satu win lagi guys. Satu win lagi. GG sih. Nice try FPX, nice try FPX. Kan gue bilang apa yang pakai rival menang udah 2 kali loh, bener mantap. Kita lihat ya ada perubahan drafting gak ini masalahnya. Soalnya ini harusnya berarti kalau kayak gini sih ini main red set lagi nih harusnya berarti dari Nova. Udah kayak Umbral Glaive aja nggak ternotis item lethal, Noi. Masa FPS 03 bisa jadi. Ini masih 2-0 baru 2-0. Nah ini baru reverse swap. Kita lihat ya. By the way teman-teman, kita sambil nunggu kita giveaway dulu guys. Oke nggak sih? Gas nggak sih guys? Giveaway dulu nggak sih teman-teman? Wah mau giveaway tapi like-nya cuma 22 guys. Gas, oke. Hashtag Mega Drive plus loket gerakan auto crush setiap steam fight. Siap. Nova mancing ulti FX pintar banget coy. Nggak mau soalnya aku udah menang. Iya bacot. Mari kita giveaway dulu guys. Absen dulu dong. Aku mau giveaway bang. Coba tulis dulu dong. Aku mau giveaway bang. Mantap. Absen dulu coba dong. Anjing ada gas. Mantap. Aku mau giveaway bang. Mantap. Gas. Mantap. Itu ada siapa lagi tuh? Ada Jabinjar yang tiba-tiba giveaway nongol ya. Ada Fumi. Aku mau lore bang. Aku mau lore nggak tuh? Tidur. Aku nggak mau bang. Mau dibacot. Aku mau giveaway bang. Mantap. Yang bawa obeng boleh ikut nggak? Kok boleh. Ana mau giveaway kan? Mantap Ana. Mantap. Momo udah dapat semua makanya. Afik buset tiba-tiba nongol ya. Kalau lagi giveaway tiba-tiba nongol nama-nama yang baru gue lihat ya dari tadi nggak komen ya. Bagus. Oke langsung kita giveaway aja guys ya. Aku mau makan bang. Ayo bareng. Sorry maaf. Kebiasaan maaf. Usaha orang tua. Aku mau buang sial. Iya buang sial bangset. Ntar kita gantiin dulu guys. Kita giveaway keyword aja guys ya. Oke. Apa ya? Keywordnya adalah kok nggak ini sih, bentar gue refresh dulu guys. Renekton, iya. Mau giveaway siap. Om nggak tuh anjing. Elite 8 kuat nggak nih lawan Nova bang? Kuat nanti 40 tahun lagi. Nah Abigail, emang ada Mama Abigail? Giveaway udah mulai, udah aku share ke grup keluarga bang, siap. Aku boleh ikut bang, boleh. Kayak pokoknya intinya yang udah menang jangan ikut ya teman-teman ya. Semoga aku menang giveaway. Oke bang, aku bang, mantap. Mana nih, bentar guys. Kita pakai keyword dulu ya. Keywordnya adalah, sebentar. Keywordnya apa ya guys? Bentar, ini kenapa baru 8 ya yang ke-detect ya? Oh, belum gue tulis ini ya, Keywordnya apa ya? Aku sih belum menang. Oke, gimana kabarnya nih? Halo Dios. Keywordnya semoga challenger, amin. Bang, halo Steve. Lah, tiba-tiba ada Sandi bang, kopi nikmat perih di lambung bang. Jeder. Apa ya? Passwordnya bentar guys, passwordnya apa ya? Oh ini aja guys, passwordnya nih guys. Momoler bau ketek selamanya ya. Ini guys, keywordnya ini guys. Gue kopas nih guys. Ini kenapa? Pasti sign in to chat dulu ya bangsat. Nah, kalau bentar. Ini jadi masuk ke sini sih. Goblok. Bentar. Share FX boy, kenapa PPX bangsat bang? Kapan buka membership? Belum dapat gue cok. Bingung gue juga kenapa. Oh nih. Kok nggak bisa sih anjir? Nih keywordnya gue nggak bisa kopas guys. Ini aja momoler bawa ketek ya. Tuh. Nih tuh. Ayo guys, gue taruh di bentar. Gue taruh di sini ya. Bentar teman-teman. Kalian kopas aja atau kalian mau ketik juga boleh sih. Nih gua kopas ya. Pemolar bau ketek. Mana sih? Wih, udah 6 eligible, siap. Pemolar bau ketek. Amin ya, aminin ya guys ya, aminin ya. Pemolar bau ketek seumur hidup ya. Aduh. Apa itu? Aduh. Amin. Amin. Spam jangan bang, gas. Momoler bawa ketek, mampus. Momolernya nggak nongol lagi anjing. Oke, ini 22 orang teman-teman yang ikut ya. Gue tungguin sampai 19.00 ya teman-teman ya. 19.00 ya teman-teman ya. Belum mulai. Gue tungguin masih sekitar 4 menit lagi guys. Momoler Lor lot. Sumpah nih goblok banget emang nih moco anjing. Nih. Tunggu bentar. Nih gua pin nih kelakuan momoler, lihat nih ya, kelakuan momoler guys, lihat guys. Lihat tuh kelakuan momoler guys, lihat ya. Bangsat emang. Tipe nggak tuh anjing? Asli anjing momoler bangsat emang. Lah, tiba-tiba ada marmar bangsat. Momoler bawa ketek. Goblok. Aduh. 3 menit lagi guys ya, gimana guys? Bau payudara dong. Waduh. Emilia nih bos, senggol dong, siapa lagi anjing? Aduh, GG. Wajar dia cowok kok, sehat berarti, mantap. Saya suka susu anget, oke. Kita mau peler, waduh. Lanjut nggak live-nya? Kok lanjut dong, masih lanjut dong. Lanjut live, maksudnya live apa nih? Live main kah? Kayaknya enggak deh, gue enggak deh. Istirahat dulu gue. Dan besok gue kayaknya nggak ada nobar teman-teman. Karena besok gue ada kelas freestyle soalnya teman-teman. Terus udah gitu mau ke airport malamnya. Memular bawa ketek, siap. Banyak yang nyangka sih Momo cewek karena lihat fotonya, nggak ada. Momo itu adalah binatang guys, binatang. 2 menit lagi baru teman-teman ya. 2 menit lagi. 2 menit lagi teman-teman. Masih ngobrol-ngobrol guys. Champ top lane yang anda mainkan apa biasanya bang? Gue biasa main Fiora, bisa main Riven, biasa main Darius. Beberapa lah. Cuman kalau yang akhir-akhir ini sih Riven Fiora sih. Mana ya? 18.58. Gila. By the way sekali lagi sorry teman-teman ya, gue lagi agak lesu. Kayaknya butuh tidur. OTP Timo dia top 50 pala kau. Jangan dipin siapa, aku baru balik dari warung Madura. Mohon maaf itu kan akun anda. Mohon maaf. Sono game nih udah jangan so ganteng lo kok, mau ganti hati-hati hode. Iya anjing, ada Lina Jobstead gak tuh, makanya sekali pakai Fiora main PvP 06 malah jadi feeder lawan Irelia. Mungkin belum tahu cara mainnya mungkin. Gue aja bahkan belum apa ya, saya belum bikin konten Fiora gue, padahal gue one track Fiora sambil ngopi kok biar nggak ngantuk. Justru jangan, kalau misalkan gue ngopi nanti gue malah seger kan. Tidurnya ngacak lagi. Ini by the way udah draft ya teman-teman ya. Gue tunggu 1 menit lagi teman-teman. Sambil ngeliat dulu guys. Lisin udah banned guys. Oh pinter dia swap set ini, dia reverse swap ini. Dia nge-reverse ini, jadi dia main second pick dia. Oh nice. Player Indo Pro Irelia siapa bang? Siapa ya? Alexandrom kalau misalkan di YouTube mungkin. Atau lu tanyanya pro player apa siapa ya? Pro player atau YouTuber? Momoler bawa ketek. Oke, by the way di jam 7 teman-teman ya, gue langsung roll aja ya. Ini gue langsung roll aja ya. Jadi sekali gue roll langsung menang ya teman-teman ya. Gue cek dulu ya, ini udah 37 yang ikut ya teman-teman ya. Udah 27 ya. 37 ya, langsung gue roll ya. 1 2 3. Siapa nih? Faksult nyanyi. Mantap. Anjing, kenapa sekarang subscribe orang di unknown ya? Coba tolong absen dulu nih. Nih Faksult. YouTuber ahli support siapa bang? Ada Gopher. Ahli support. Gerald jago ya. Kalau pro player ada tuh Gerald. Cuman kalau misalnya YouTuber cek Alexandra aja. Jasa 99 jago ya, iya kan? Keduanya bang, pro player sama YouTuber. Nah itu tadi ada Alexandra sama ada Gerald. Nggak ada, Riro, coba absen dulu. Ada cowok, tuh ada tuh Jahaha. Coba tolong absen ke YouTube gua. Ke DM ke Instagram gua @mrlikedog. Coba lu DM nama lu DM-nya gini formatnya ya. Screenshot akun YouTube lu, terus kasih nama lengkap lu, terus kasih IGN lu, in game name lu. Jangan diganti sampai tanggal 9 ya, sampai lu dapat giveaway-nya ya. Kalau kan nanti nggak bakal diproses. Sama yang terakhir email lu yang terkonek sama gamenya, oke? Itu aja, oke? Hadir woy, mantap. Oke, gue tunggu ya siapa ya Faksul ya. Reroll nggak tuh? Gopher Bapak? Iya, yang pakai velvet, delay parah, siap, oke. Oke, by the way kita langsung masuk aja. Oh, nice, udah Kha'Zix teman-teman. Ntar gua matiin dulu ya. Kita lanjut ke game ya teman-teman, jangan bersedih hati kalau belum dapat giveaway teman-teman. Nangis sih
Especially
nggak apa-apa
now they
nangis.
have a Riven as well
Yes.
to drop people low.
Oke,
and the
kita
Kha'Zix
balik ke
jumps
gamenya
in
dulu
and
ya.
turns up the kills. What do you do
Iya
if
ada
you're
go
esports and you see
Gopher
that?
cari aja
Okay.
G O V
Well, let's get a
H
big
A
crocodile,
H E
and then
R
we're not scared of
Gopher
that
itu
burst
support
so
nih.
much.
We need the
Cuman kalau
crocodiles
nge-stream
watch
jarak
the bugs so
kayaknya
that
lebih
our
sering main
demolition
jungle
expert
deh.
in Remake Ziggs
Antara
can
jungle atau support sih.
effectively nuke FPX out of the game and out
Udah
of
aku
the
dendang,
tournament.
bacot.
But one thing for
Gua
0711
pelir nih,
on
itu
this
bagus.
Kha'Zix, this is the champion
Oh, Bang
that he
Sil,
got the
oke.
most MVPs on during the
By the way,
regular
gua
season,
matiin cam dulu,
in the
teman-teman,
grand
ya.
finals, and he even ended the last game winning
Apakah
the
kita lihat ini bakal jadi
championship
last
with
game,
the
teman-teman?
pentakill to top it off.
So it's
Let's
very
go.
much what you want FPX to do. Man, we're on the brink of elimination at our
sedih
international
bang,
final,
aku-
at the first ever
Ya,
world final.
aku sedih bang gak dapet
for,
dia
Wild
sampai
Rift
membanting pas
with
bunga mama.
this,
Buat
pick that's not going
dipukul
our
bentar
way.
lagi, ya.
This draft
Channel
that
lot
feels
gue
like
paling
it's falling
family friendly
apart.
di commerce
So
luar
you
Indo,
go to the
betul.
comfort picks.
Yes.
And
Sangat
here is
family
another
friendly.
version of that, as we do have the lock-in of a Singed. The Singed, I think, was supposed to appear on stage, but he was instantly deleted because Nova knew exactly what they wanted next. That's a Rakan for Yami, his star character.
Semoga nggak last game
We're
biar
getting
seru
all of the
liatnya.
comfort
Oke.
picks. Kiza's got his Rakan, or his
Wah.
Renekton. Yami's got his Rakan.
Oh,
Remake's got his
nice.
Ziggs. This is everything that Nova want, and on the opposite side for FPX, they've got everything they want.
And Lei, 3 different champions so far this time around. What could be the last champion that he plays on stage is the set. Something that has incredible playmaking ability. It has to match, and it has to outpace Yami's Rakan here.
And I want to highlight that in particular, because the one thing that FPX have done, that I have been asking for them to do all series, that defines their team fights when they play regularly, is everyone on this team has an engage tool. Everyone on this team has control of the team fights, something that has been lacking in their previous drafts. And now with this return to form, it forces Nova to shift things up. They know that Long cannot straight carry this game without the ability to ignore all of that lockdown. So, yet again, they play to the front line. It's going to be Long and Yiza on this.
Kalau Bang Anto,
diving
kemarin
into
Bang
the
Malam
front
sih
lines. Maybe it's
pro
actually
player VG main WR nggak banyak, nggak banyak bang, nggak.
But those two
Kalau
characters
player
will
VG
dive
main
in
WR
and
nggak bang
occupy
kayak
the
spaghetti
front
old
lines.
school.
And
Ada.
during that time, Remake will be chipping away. You'll use Yami's CC to
Cuman
start
kalau
fights,
spaghetti
Neon
pensin dia
Long's
udah
HP
hilang deh.
bars to prolong
Old school
fights,
masih main,
and
old school
Remake's
masih main.
damage to win fights.
Di trap.
Over on FPX, they have to dismantle
FPX
that
win,
combo
soalnya ada
combo,
Riven.
that
Oke,
three-stage
kita lihat
engage
ya.
that Nova are so good at. And that looks like landing stuns, extending the fight through kiting so that the Singed cooks
Gitu
people
ya kata
alive.
kuncinya sekarang ada Riven menang ya.
0711 strikes. If he can get a gold lead, we could absolutely
Bodo amat
get one of
alanya.
those MVP performances.
Fix river swap ini, iya ini
This
kita nggak tahu
could
ya.
be potentially Fun Plus's Phoenix's last game of the entire Icons tournament.
Baru tahu Tutur main WR juga, ternyata udah lama Tutur
have
main
come
WR.
in,
Dari awal dia
not
main
just
WR,
swinging,
cuman emang gak
they
intens.
swung
Itu
for the
pen
fences.
message-nya di
They have
delete dulu
landed
kok.
2
Oke.
incredible blows.
Jangan
One
di delete,
more
justru bagus.
sends FPX home as we get onto the Rift for Game 3 between FPX and Nova Esports.
Match points in our semifinals.
Biar semua orang tahu
Maybe
Momoler
just 20
brengsek.
minutes away from being our first final.
Riven udah pakai skin.
Not the outcome that many expected going into this series.
Ya, kenapa
FPX,
gua, anjing?
the number 1 seed from the WRL. Nova was just a challenger looking to take the
Si
crown.
Bari.
They
Salah.
didn't do that in this
Voting
last
match-nya mana kok itu kan ada ya.
Let's start the game as we always do by checking in on our junglers. Long needs a lot of early farm, unlike when he's playing the Lee Sin and he can show up in lanes and force fights. Olaf doesn't have good fight starting tools. Olaf needs his laners to find CC and stun. And that means that the only places Nova can really gank, provide early pressure, are up here on the top lane with Yeeza's Renekton, and down on the bottom side with Yami's Engage. I would suspect that Yami is going to leave this lane pretty quick, and all of Long's early pressure is going to match where either Yabi or Yeeza are on the map.
0711 checking into the mid lane, making sure that Yezi can contest the minion wave push.
Ada yang tahu nggak? Atau pernah nonton tim siapa yang pernah benefit? Kayaknya nggak ada deh.
In what world is ganking a Singed fun?
Only if you can get the flash flip, TJ.
Yeah. So, Yezi going to kind of neutralize any presence from Long in the middle of the map. You see that happening as I speak on it. And so, FPX have the right idea instead. 0711 kiting up here. playing near Fado.
Whereas Long and Neon pivoting their power over towards the dragon side of the map. Xiaoma and Lei have to
Hey, nice, the engage.
pressure. Two-man knockup from Yami does connect. It's
Ooh,
just chip damage.
dibalas
It's
kah?
all on Yami to start this fight. Nobody else has the tools.
Yami doesn't have grand entrance, but the root
Oh,
here's beyond.
oh,
It connects
oh,
to Xiaoma.
oh.
Buy some time for the rest of FPX to re-engage and get back to the safety of the menu.
And they
Even
don't
Wang
find
ini
the
we'll
fight
see ya.
starter. Nova don't have the engage tools they had last game.
Wah, mati dong. Nice
And that
banget boy.
means that they don't get the fight. FPX managed to survive the early
nice.
pressure. Easy
Ayo,
can't
ayo,
finish this
ayo,
kill
ayo.
on the Fado,
Lima
though
duan
it
deh.
is close.
He thought about flashing forward. He had Dominus available. Might have been able to trade Summoner for Summoner.
Dia
but
kan
he
gak ada
has
gue
the
liat statistik
advantage over
unbanned
Fado. He
versus
has
icon
to
ada
make
soalnya. Oh, oke.
Yeah, Fado vulnerable at this point of the game. Renekton is pretty much the apex predator at this stage of a lane. Can beat pretty much anyone in the 1v1. So it makes sense that he is winning these trades, and I would in fact even praise FPX's
NV
Fado
kepanjangannya
for
apa?
how stable
Nivea
they are
kah?
keeping that
Nivea
lane.
nggak tuh?
As long as he doesn't die, he is winning. You
Nuvo,
saw 0-7
Nuvo.
taking
Kepanjangannya
some of
Nuvo
his
anjing.
CS earlier, very much indicative
Disponsorin
of
sama sabun mandi.
for FPX.
You know, thankfully for both Fado and Itse, they are familiar to how dominant a Renekton lane
Sekarang
can
film horor kok
turn
biar
out to be.
kalau bisa yang Ancient Demon gitu,
Giving
wah
the
nggak tahu
respect
gue.
over
Gak
to
nonton
Itse
horor
early
gue
in
sama
this
sekali.
lane from Fado. He has to take it as
Hmm.
gracefulness that Itse hasn't been able to kill him quite yet. FPX will be able to find ways to restructure an advantage into the mid game after the laning phase concludes.
Pressing forward again.
Ooh.
Fado opting into the 1v1. Saved his cooldowns for after the stun, but Yiza disengaged so well. Yiza's Renekton is pixel perfect. And it earns him yet another advantage.
He's been outplaying him in almost every trade so far. Something that
Main
some of the best
WR
Renektons
aja
we
horor,
saw
mapnya gelap.
dominate.
Full rotate from Nova. They're trying to shut down Fado. Here we go.
Anti-bakteri dong, nah betul.
Turret resistances are about to drop in the next 5 seconds. Nova are here early so that they can take full advantage.
Hey!
3-man, 2-man face breaker. That's a lot of damage on the Yitse. Forced to pop the Nominus, and they have to
Wah,
run.
dibanting.
Wait.
Wah, nice banget itu.
Beautiful interception. The alley-oop
Nice
right back
banget
into
itu,
FPX for
set.
first blood.
Lei finds first blood for FPX, stepping up. Yes, Yami is talking trash.
Semua
but
gamer
who
itu
won
horor.
that fight?
Kenapa gitu?
In game 3, it's FPX getting the lead, and simultaneously,
Itu
they
dia,
did a whole
itu
lot
dia.
of damage trying to force a fight on the opposite side of the map. FPX took that entire battle up top at a player disadvantage, and were able to take swings and occupy the time of remake during that.
And this is crucial just right before
Pinter
the objectives are
banget
about to
setnya anjing
spawn in the next
nungguin
20
itu.
seconds.
And I don't think FPX can take the team fights yet. They don't quite have the damage. You're still waiting on first item completion for Yezi, which is when he starts to do actual damage. You're still waiting on a whole lot of major abilities to come up from gold, essentially. And so FPX should take whatever they're given. They instead get to force the pace here, though, because they won the top lane skirmish.
Dua ult udah
Long
kepake bakal track
securing the
objektif
dragon,
tuh bakal
whereas
track sih
FPX,
menurut
because
gue.
of the pressure surmounted
Udah
on the
track
top
kan.
side of the map, will get Rift Herald. They can snowball this further.
Ini FPX KUD ya, lagi kalah 2-0
That's a very
FPX.
good trade for FPX.
Valorant, TFT, LoL, PC, LoL,
Rift
WR,
Herald
oke.
anyway.
Oh gelap, kok emang gelap ya?
Infernal Drake. So they get exactly what they want because of that top lane skirmish, because Nova did not have control of the top side of the map, and they settled for less.
Nova playing for the long game right here. Dude, this is such a brutal matchup.
I love Fado pushing it though, because he has lost these trades. It is a very hard 1v1 to win early in the game, and in
Kok
every
kacau sih kenapa tuh
he's
gelap
trying
kok nggak
and
kayak
stepping
ML terang
in.
ya kocak lu.
Neon knows this is
Masih baik dong
exactly
compare anjing.
Won't fall for the trap.
Proto Belt? No, it doesn't happen.
Now he does. Unfortunately, it wasn't there in time. But for FPX, they're going to shift their attentions towards the Baron side of the map, see if they can catch out Yusei before he gets a chance to reset.
Mati dong lu.
Fado stepping forward here, forcing ult.
Ultimates out of both champions here. Wind Slash gets some damage, but Yusei with the barrier negates the execution from Fado.
And I even was prepared for Fado to force the ult and then back away. Be like, okay, well, I got the Dominus now for free. I'm going to run away now. No, he stays there. He keeps trying to force the fight. Fado, one of, if not the best duelists in the WRL. And now they're setting up for a kill. Here's Long as well.
Oh, Lei doesn't want to be here. If it's just Yitse, that's whatever, but when Long shows up and he's got the Ragnarok, it doesn't matter what CC you throw at
Yet
him.
another example of how well these two teams know each other. Yisa doesn't go back into his lane until he's called Dad.
Thanks, Dad. Oh, Yezi. He's got to get out, but he gets ignited, so now he's forced to stay under the turret while the Ignite is burning him down.
Yummy. Really battle dancing in just to drop an Ignite.
Hell yeah, dude.
And Yezi lingering here until Shalmar shows up so this turret doesn't get melted. Shalmar on lane will roam in, respond to the pressure.
Yeah, Yami just using a great example of tempo, keeping Yezi longer on the map than he would have liked.
Bedanya smite biru sama orange apa bang? Merah maksudnya. Smite biru itu efek tambahannya nge-slow musuh. Kalau smite merah itu efek tambahannya adalah ngurangin nge-reduce damage dari musuh. Dan beda damage, damage-nya lebih gede smite merah. Kayaknya ya.
I'm here for it.
Ya setahu gue sih gitu.
He's front-loading them perfectly so that he can keep Yisa chain CC'd.
P5 masih nggak ada lawan, oke.
Long here to defend, remake here to
Dad's
defend as
back,
well.
Dad's
Oh, nambahin
back,
movement speed ya?
Enggak,
nge-slow juga. Nge-slow.
0711 back to the fountain. Long undeterred is continuing to
Damage sama kok, sama ya damage?
Gets replenished health
Oh, gue
from the
pikir
hunter.
gedean
Nova with a
gedean merah.
perfect rotate. Bring remake in time to get the kill. And now they run the top side of the map for 8 more seconds with 0711 dead. It's a massive advantage to Nova.
Slow plus movement speed, oke. Oh, ada slow movement
Player
speed nih.
advantage, they're gonna get this bottom turret.
Hancur dong turret bawahnya.
That should be first brick for the side of Nova
Nice.
Esports, getting everything
Duitnya
in
udah
what
lebih
could
banyak
be
Nova nih.
FPX's last game of the tournament.
A massive problem for FPX.
Smite merah nambah damage,
Who are
emang iya?
still on the brink of elimination.
Bukannya reduce
As these
damage ya?
next objectives come up, they need to play the fight perfectly. This is the first fight this game where they
Smite
will have
nambah
full
damage ke
resources,
champion
so you
bukannya ya?
can expect them to
Gue
step
kurang
up
tahu sih itu.
into it. Now, normally FPX are the best team fighting team in the WRL, but Nova have been matching them with layered attacks. I outlined those. The setup for FPX is a kiting defense. They need to use the breadth of time and the number of CCs they have to extend the fight as long as possible. Let Yezi cook Nova Esports, and once those HP bars are low, it is Fado and 0711 who you are looking to shut down.
Banyak amat ya Nobar hari ini.
Yami helping
Puji
Yitse
Tuhan.
push in this wave so they can get to the
Lebih
Rift Herald
reduce
in
damage
time,
musuh,
but
jadi kelihatan damage
FPX
kita
they're
lebih
the ones
sakit.
first
Oh,
to
oke.
the pit.
So, Nova, burst engage, use the stun,
Cyclone.
followed by the Mega Inferno Bomb. FPX, extend the fight, slow it down by space for 0711 to get flank kills. Here we go for the semi-finals.
0711 forced onto the right side of the flank. Fado
Aduh, itu kenapa dia pakai smite? Mohon maaf nih Olaf.
Yitse forced into the pit right now. 3,000 HP onto the Rift Herald. Yitse pops the Dominus. Fado missing the stun. Looking for the knockup. There's the big one onto Long, but he cancels out with the Ragnarok. Transcendent Embrace doesn't get
nice,
anything
Olaf.
done. It is Long that secures the Rift Herald. And Nova Esports blinking, trying to get out, but it is still
Anjir.
Long on the aggressive.
Nggak ada yang
They don't find
mati,
anyone
anjir.
from FPX, but they get the objective.
Nobody from FPX dies, as you say, but they lose
Tapi
so
ultimate
much
cooldown lama
ground.
banget,
They're gonna lose
90
at
biar
least
beli
2
item apa
turrets
bang?
here.
Beli item yang punya ability haste kalau kayak gitu nemu ganti.
Good job from FPX, but Nova will still get the turret on the top side.
Only one turret lost. Now the next loss from that fight is going to be priority over the Infernal Drake, the most important
Wah,
shot
nggak
in
jadi
this
reverse
game.
swap ini mah.
And FPX
Lah ini udah
are
reverse
in
ini,
with
ini
Nova
udah swap
setting
ini
up
cok.
vision.
Taman yang minta dari Novanya. Soalnya kan kalau yang menang tuh lu bisa nge-reverse. Anaknya keren tuh, Jamin langsung stasis nyoy. Oh, kontes. Yo, mati. Wah. Wah.
A stolen team fight, a stolen dragon, and FPX are still in this series.
Gets the showstopper down.
He's nice
locked up
banget, anjir.
Yami, and a haymaker knockout punch onto Yami's face.
Wah, mulai
Remake is
mati
gone.
satu nih.
That's the prime.
Mampir like kok, thank you Farid.
And no Nova have
Envy-nya
to
belum
keep
siap war
running
dong.
backwards further and further, kiting as the
Item
singe
soal skill
damage
aja
ticks
auto
away.
cepet,
Look at
oke.
this aggression, getting Yezi into the pit, and Yezi spends this entire team fight running unhindered through all of it,
Wah, apa tadi
upping
mati
their
duluan itu,
HP
anjing?
bars and setting 0-7-11 up to do what
Ngamuk,
he does
ngamuk,
best, fight kill after kill and steal away the dragon.
The invisibility usage was so clutch there, dodging out of the fights, waiting for the dragon to be
Reverse
burned
itu
down.
maksudnya ngebalik.
flips it, and
Oh,
then does the
reverse
same
score
to
berarti ya.
knock out stragglers from Nova.
Masih ada harapan
Play
sepertinya,
tanking
masih
the
ya,
turret
masih.
here as long as possible to ensure they manage to find those dive kills, shutting down Remake, and for once giving their coach something to cheer about.
FPX. A huge, huge burst of momentum being swung back into their sails. It's the win that they needed to find that confidence, to find that pillar that they can rebuild a potential reverse sweep on.
An injection of life into this team.
Yes.
And it's, like you said, a start. FPX still in a very close game against a team that has kept them in arm's reach all series. Here we go.
600 HP, Lei wants to step up, can't get it.
Perfect use of the Mega Inferno Bomb to
S2
clear
singkat itu ngasilin
and
asli.
protect that turret. It'll still be under threat on the top side, but that's a 3v3 now, and thus very dicey for FPX. They're going to get poked and prodded away at by Remake and Neon, who
Yo, like-nya yo,
I
mantap,
expect
maaf.
to see utilized far more. Nova tried to go for a full engage there. In the future, they'll kite.
Long popping the Righteous Glory. Yitse also using the Dominus. They're just saying, get off my tower.
Uh-oh.
By 1 HP. That won't last for very long.
I mean, Long is gonna try to make it not happen, but
Because his
Fado just
name's
says,
Long.
Sayang banget ya buang ulti, Cok.
Fado
Tapi
says,
sumpah ya, kok
no,
gue
this is
ngeliat
my
keluar
tower.
dari ini tampil
Turret
speknya
taken.
berasa game PC banget.
FPX rotate their
Lumayan.
entire team across the map, anticipating some resistance from Nova, and Nova quite rightly back away. A Remake.
Lei might have been caught out here. Still has
Oh,
Shows
wow, wow,
I
wow.
don't think that was the direction that he wanted to go. He's landed himself right into 3 people.
No.
But Lei still manages to walk out alive.
Aduh, aduh, aduh.
Very good movement in the middle of that by Remake. Remake changed directions at just the perfect time so that the showstopper ult took Lei back into
Aduh,
the rest
aduh,
of the
mata gue
team.
kena
And
cabe,
Lei
anjir.
played that off perfectly. Found a 3-man stun and stalled for long enough that he didn't go down.
Jadi seru nontonnya, mantap.
Two incredible players facing off in the top side of the map. And nobody wins except us. The viewer.
Fado? I don't...
Can't go in here. He's just
Yeah.
trying to maintain vision of Nova. He's trying to make sure that they can set up.
Item armor yang bagus buat reduce magic apa, Bang?
Which is now up.
Visage atau Abyssal?
Other team gets a prime game.
Itu ada, lo mesti baca pasifnya sih. Jadi
PX, they're
beda
dealing
item
with
tuh ada
Multi.
efek
Keystone
pasifnya.
on
Oh,
top,
nice
down,
banget.
Finds an opportunity.
Anjir.
Mega Inferno Bomb. Good stasis though
Ooh.
from Fado. He's able to
Fado
get out alive.
stasis is the damage and Lei Haymaker is the damage. And then they redemption away any chip. So, FPX got some major cooldowns burned there. That's most of the engage gone.
Yami no more quick.
Aduh.
Once again, Yitse
Ooh,
layers
nice.
it down with the dominance, gets a lot of burn damage.
Yeah!
Haymaker! Long is
langsung
silenced by
mati gak tuh.
0711 and the rest of FPX.
And it's Xiaoma as well, with perfect karma play in that fight. Winning another pick for FPX. And oh my lord, they are doing this. Burning the Baron to try and force a response out of Nova.
They are wasting no time here, TJ. They see a way back into finding momentum in the series, but they cannot finish off the Baron.
Yeah, it's not about finishing the Baron there. It's about trying to make Nova step into a fight in a 4v5. That was their dream because Long is dead, so they can start a
skill
fight.
2
was the
set.
theory.
Iya.
It's in no more dominance this
Oh,
time
he
around.
scoops.
He's been separated. Mega Inferno Bomb gets a lot of burst
Mati
damage.
kah? Hampir,
Yitse
Cok.
manages to survive the onslaught.
Did you
Nice.
see Yezi toss him onto the end of the adhesive?
Yeah.
That was incredible. Really good combos by FPX, but they don't get a kill for it. And indeed, during that time, Nova pushed through mid. So it backfires a little bit. The gold lead still infinitesimal, but leaning towards FPX. As we head towards this next dragon, these two teams are dead even, still scrabbling for a semi-final.
The Infernal Dragon was won by FPX. Nova this time around now know that FPX are willing to throw haymakers right back into this game. They have to be cautious in the next entrance.
Banyak kan orang juga ada juga WCN atau MAW. Nah,
Does not have TP, and he was roaming up to the top side to try and correct that wave. He ends up not doing it. So Nova do have a pushing wave in the top side of the map. They want to stall out here as a result. Use the poke of Remake. Use the poke of Neon.
Dragon has been started up, 6,000 HP already. Nova trying to poke from afar.
Yeah, they successfully stall this out, stop it, reset it. Neon alone in the middle of the map, though. Neon grounded in the middle of the map, though.
Yeah, Lei is willing to trade his life if necessary because the mid laner going down for Nova.
The Burning Dragon.
They're trying to get something out of nothing here. They need to be able to make the trade advantage. 0711 tries to flash
Oh,
forward, but
nice.
it's still long. That clutches out the Dragon.
Aduh, replanning nge-plank lagi. Aduh.
Down by the remaining members of FPX here. Nova now on the retreat. Fado trying to keep them in vision sight. Nova managed to get out alive with the Dragon, but at the cost of Long and Neon.
Yeah, 2 kills in exchange for an Ocean Dragon. FPX may take that because they can now turn immediately onto the Baron. The jungler is dead, and they will start what could be the final objective of this game. They probably don't finish the Baron here, but they know that. They're just trying to force Nova to make yet more mistakes. Force them to make a terrible choice.
Yami over the wall. Remake doesn't have Mega Inferno Bomb to follow up, but maybe just the normal abilities
nice
will do enough damage here.
nice banget.
Insane goes golden,
Masih
flashing
hidup
away,
lagi.
critical timing, 4,000 HP.
Oh!
Jay comes up.
Wah, comeback nih.
Running the members of FPX.
Wah,
Can they
colong kan.
with the clutch Baron steal over the
Nice.
wall.
Pecah GA.
And he's able to take out the GA of 0711. Yes, he goes down, but he stops FPX on their roll.
Remake saves the
colong
game
atuh ya.
for Nova Esports. If Remake does not stop out with a bouncing bomb, steal away the Baron, this series would have continued for another game. Nova still have the chance now to eliminate FPX. Let's take a look at that replay.
Just incredible stuff. Look at how he's positioned right over the Baron pit. Yami and Yitse doing all the grunt work.
The start of this fight is really good for FPX because they are baiting.
Oh, kena skill 1 ya.
They know Yezi is going to cook them. They win this fight over the extent of time.
Pistol sih, tapi apakah bisa menang we'll see ya.
Nah,
jadi kan kelihatan di Cina. Nah,
huge bombs the entire time. He's the only equalizer for a stacking Singed sitting inside the Baron pit. You will notice FPX prioritize those kinds of fights where Yezi is guaranteed sustained damage over the course of the fight. That is their dream.
KFC
And
nih
while
akhirnya Cina bisa
FPX still
stall
have
lebih
the gold advantage over Nova, they know that
Ini
had
FPX kalau
they been the
comeback
ones
nggak tahu
that
lagi
got
sih,
the
nggak tahu
Baron
juga
buff, they could have led into a push and moved on to game 4.
Now, with a Baron in their hand, it's going to be Nova who can stall things out for a bit.
Remake is currently separated from the members of Long and Neon, so they can't follow up outside of the Mega Inferno Bomb, which has already been expended.
And Nova are still in striking distance. They can still win a team fight very easily, despite the gold swing towards FPX. Their team fights come mostly from Remake and Iza at this point. Iza will try and tank the Staller, the Occupier. Remake will be the player doing all of the damage. He's about to complete Rabadon's Death Cap, which will be a major power spike on the opposite side. Xiaoma has completed Rabadon's Death Cap, but doesn't do as much damage.
Have to be careful for Nova Esports. Remake, his Mega Inferno Bomb coming back up. Flash and Stasis almost online once again. Defensive survival tools that will allow him to continue putting out damage against FPX.
batuk minum Baygon. Iya, kayaknya pick all rada berat sih kalau draft kayak gini. Emang berat.
5v5 to end this game. Nova just want to sit behind their turrets and extend it. Last until long enough that their key damage dealers are online. They do have a formidable late game scale. And they reckon they can win the team fight through the power of late game Olaf, should he be able to engage through the power of Remake, having
Batuk
now
bang,
completed
kayaknya gara-gara kurang tidur deh. Batuk-batuk minum Baygon kok yang cair biar gampang dicerna. Iya. Bangke.
And he is going to do a ton of damage in the extended ones. Additionally, Lei and Fado.
Duit sih masih bedanya tipis banget ya, masih beda 4.000 ini.
Those players, Fado will be doing a ton of damage, and Lei will be almost unkillable, having
Oh,
completed
right tuh kan.
This is a dominant support performance.
Nyeri otot tuh bang, iya nyeri otot nggak tuh anjing.
It's a lot of HP, and it gives him not even more durability to withstand the burst of damage from Nova, but it also gives him the ability to tank up and be able to continue looking for flanks.
Because it gives you boosted regen, and set regen is already stupid, so he can like take
sakit banget aja.
Back at full HP in like 5-10 seconds.
Anjing.
So really good for these extended skirmishes, these extended fights. It basically neutralizes all the
Item kedua Riven itu pecahan dari build apa bang? Item kedua Riven, item anti heal namanya. Lupa tapi namanya gua apa gua. Karena tuh di Elder nyoy, antara Elder atau Baron. Oh iya, Mortal Reminder tega. Itu kedua, oh tadi deh.
Oh, Yami has
Oh, nice. Pecah gayanya, guys.
And the GA has been
Ay.
popped. Can FPX find a way to re-engage?
Oke,
0711.
kasih
Flash
nice
out.
banget.
He only has a stasis now, and he has to kite as far away as
Yo,
possible. It's
meninggal
onto the
aku
front line of
bawah.
Nova to be able to put out the damage without necessarily needing
Hey!
0711. The pentakill Kha'Zix comes back alive in the most clutch fight that they needed for another Prime Gaming ace.
And they'll push through the mid lane. They don't need either objective. This is going to be the game. This is FPX keeping our series going
nice.
and striking back against Nova.
FPX had to recover from 2 incredible games that Nova Esports demonstrated in the opening of the series.
Game changing
But
ini,
when
game changing
it
ini,
came
guys.
To shove,
Kan benar ada Rivet sama dengan Win. Oke ya, kita lihat ya, kita
on the
lihat ya.
Kha'Zix, isolating the crucial target in remake, forcing the flash,
Sakit banget
waiting for the
kumbangnya,
reset,
kumbang.
reset
Kecoa,
on the
kecoa.
engage, takes out the heart
Rame
of
nih
the damage
2-1
for
yoi.
Nova.
And I loved your
Kha'Zix go brr.
focusing
Dah
on
sebat dulu
remake
pala
as
kau.
he's focused in the backline by
Ya bisa ya 3-2, waduh.
Kha'Zix is the key to that fight.
Gak nyiksa ya,
And
bangsat.
simultaneously, the key to that fight is how tanky the front line of FPX became. We talked about that set. He did not go down in this very extended fight. And during that time, you have 0711 picking and prodding and trying to find the kills onto the queue members. No remake didn't go down.
Kecoa belas
But he
lembah,
had to
oke.
flash away. He wasn't contributing to that fight, and so all the damage we've
Ini
talked about
terasa banget
wasn't
tadi war emang.
Remake
Biasa kan di
had a
respect di band.
very tough decision to make, to step forward as he saw his front line was not being able to finish off those main frontline targets, and that is when 0711
Biar lebih lama lihat
struck.
Neng Riku. Iya, iya.
That's the Kha'Zix boss sound. I want to see if the
I
analysts
need
can.
Riku. I need a Riku.
Riku, can
Nova
you
mainin
give me a
drop,
Kha'Zix
limit
bah?
FX mainin drop with let's
Oma has
oke.
something to say, by the way.
Meta
That
comeback
was
kah?
not.
Ah, he goes like,
Kita lihat ya, kita
Yeah,
lihat
he
ya.
goes like,
he's more sneaky.
Who's it, Kha'Zix?
Yeah,
Where he kills
come
you.
on, it's like a bah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Kenapa
then
lagi pada
that's
cosplay
better.
Kha'Zix semua gitu
that's
anjing?
better. Okay.
Unconvinced.
Glad we settled that. All right. Now that's
Lah
out of the
belah
way.
sembah gue pikir
FPX,
jangkrik ya
you mentioned this,
jangkrik aja.
Rising like a
Jelek
phoenix.
banget.
We were a little skeptical a while ago,
Aduh.
but now it looks a lot better. But Rico,
Yeah.
this is really interesting because like the draft, we actually weren't that confident with
Bang,
the
kenapa
draft.
nopsnya dari
Yeah,
yang
because
Twitch?
when we
Karena
look at
satu kualitasnya
the
lebih
entirety of the
bagus,
graphic game one and
yang
number
kedua
two,
lebih
it
cepat.
was like, okay,
Lebih cepat.
FPX doing the same thing. Now they pivoted onto something a little bit different.
Buset,
even
nggak
though
sadar ketinggalan
0711
nonton
is
20 detik
more
yang
on the
lalu.
scaling
Wah
side.
deh.
Again, it has more mobility to get in, get out, resets, a lot of poke as well, a lot of damage, and basically a lot of tankiness. The thing is, for the composition of the side of Nova, it's a very Olaf has to win early to hack and slash.
Bang, kalau
But
dapet
he didn't
Kia
get
di
that.
Kesava
There was
bisa
some
dapet
point
di
in
sini
the
juga
game
nggak
where
bisa.
Long was basically 0-3.
Honestly,
Jadi kalau di
This was
youtuber-youtuber
the point.
yang
Yeah,
nonton
This was
ngadain
the
watch
point
party
when
juga nggak bisa
Olaf
dapat
just
lagi.
lost all steam.
Yeah, then
Karena ini
if
untuk yang menang
Olaf
giveaway semuanya
lost
akan
all
diproses
steam,
dari
then what
one
is
up
your
ya teman-teman ya.
early to mid-game
Gitu.
transition? Where is your answer to shutting down
Orang
0711
tua udah ngantuk,
early
guys,
game to
parah.
make sure that he's not as scary. Kha'Zix, and it don't work out.
Nanggung ya
The
biar
Olaf pick
bisa
here was a
tidurnya
very
tuh
all-in
normal
pick
gitu.
from the side of Nova.
Abis
It
icon
really
sambung
doubled
ranked
down on
kah?
early game
Oh
identity
enggak tidur gue.
had. You look at
Nanti
champions,
gue
this
kayaknya
is
besok
Wakelet.
gue nggak
Yeah,
streaming
that's
dulu
one thing
teman-teman.
about
Kayaknya besok gue nggak
champions,
streaming dulu
early
harusnya
game
ya.
focus. Renekton, Olaf,
Atau
and
mungkin
Dive
kalau
James
misalkan
pushes
streaming gue
onto
pagi
that lane.
teman-teman.
Combo with Rakan.
Tidur kok, iya
Second
ntar
one
lah
to
tanggung.
Redfall, what the 4-man dive was answered so well by the side of FPX. Once that happened, you gotta consider that this Olaf pick, it doesn't fit that well here. Riven can kite you, Kha'Zix counter picks you, Karma can kite you. You really just only do damage against Singed, who just runs away from you,
Yeah.
and against Zed, who's a support, and he stands there, haymakers. So long lost our team, and once
Jam
that
segini
happened,
ngantuk, jam
well,
9
FPX
lewat.
just took the rest of the
Mata
game.
segar
Do you
enggak.
think that this was actually
Ini gue
like
biasanya malah lagi
favoring
tidur biasa
FPX
jam
in
segini
the
guys. Bahkan gue kemarin tuh tidur
Nova,
jam
but it
7
feels like
bahkan jam
this
7.
game was a lot closer.
Akunnya yang
Oh,
master
yeah,
poinnya
both
udah
had
0 kok.
winners
Emang
where
iya?
they could take the game and run away with it.
Gak tau
For
deh gue.
sure, but when the
Kayaknya
game
belum deh.
progresses, of course it's going to be more favorable.
Ada apa
for
kok mau jadi
FPX
morning
because they have a
people?
lot
Emangnya
more
kan
scaling.
morning people
Look at
gue.
the side of
Capek dah,
Nova.
kok anjing tidur ntar sakit
Connected,
gue aman.
Olaf, Jace, if it doesn't
Sebelas,
get
sebelas.
ahead,
Emang iya ya,
doesn't
gue belum
really
ngecek
do
lagi sih gue.
too much and
Coba gue cek dulu ya.
contribute. So the top half of the map are very early game reliant, and if you don't get
Kayaknya
that,
belum deh.
I don't think Remake can compensate for the
Cepet banget
damage.
kayaknya ininya apa
matching
namanya?
07.
Dikainya.
He tried. He stole the Baron.
He
He
did
really tried his best. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
wasn't enough. I think Remake has had a great
Ya udah turun aja kok biar viewernya yang
That's
nonton.
true. And
Gue
speaking of great performances,
Sela.
we definitely saw 07. We can call him 07.
Ini kan lagi masih sambil apa sih? Lagi sambil apa sih?
Yeah, finally he
Nungguin,
really
nungguin.
did pop off.
Ini babak penentu ya kok.
Especially, you know,
Seumpama
with that
skor imbang
last
gimana? Nggak
final
mungkin
push,
ada skor imbang. Ini kan best
towards
of
the
5.
base.
Jadi
And I
dicari.
think that was
Kalau
the
misalkan
FPX
abis ini
with
Nova
the
menang,
very
udah kelar game dan udah langsung ke eliminasi karena kan
We
di
survive
semifinal.
another day.
Yes,
Basically.
you know, we're very restrained and then
Yeah.
just nice little period to the game.
Selamat Anda kena prank. Goblok
But
kan.
yes,
Bangsat.
07
Kang bohong,
07
anjing.
as we should say. That was the performance that we were waiting for ever since game 1, I feel. We knew that this was going to be a jungle versus jungle matchup with these, you know, with Long and 0711. It's only now that he was able to really feel comfortable in it, and we really saw that
Honestly,
definitely made an impact.
Yeah, I think there's a very... When we look at game number 1 and game number 2, right, the way that Nova plays is very push and pull heavy. They push in, then they back away, wait for resources, and then get back in. FPX identified this. Let's have karma, let's have a lot of shields, and bait them in, and therefore we have definitely more sustain on paper.
Giveaway-nya kapan kok? Tadi udah
You know, we
satu.
saw
Nanti ada lagi
Betsy
satu lagi.
basically build full HP.
Ditunggu aja. Buset,
thicker
damage karma kok
shields
segitu.
to provide more sustain
Berapa
for the
tadi?
rest of
Paling
the
gede
team
kah?
if they want to last longer in these push and pull scenarios.
Omo, at what point do you think that Nova lost that
Yeah,
game?
I honestly think it was a top dive. Their whole team comp relied upon hitting a timing window where you just spike and you make a play and you kill them. The dive was the first attempt. If it doesn't really pan out, you can back away. You can take the first objective spawn instead as your team fight flip window. But the fact that they overcommitted, Long died, Long lost tempo, I feel like that cost them a lot. And then by the time it came to the team fight flip, 0711, his Kazakhs, sorry, 0711, his Kazakhs was online and ready to go, and that just flipped the script here for FPX.
Yeah, well, before the day began, before all of this Nova versus FPX, you know, which way is the series going to go began, we polled all of our talent on their MVP frontrunners. We haven't seen this yet, actually. This is
Oh, wait. Oke, kita pindah dulu guys, sebentar, guys.
I was
Kita lagi mau lihat apa?
Oh, this is
Unofficial MVP ya.
This is interesting.
I'm
Ini based on
surprised that
vote
Zissou
kayaknya.
and 0711
Ya.
even.
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
votes even.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I just... Never mind.
Why?
Say it, say it.
Is there something
It's
you
not
want
gonna
to
be
share?
very nice. No, this is where's Coyote? Why does Zissou only have 5 votes? Why is no Mel in there? What? These,
Oke.
all right, man.
Lagi masuk
at
itu
least
basket.
everyone agrees on love.
Bang,
in the
kopi
Nova.
susu
yeah.
apa?
Oh, yeah,
Kopi
for
hitam,
sure.
Bang.
I
Oh,
think
kopi
that's
susu
no
apa kopi
surprise
hitam,
that
Bang?
8
Kopi hitam.
votes were in
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
That's
Lu kayak zombie kok, emang kayak
That
zombie gue,
three
seriusan
people
lu.
didn't vote for Zissou.
Karena modal ludet saja udah ngeselin banget, kayaknya
That
perlu
kid
di
whistle.
nerf deh. Apanya karmanya kayaknya enggak ya.
Look at that
light.
lights are
Did you at least
amazing.
25k damage karma, 19 Kha'Zix,
is amazing.
18 river.
Wire.
Kenapa damage-nya karma bisa gede? Karena damage-nya AOE. Kan dia damage skill 1 tuh nge-splash star gitu. Nah, sekali kena 3 orang lu akumulasinya aja misalnya sekali kena 500 gitu. Kalau 3 jadi 1500 misalnya contoh kayak gitu.
score is now 2-1
Anjir, gua
in
top
favor
2
of
keren,
Nova
emang iya.
Esports. Jumping back into the series before we
No one from Team Flash.
before we have Omo going a terrible
no
rant
comment.
over here. We are neither confirming nor denying, by the way.
Yeah,
we are neither
yeah.
confirming
too.
nor denying. We are neither confirming nor denying.
thought it was just Riku with
That's
both
my
of them.
official statement.
Mika, I love your necklace today.
I know, I love
so
your hair.
nice.
I love your hair.
Thank you so much.
Omo has a piece of
Kenapa
tape.
jadi bahan bahas kalung ya, bener.
It's part of the
Just
design.
Oke, bentar kita bakal masuk nih guys game
Sure,
keempat di hari ini teman-teman.
Jumping now into game 4. Nova came very, very close in game 3. They could have taken it. They had that opportunity. I don't think they're going to let this game slip away. I think this is going to be a really, really spicy game, knowing that they are at match point.
Really,
FPX,
really
they
spicy
definitely want the
game.
momentum to stay on their side. Riku, what's your prediction for this game?
I feel like we're going to see something we haven't seen before in Nova. Again, when we talk about Long's champion pool, this is the time to
kenapa sih?
catch 0711, FPX, off guard. This is the time to bring it in because I feel like as the series progresses, Nova's gonna have a harder time because in their mind, we were 2-0, we could have finished at the 3rd game. So it's gonna keep catching up to them eventually.
We're going.
Kalungnya Neng Riku dari lu bukan kok, nggak mungkin dong,
So,
tidak
you
mungkin
told
dong.
me. That's done
Kantung
now. That's
matanya
gonna happen.
punya kantung
That's
mata,
And we're gonna
emang
go
iya
to
ya?
game 5.
There is no better
Emang iya, emang kelihatan
you
ya.
know, this
I cannot
rival.
we
You know,
have
from
to.
WRL stage 1 to stage 2.
Kantung matanya punya kantung mata, Bang.
It's in the script.
Rehat semenit langsung gas round 4 parah, nyai. Biar
Biar
nggak turun, biar nggak turun.
Unique pick.
Apa?
Do you
hype-nya
think
gitu.
we're seeing the Echo today?
Oh,
Prediksi saya Mr. Echo jadi
should
cost
have picked the
FX, tidak mungkin, tidak
been the
mungkin.
game finisher.
Siapa
If
saya?
this is the serious
Karena mau di ban
finisher,
gak ya? Atau
I
dilepas
believe-
sampai
I
ban
totally
PS2
agree with
lagi?
you, Mika. They
Harusnya
have
udah mulai
to
dapat
bring
respect sih
They have
menurut
to
gua.
bring
Harusnya.
additional CC to complement that as well, because
Harusnya.
the parallel convergence will not be enough to hold people down from FPX.
Termasuk
And
champion
for me,
yang
if they wanna
prio
ban
sih dia
something,
untuk
ban the
di-pick
Singe.
sebenarnya.
If you're playmaking, if you're gonna be mechanics heavy, ban
Cuman
the
gue
Singe.
penasaran dia
You
yang
have to
jadi
bet the
first.
Singe, and I think the fact that now Nova is on blue side, they will have the free
Oh,
to bet the
Nova
Singe.
ngambil first
That's why
pick-nya
I'm
lagi
pretty
nih.
sure blue side is- jokes aside, right?
Enggak, dilepas.
Jokes aside, I
FPS
genuinely
ngambil
think
ke
Nova
second
closes
pick ya.
series out
FPS
here
jadi
because
ngambil
I think
second
the blue
pick.
side draft advantage is gonna be too big
Oke,
for them.
emang
I feel
lebih
like you ban away
kuat
the
di blue
Zed,
side berarti.
you ban away the Singed, and you are good to go. You force them to ban the
Oke, let's go
Corki as
kita
well.
ke
And I don't know if
draft
FPX
and
gets
pick
bad
dulu,
bans,
let's
then
go,
you have to
teman-teman.
ban Senna, you have to ban Yumi.
Yep.
Do you have space for the Corki? What do you give up here?
Harusnya di ban sih ini Karma, harusnya di ban ya,
Yeah, I feel
harusnya
like,
ya.
long
Karena scalingnya
here
kuat.
is no longer-
Bukan
because
scaling dong dia
we saw
dong.
in the earlier video that
Dia dari
FPX was
early
gonna
juga
make long
udah
a priority. They knew that
najis
that's the
damage-nya.
strategy that Nova was running
Per
with.
satu item
Right
aja dia
now,
udah goblok
though,
sih menurut
they're
gua.
dealing with a different kind of Nova wherein Long is not just the one leading the charge here.
Malam kau
All
mesum,
of the
malam
other
kau
members
mesum
of Nova
nggak tuh
Esports, They
pante.
are up there with him. Now it's a lot harder for them to prioritize who are they going to ban out, who are they going to focus their fire on here in the draft.
Oh,
It's
si
interesting
Nget
too that they
yang
banned out
lebih
the Jace,
lebih
meaning
di
Nova is
respect ya.
fine to give up the Karma unless they first pick that themselves. Although
Nggak,
I
berarti
highly
karmanya nggak
doubt it.
di-ban sama dia nih. Karmanya nggak di-ban, cuman apa nih?
Karma,
Lee Sin
what
kah?
you want? We're gonna get the other one.
That's true. I fully agree with you.
Corki yang di-ban.
That's very strong, especially that Nova. If they do wanna run
nice
it back
draft
again, the
dari
Olaf
FX,
Karma is
menarik.
an amazing pair, but I wouldn't recommend Long on the Olaf, especially after the previous.
Pinter juga,
Yeah.
pinter
So
juga.
you don't think that that's gonna be a priority for either team?
No, it's not.
Apa ini?
Still
Lee Sin kah
Karma
di first pick
can
apa
fit
nih?
in a lot of compositions.
Oh, Karma,
But I don't think it's
Karma.
gonna be an Olaf.
I think you can run the Olaf.
Camille,
here on Nova
Karma,
because there's a
lepas.
couple small differences, right? You have to
Okay.
come out on your team this time.
True.
That's gonna
Iya,
be
ini berarti ada
And
kemungkinan
also,
Camille
I
bisa
think if they
lepas
play
sih,
a little
guys.
bit more conservative
Ini Camille
here
ada
on
kemungkinan
dive
lepas,
timings,
guys,
if they don't
terus
flip it at the dive,
bakal bisa
maybe
diambil
the
sih
Olaf
menurut
gets
gue
into
sama
the
FX
mid to
ya.
late game better. I don't think it's the ideal pick
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
but I think you can run it back here. But you have to be very aware.
Respect
that
pick
those
itu,
are
iya
not
respect,
much
respect.
Kazakhs again.
Prior
Yeah,
pick itu.
absolutely. That means
Ayo,
Nova
Riven.
on paper you
We'll
beat
see ya, we'll see ya.
FPX's composition if they're going for the long.
Cuman
haul.
kalau dibanding,
Instead, we're seeing the Lee Sin.
oh,
FPX wants to take this, of course, survive and get it to a game number 5.
Lee Sin kok nggak
This is
di-ban?
looking very,
Nope.
very intense.
Oh,
Yeah.
six.
Let's say
With this.
suddenly
It is
there
really
is a
Kok jarang pakai
going
trash
on.
ya? Kalah
Oh,
drafting
Are
mungkin.
you feeling more secure?
I'm feeling
Dari tadi
comfortable.
caster ngomongnya
It's
Yumi,
game
aku
five. I
nyari
think this is
mana
a very
kucingnya,
FPX
ternyata nama
Yep,
orang
yep.
player namanya
Coming
Yami.
to
Iya,
the
ada
difference
emang
between the
dari
two players who trash talking
Nova.
each other. Nova just said that we know what 0711's gonna do. He wants to play early game for his teammates while Long wants to farm. Lee Sin is the #1 champion for that. You tempo the early game, you control the pace of the game.
Karena kalau
You
menurut
sell
gua
back
kalau
on
di
that
Cina
Jace.
sendiri
This is
metanya
FPX finally drafting some confidence.
ya itulah,
I love this,
Singkat
though.
kayak lebih
First, the
najis.
Wukong. We
Bener-bener
talked about
najis
the
dan dengan lepas.
offensive
Yes.
and the defensive maneuver that a Wukong can provide to the team.
Wukong.
Lee Sin dashes in, 0711 dashes in, then boom, you get Cyclone.
Yeah, you just flip him up in the air, and this sets up for a very cool possible Gragas angle, I think, as well. You have the double displacement. We forgot about that pick.
Camille!
How did that
Yeah. I know.
Oh, Camille yang diambil
Another
ya.
reason why I really love this, yeah, exactly. It could be Longs, right? It's a double flex
Ooh.
angle. It could be Long playing Wukong. Could be Iza playing Wukong. Who's
Oh,
gonna get the Camille?
nice.
We don't know. We get the flex set. And both matchups, well, I think the Wukong matchup's better into the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And FPX should definitely ban the Galio. Yami has played 2 consecutive
iya, ini Galio
Galios.
sih.
Has won 2-0. Pairing it with a Camille,
get rid of
Hextech
it.
Ultimatum with the hero's entrance is
Great
going to be
call, yeah.
deadly.
Oh, langsung di-banned.
I feel like FPX right now, they feel more like themselves.
Gas Lucian.
I think like on stage, you know, after like
Hmm,
after that,
we'll
they just
see,
need
ya.
to gain that momentum.
Yeah.
Dia baru
And
sadar ada
after,
chat
you know,
yang dipin,
talking
nyoi.
with their coach and everything, after realigning everything,
Emang
they
mesum,
know
Cok.
how Nova came to play today. They have a better idea of how their opponent is feeling right now. Now they have all of the cards in their hands to be able to close out the series. But Nova Esports, I feel like, you know, they will still push this as well. But I'm feeling more confident with FPX's draft.
Yeah, honestly, FPX, we've dubbed them as the best team fighting team in the tournament, and 2 games straight, they've been losing all of these
Astaga,
team
mau
fights. Game
cabul langsung
3,
emang,
they've
Cok.
recovered and basically recovered that title.
Oriana
And I feel like
bener.
this,
APC
like you
udah mulai
mentioned,
berkurang
Mika,
ya.
This is very important. That
Wah,
previously was very
nice,
important to
nice,
be able
nice.
to win.
FPX pinter sih
I do want to point
draftingnya
out a
anjir.
quick fact as well. Riven has been a 100% win rate so far.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's gonna help out FPX.
Rasanya nggak mungkin ya kalau misalkan Lux ya, nggak mungkin sih ini.
Okay, that's interesting. So they're afraid of a Garen mid.
Iya, Varus
You're afraid of
open
a
sih,
Garen
bener
mid.
bener
What are you
bener.
going for?
Assassins.
Zed's gone.
Tapi mereka
True.
mereka udah punya karma juga sih masalahnya.
Akali, but that's too much. I mean, honestly, if Nova goes for mech-heavy champions to finish this series,
What a
I
way
see
to
it
do
coming.
it, right?
What a way to do it,
Yeah.
right?
There is a matchup that we haven't
Alistar.
had just yet.
Apakah
I'm
FPX
still,
teori
like,
ngepur?
we
Waduh.
foresaw the jungle matchups and everything. Iza and Fado, like, I'm really waiting for them to really push it because we did see the jungles come online. We have an Alistar coming in for the side of FPX.
Why are they saving 5 picks?
Bisa berarti APC ya, mereka main fighter lagi, satu lagi apa ya dari mid ya tapi ya.
Get the counter pick.
Jace lagi kayaknya.
Seeing a world where Ziggs goes
Oh,
mid.
Varus
Is
nice.
there a counter pick for Xiaoma? I doubt it, but
Yeah,
Di sini
but
bedanya
I see
taunted
where you're
sama
going.
stun apa bang?
Need more damage.
Taunted
This
itu
is a
lu
very
di
low
taunt
damage composition
di provoke
for
lah ibaratnya.
mid. This is
Biar
not
lu mukul
we're gonna
si
bank
yang
on
nge-provoke
07
itu.
11 to scale
Kalau
the
stun
late
ya
game.
stun di
No,
stopin
you need
gerakannya.
additional damage. So I see.
Nice.
Gragas Varus. I
Jace
love
Bennett.
this so
Oh
much
iya,
for
Jace
Nova.
Bennett ya.
They want to end it.
Nova,
Yeah, they want to end it
Asik
here
mana
right
sih?
now.
Okay, why do you think
Kayaknya harusnya ini
this
fighter
basically
lagi
seals the
sih ini,
deal
harusnya
for
fighter lagi kemungkinan
Because
tinggi
they're
dari
so
FPX.
aggressive, they have damage everywhere. Early to
Parah,
mid
nah,
game,
Nich
really
najis,
good. If
lumayan.
FPX goes on the aggression, they've got disengage, they've got a lot of poke and wave clear as well. And the fact that they have a karma, it's so good for the Wukong, for everybody else to follow through any.
Oh.
Okay.
oh, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe it's a
It's
Riven
mid.
mid.
A
but
Riven mid
this
or
is-
Renekton
Darius nggak pernah di pick ya,
But I
jarang.
don't like either of these though. Like,
Yeah.
what's the rationale here actually?
Buset,
Like,
Gragas
why are
combo
you-
sama Varus.
I don't know. I couldn't
Yoi.
tell you. I mean, out of picks maybe.
Bagus kok,
Genuinely,
bagus.
They might be out of picks.
Yeah. It's super interesting. Very AD heavy comp.
Yeah.
Can snowball early. Top half of the map, basically. Waiting for Xiaoma to basically scale into the later game as late game insurance. But FPX feels like they're
Gimana
also
kok buaya?
in for
Iya,
early
buaya.
game. Honestly,
Udah
this
pasti
is
dipastikan
early
ada pro
game.
liner lagi dari
Some
FPX
action.
masalahnya.
Well, we're hearing the teams give out their battle cries as well. This is actually the first time I feel like I've heard
Ini
them
warnanya pecah sih kalau
really,
5 nyoy.
shout and
Yeah.
yell on stage, so they're definitely ready. Can this go to a game 5? That's the big question. Let's send it back to Rafa and TJ and find out.
Analyst S, I don't know if you can see us, but TJ is looking at his palms.
I think there's something on my palms, my fingertips, my hands.
Ini frontline
I think there's
FPX ada
something all over them.
tiga ini
I'm
nyoy.
gonna take a look.
Emang TT pakai K ya, bukannya TT
TJ!
atau
What is it?
We've got a series on our hands!
What? On
Maksud
my
TT banyak
hands?
On
banget,
your
lumayan.
There's a series?
Oh, it's on all of our hands, TJ!
That's crazy, dude.
That's what I'm saying. And Fun plus Phoenix and Nova know it too. This is the first time in the entire tournament where
Tapi
they
nggak
have
tahu juga sih
felt
pro
the
player lain
stakes
mainnya, nah itu dia.
never higher than before.
FPX still 1 game away from elimination, but they have drafted a composition which fits them so well. This is team fighting. This is everyone demonstrating their mechanical skill. This is FPX taking Nova face first into the team fights, which Nova have also drafted for. So we're going to have 5v5s and team fights all game.
Jing sama
For
Jin nggak pernah
potentially
di pick ya,
still the
kalau di
final
top kompetitif
game
nggak
or
pernah.
The series tie game if we want to go to a game 5.
Lo.
Full distance could
Lo,
be
lo,
had
lo, lo.
if FPX are
Look
the
at
ones
the
that come
full
up clutch.
5 games.
Please, please. I want the best series
Marcus
ever.
Biasanya yang ada
The
sapinya
Raptors.
menang, oke, kita lihat ya.
Prague's a god of Wild Rift.
Aurelion Soul.
Aurelion, so Prague to Aurelion Soul.
Asol, please.
Asol, please, give us 5. Fado now playing on the top side of the map versus Yiza in the 1v1 that has been so decisive across this series. And I do
Kayak Mil
mention
Karma
this is the
rotasi
first
baru
time
terus
we've
emang
seen
iya.
Oh, look at that. Fado.
Wah,
Gold
hampir
in
ya.
the face of Yitse, and it's because 0711 answers early.
This is the first time we've seen the Camille in answer to the Ribbon, not taking the tank, but instead saying, we can get aggressive and put the mechanics check for Nova. 0711 for the first time in the series on the Lee Sin character, which needs to get out in late.
Oh, kirain Cameron mau rotasi bersama terus. Enggak lah, tetap farming dulu dong.
Camille in the top lane.
Tinggal tidur aja streamingnya kok, iya tinggal tidur nggak ada.
Before the Scuttle Crab comes
Kan
up,
dia power
he's
spike
going to
Nova
replenish
kuat
on
sih.
HP
We'll see ya.
and resources, and now if he can get Yetzi out of lane, make a pilot, 3 people over to the top side of the map, look for a dive against Yitse while his flash is down.
Yeah, Yuta is going to be constantly under pressure, but that is another.
Jing sama Jin champion bangsa, tolong jangan di pick ya
Hook
teman-teman.
shot can
Waduh.
be set under pressure. Once you hook
Bener
shot
lu.
onto a wall, nobody can target you. So if you time it well, you can avoid massive engage spells. Makes it the ideal champion to survive pressure with.
Yeah, see, already fighting for mid-wave control. He wants to set up.
Is gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
I really love it. I think using pressuring in here, Yezi, using the Renekton as a direct draft into the Karma is a really good call. Saying, okay, well, I can instantly clear waves, and I can bully this Karma and make sure we don't get to the more supportive late game.
And one of the things that Karma does so well in is against bruisers that don't have
Pukul
sustain.
Bang Wibi,
Guess what
anjing.
Renekton has supplies of, TJ?
Sustain?
Bingo.
Wow, dude. Yes, he's going to be able to stay in these fights as the front line, as the attention-grabbing force during the early game. And he's going to have two teammates in that. Fado, who we've seen the effect of a Riven this series.
Dude!
Okay!
Yami was looking for the body slam, but the Krug spawned at the last minute.
That was crazy!
Dude, 0711's got to pay the Krugs after this game.
He's got to pay ASOL. He paid to ASOL and got a Krug spawn. I don't know quite what that poke was for, the satchel charge, but it was really funny. Knocked Remake off of his arrow.
Long sekali toh, pagi stream siang kuartal, sore stream sampai malam, tengah malam ngopi, mana ada.
Just took a game and prevented the
Ini habis itu gua
sweep.
tidur nih, cok.
FPX can get in their heads and go for the reverse sweep. That would be a huge tilter.
So far. Oh, what a kick!
0711
Oh!
and it's Long that answers back.
Oh, nice.
It's not enough.
Wow.
0711 goes down to Long, and he cannot pursue the dive.
Oke, sementara itu di
1-for-1
bawah.
trade in the early phase. Lay stepping forward down bottom onto Remake. He
Yo, nggak mati dong.
Lei cleans it up,
Yo,
and
nggak ada
Yami
mana itu
cannot answer
progresnya.
back.
Yo, dipaksain, cok. Nice banget ada ignite dia.
He doesn't get
GG.
Oh, but the ignite finally takes him down.
The minions in the ignite, I think, combined to
Anjing,
find the
calculated
kill.
banget, cok.
And Yami gets a 1-for-1 trade he frankly should not have gotten. Xiaoma during that time.
Pasti Wukong damage skill satunya nyoi.
So FPX don't get a
Kok bikin
gold
voting
lead
kok yang mau
despite
skill
being
panda?
so
Iya
really
nih.
sick of mid-play from 0711, despite everything on paper going right for them.
Dude, but this kick was freaking sick.
Biggest brain kick in the universe, but then okay, you're in the middle of this and the Transcendent Grace drops.
Gila, nice banget
and
tuh
then
Karma
there's a
masih sempet
Wukong
ulti ya.
auto-attacking you.
Whacking you
Kind
with
of
the
goes
stab.
sideways from there because you're in a close 1v1 against Long, who's always going to output max damage.
It was the Venn diagram of death right there.
Yeah.
Neon, Transcendent Embracing Cyclone.
And, you know, we're talking a lot about FPX's game plan. It is worth mentioning that for the first time in this series, Long is positioned on a hard carry. He's off the Lee Sin, which is normally only good during the early game. And he's onto characters that can do real damage.
4 seconds away from objective spawning here. Nova and FPX already in position.
Oh, trading
Top
lagi,
side,
nice.
It's going to be a Rift Herald burned by FPX. Infernal Drake taken by Nova.
0711 wants to continue the snowball going for Fado. He was able to burn a summoner spell off of Yitse, but he survives the pressure, still has the gold lead. This time, they're going to ram it in harder.
Top lane push will come out. Fado and Co. forcing this turret to fall. I think the choice of objectives does also indicate exactly where they're going to put their focus in this game. It's all about using the Rift Herald to close this game quickly for FPX.
Oh, nice.
A lot of damage. Long force use Cyclone. Cannot stop the Rift Herald from
Ay!
kill it down. Oh, that's the 1v2. Lei coming from
Wah,
behind the
kena
turret.
stun lagi.
He's forced to flash away, but Fado follows up with a wind slash. Just a couple more auto
He's
attacks.
dead!
Lei
Wah,
being the
dapat
big
turret dong di
champ
atas
and
dong
taking
for
on
free.
the tower.
On the bottom side of the map, Neon is trying to defend his jungle, and he's brought Yami into
Yo!
Exhaust, but he dodges the body slam by dashing to Neon with the Sonic Wave, Resonate
Remake.
Strike, being able to flash away. 0711, you're freaking
Remake
insane
for
on the
the arrow.
Lee Sin.
Yo,
He
nggak
can't
mati
find
dong.
it. And so this will be turret pressure, but it's going to be traded in mid.
Mati dong
Xiaoma
itu.
needs just one package, one
Oh,
satchel charge.
Dude, Long tried to respawn back with low HP, but Xiaoma with the exhaust takes him out of the fight and gets the first brick.
And there it is. FPX, despite losing that trade on the bottom side, do manage to find the first turret break of the game. FPX are running the map right now, but Infernal Dragon did go over to Nova. But Nova do have a really good late game team fighting composition. This Camille will scale incredibly hard, as will Wukong, as will Karma, in terms of enabling both those carries we just talked about. And Remake is going to be perfect for late game team fights where he can sit a mile away and just poke and prod away with the arrow.
Kalau
So,
FPS lagi itu nama
FPX,
GPS
as
nggak kok? Iya,
indicated by their
kocak.
choice to take the Rift Herald, need to win early. That is what their composition is designed to do.
Sama
And they
GPU,
should have
Bi.
a devastating advantage in the first 15 minutes of this game, or they will lose.
Which is why FPX flipped the switch as early as 1 minute and 20 seconds into the game. We saw the first move from 0711 getting the flash out, and the pressure has surmounted and snowballed ever since. Nova has been able to respond on some fronts, but it's still the gold advantage that FPX have netted for
FPX
themselves.
menang ini, kita lihat
So,
ya.
FPX, how do you take the next step? How do you force another turret take the gold advantage that they need in order to
Gosok
make sure
tiga
that
udut
Nova can't
GPU.
just slowly grind their way back into it? Well, the key shutdowns are going to be long and user. You see the rotate here. FPX bringing 0711 up into this lane to try and get those kills.
Harus pakai
And
skin
then the
Gejo.
other thing is
Iya
going
duh.
to be, you literally cannot let them get an objective. So, as we head into this next Drake,
Oh,
we see FPX contest
oh,
the
aduh.
first spawn of the Rift Herald and then immediately be there for the Dragon. They have to double objective. And then the third thing, which we haven't seen, because I think I have enough time, is I need to see them take away jungle farm.
Yes.
And they do have these 2 turrets down, and you see now FPX starting to put some aggressive vision down, but they need to be stealing away every little bit of farm from Long, depriving him of his late game.
Skin
which is
kesukaan
so-
panda. Iya duh.
The further this game goes, the harder it is to kill a Wukong later in those team fights. With all the sustain and the maneuverability he can get in and out of fights.
Ooh, nice.
Exposed
Yo.
to a great last-minute maneuver from Fado, dodging out on the explosive.
Wah.
Remake! It's a huge knockup from Lei. Mega
Wow.
finds the mark, and kaboom goes Remake just in time as the Rift Herald will spawn in 30 seconds.
And you see FPX looking for that kill, pressing so aggressively, knowing they can find an opportunity now that those turrets are down to take aggressive control of the enemy jungle. And their tank players being there in the jungle looking for slip-ups gives them reward. And the more they do that, the slower Nova will have to rotate on the map because they can't pass through their own jungle if FPX are invading it. So I want to see more of that from FPX, more aggression. The fact that they're playing so slow and towards the team fights right now is worrying me because it means we'll have a relatively even team fight here for this Rift Herald.
Nova are actually the first ones here to the Rift Herald because FPX dedicated their split push resources to getting more turret plate gold on the opposite side of the map.
And they can't outscale Nova, so I think this is a mistake.
FPX gonna try to defend this tower from going down. So far it's only 0711. Shaman Yetzi making the
TP in.
rotation.
Fado's
It's a
joining.
teleport from Fado as well. Lee
Uh-oh,
is already stalled out
uh-oh.
Yomi on the re-engage so far. 0711
Yeah, buahnya
Can he find the
offset.
knockups here? But it's already
kena
lost.
lagi.
Two finds the initial one, but Lei deflating a lot of the aggression engage from Nova, but they still lose out on Fado.
So it's a trade advantage for Nova, and they now have a kill going into this Dragon. And the worst thing is Fado can't even threaten to teleport into the fight.
Wah, anjing. Oh,
Fado
bayangan deh.
will be coming up in 10 seconds, have to take the long way walk back to the Dragon. Nova have set themselves up for defense of this pit.
Yeah, they are going to stay on the map, and they're going to burn this as quick as possible because they know they have a 5v4. No, they drift away. They give FPX control.
Oh, they're fighting for midway priority right now. They want to knock out the mid turret completely before they regain access to the pit.
And FPX's timer is ticking. They have to press an advantage now. The longer they wait in this game, especially having given away an even trade in turrets a couple of moments ago, the worse this game is going to get for them.
And look at this. By prepping the minion wave on the bottom side of the map, they're creeping through the bottom river entrance. They're looking for an opportunity where FPX will cede control and then find a rotation through the vision of darkness.
Lei and Fado zone Yami out of the pit. They gain information on where Nyan is as well. But they lose control of the pit itself. And several of their members are resetting right now, so they can't stay in this pit. This is a false front. Fado dashing forward there to threaten as if all of FPX are here. But they don't actually have the resources to fight.
It's a constant tug of war here, TJ. They're pulling in FPX where they don't have vision, and they're forcing them to play a game of death where they could be face-checking into multiple members.
Objective being contested. Wave being pushed down bottom. Nova, no vision currently on the Drake. Used the redemption to gain vision of it. FPX don't know where Nova are, which makes them nervous. They're using the Ziggs bouncing bombs to try and gain some vision on the opposite side and coming up with nothing.
And Nova don't mind playing the
Oh,
long game
kena.
out of this one.
Ya, gagal combo. Wah, gagal combo.
Lei trying to headbutt pulverize, misses the headbutt, just pulverizes, which cancels the entire play. He cannot follow
Ini
up
masih ada
after that
harapan
fumble.
sini.
And he has to wait for his cooldowns to come back up, which causes FPX to reset.
Huge stun from Yezi. Forces Yitze out, half HP.
He's always going to be able to disengage in those moments because they are playing Camille.
Aduh, mati dong itunya. Wah, hampir, Cok.
That's the main engage gone from Nova. Now up to Long and Yitze to find the engage.
You take the dub in the burn of the flash, and FPX are going to say, that's enough for us to start
Stop
this
kena
dragon.
push, nyoy.
Hoping that it will force Nova into a disadvantaged fight.
We have been at this pit for the past 2 minutes, TJ. They have been fighting over this dragon tirelessly. It's up to Nova to find poke, but FPX keeping them at bay.
Roman, Long, into the pit.
Apakah 2-2, apakah 3-1 ini belum tahu nih. Oke, kita lihat ya.
Decoy has straight attention away from FPX. He's still alive, waiting
Oh!
for him to be ticking down, but it is 0-11
Okay.
that secures the dragon, and Remake was completely separated in that fight. Yami already biting the dust thanks to Fado, and Remake is on the run. The rest of Nova
Wah,
isolating
ini
Long as
Baron
well.
dong deh.
Don't drop a single member.
A brilliant team fight from FPX as they, as you say, split the backline.
Wait.
Remake unable to contribute damage to that fight. A massive shift from previous games where he was the primary source
Wah,
of
apa
Nova's
ini, Cok? Di
damage.
pos mulu,
And that
Cok.
means that despite getting low HP members and doing quite well in the individual 1v1s, Nova cannot turn that fight into a win, cannot contest the dragon, and do lose out a major gold swing.
A failure of conversion from Nova Esports, one of the first times that we see throughout the series.
Pos tai.
This is the first time
Sabar
that
dong,
we
jangan
see them
ngomel-ngomel dong.
with the gold advantage, and it's a massive one, 5,000 before the 10-minute mark.
Yeah. And I have been stressing how
FPS
they need to
twist like
act on that
si
gold
anjing.
advantage. This is not
Terpos
a
lagi,
like
Cok.
Jack
Kena pos
scaling
lagi.
game, but it is a
Meta pos
complete
masih mendominasi
scale.
guys ya, mantap.
And I think particularly with Nova Esports having that Camille and Karma combo for the late game, that's really scary. That's very dangerous.
As we wait to get back into this very,
Welcome back to Pause City.
very tense game.
Oh no!
Oh, it's,
Oh, it's a replay. Okay.
take it away, TJ.
I was like, what? We're right back into a dragon fight? How's that possible? Here it is. And you were talking about how Remake was isolated. Take a look at the bottom half of this fight. It is all Riven. It is all Fado. Just occupying Remake. Just occupying 3 players.
Kalau pos gini player boleh makan seblak nggak, Bang?
And like two really
Ya
like
jangan
players,
dong.
Bug, where
Nanti
Fado
dia
was
mencet-mencet
abysmal. That's my
pedes-pedes
favorite
tuh.
part.
Mandi dulu kok. Ya, gue tadi
Even
pagi
the
udah mandi,
FPX
Cok.
coach becoming even more
Masa ya mandi
elated
lagi.
in game 4 than he was in game 3, where
You think that's elation? I think that's relief.
it's both. It's both.
Ayo kos, senaman mata tuh
That
gimana?
is so crazy. Fado was literally sitting right on top of Remake, and there is nothing that Yami nor Neon could do in that moment. They had already expended their main CC cooldowns, and Fado's like, all right,
Stun. Stun.
knock
Stun.
up.
Yeah. And Riven is like really good as a frontline character, maybe the best frontline character in the game, if you are mechanically perfect.
Yes.
And that is what makes the character so hard to play, because if you miss stuff,
Apa kos penyamar lagi, berak? Ayo kos, oh tadi udah ngopi Bang. Jangan coy, jangan ngopi
Yeah,
gue.
because your movement
Ninggol, anjing, ngopi mulu
ability
gua.
is also your main damage ability as well. And the fact that it's tied
Gila ini
together,
posisi parah ya. Dari tadi yang ngepost
you
ya
have
anjir.
to be precise with the execution and your intent on
Oh,
those decisions.
belum nih,
in
belum
the
masuk.
fights.
Kirain gue udah masuk.
Speaking of precise,
Udah nih, udah guys.
back in the game,
Bam.
bam.
Back
Not
to
as
the
good as
game bro,
a
back to the game bro,
Mika
let's go.
transition, but Mika's legendary with those.
We'll dream of it.
Mana habis di post tim Red dapat Elder Dragon emang iya.
Back on the rift.
Lumayan tapi kan nambah Super Karama like mantap.
as you talked about going into
Betul,
that
kenapa
break,
streamnya
do
jadi
have a
pagi
goal
kok, karena aku
lead
harus
for kind of
sekolah.
the first time this series.
Ah,
Nova
itu
Esports
sih
on the opposite
kemarin tuh
side.
karena lagi pagi bangun pagi aja gua.
They're waiting
Sebagai
for
viewer yang
that
baik saya
scale
menyatakan
to
berasap aja Bang, nggak boleh Cok, nggak boleh. Tidak boleh. Tidak boleh.
This is where FPX have to really hammer in the advantage though, because they cannot just
By the way,
be
gue juga udah
content
nggak bisa ngerokok nih,
with
gue
5,000, 6,000
udah
gold lead for the next
lagi
few
kondisi
minutes.
kayak gini,
And we'll give enough time
ngerokok
for
sih
Nova to scale
meninggal
back
gue
up
aja.
into their own late game power. FPX have
Udah
to
begah.
make the next fight count into
Udah
doing
golek,
some
Bang, 2 kali,
major
berak lu.
damage to the structures of Nova Esports' base.
Serat.
Speaking of scaling, I do want to talk about Remake, because he's really struggled in a couple of fights in a row here. the entire time that both Nova and FPX were skirmishing around that dragon should have been Poke City for Remake.
Yeah.
But I was seeing too few arrows, and almost none of them were hitting. And there's a couple reasons for that. I think Remake is struggling with vision. I think FPX are doing a really good job of locking down that vision. And I also think Remake, it's just really scary to be throwing out arrows close to a pit when you don't know where the lease is. Because if you throw an arrow over the ball and 0711 is nearby, Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike...
Suruh aja kok kami sebagai viewer yang baik dan ramah
Or he can even
yang
safeguard
bantu
the
nonton.
wall, he can
Siap.
isolate
Aman.
for the
Thank
rest
you ya,
of the team.
Robin.
So Remake needs to be protected, and he needs to be more proactive in landing arrows. So, ooh, we got a little bit of a spin. Everyone's talking about that spin like it's a cosmetic decision, and it absolutely is. It is very stylish. But it also is a way to stop your enemy from being able to dodge the spell.
Yeah, because you don't know where it's going to
FX biar gak gampang gamenya. Hahaha, bangsat. Kalau bosen ngudut boleh lah, makan keripik. Tadi udah makan gua. Kan gua sih dibilang bosen kagak bosen gue tadi nontonin. Cuman emang mata emang rada berat aja gue gara-gara kan gua aktif dari pagi tadi kan. Jakarta naik sepeda sama sore kok bodo amat do.
Very cool to see Remake doing the spins, knows the tricks of the Varus trade.
Luna was the first one that showed us a lot of the Varus spins, and I always thought he was going for like 360 no scopes.
He certainly was. It is very cool. It is also tactically significant.
Hell.
Atau really going for it here.
Dude, just popped the ulti, and Long was like, bro, it's not that
Alright,
serious.
dude. Okay.
It's just my blue buff, and they didn't even cast it. Whoa, they're burning down the Baron. They're starting it up.
Does Long know? I don't think Long knows.
Aduh.
Yummy.
Ya.
But it's such a good
Aduh,
stance
miss lagi
from
ulti
Shama,
Geragasnya.
preventing the explosive
Wah,
catch
gawat
from
banget.
getting him
Aduh, itu
back into
Wukongnya
the back line.
ketinggalan, Cok.
No Transcendent Embrace. Hextech ultimatum from Yitze.
Ya.
But Yami still gets taken down by
Wukongnya
Fado.
ketinggalan
It's
gak
a
tuh?
5-on-4 now for FPX.
FPX have to fight so hard to get that kill, but
Jangan
they do the
beleduk,
advantage the
waduh.
entire team fight, so it's relatively safe for
Game
them.
5 nih
They
biar
found
seru,
a
kayaknya
point
kemungkinan
to
besar
kill
game 5 juga sih
onto
bisa jadi.
Yami. Unfortunately, it did cost them almost every flash on their team, so that's kind of interesting. Oh no, it's a majority flash still up. It only cost them Yezi and 0711. Xiaomo in the middle of the fight got caught in a really weird position, and I guess Satchel charged out. It looked like a flash to me. It was good Satchel charge.
And just good timing on the stasis to be able to reevaluate the decisions he needed to make in that
Wukong
fight.
jangan open war tanpa gua anjing.
Do not like this. FPX managed to get the kill though, not a whole lot with it. And sometimes I see
Ngamuk-ngamuk dia anjing.
very good Western players. They're like, whoa, what are these teams fighting over? Well, sometimes it's okay to fight over kills because getting a kill onto Yami gets gold onto your key carries. So anytime you can find a pick uncontested, like there, it's safe for FPX to keep forcing kills or keep forcing the push because they know that they have cooldown advantage and player advantage in that fight. They knew where Long was, they knew it was a safe fight to take, so they chased the kill.
And now we are 10 seconds away from the Elder
Wukong
Dragon.
lagi nyari pisang malah war. Iya tuh. Geragas tadi
This is
telat
an
mulu.
objective
Namanya
that is worth
waduh.
fighting over. FPX do have full resources available again. Still missing Flash on 07 and Yezi, but apart from that, top down.
Ooh, that's a good shock.
And here we go for the Elder. FPX still in dangerous territory. They do have a several thousand
Wukong
gold lead, but
di Nimo udah kelar nih matchnya menang FPS bang dia kocak.
Looking for a kick.
Oh nice, ulti Kamil. Ya, dia komit sendiri lagi.
Has to reposition. Yetzi forces down
Wah,
the
wah.
Meanwhile, it is Remake that is unchecked.
Oh, nice. GG.
Takes out the first member in the front
Wah,
line and Lei.
wah.
0711 forced back alongside Fado. FPX lose out on the trade and they're down a member.
And Yuza dives in, forcing a response.
Sapinya udah
Everyone
keras nih,
has
saya
to
baru
defend
dibilang keras.
Shama. And
Meninggal
no, he
tuh.
doesn't get the kill onto Shama. He doesn't even really threaten it, immediately jumping over the wall, running away. But the fact that he Hextech ultimatums into the back
Oh,
line,
berani
the
lu di
fact that
start
he
lagi.
draws FPX's attention and ire means that Remake is free from aggression, free to keep firing away from the back line of that fight and get a kill onto
sakit
lane.
banget
Now,
anjir, Cok.
5v4, Nova, go for the Elder, go for the series.
They pressure 0711 away, but the Dragon
nice.
needs to be reset right now.
Wah.
Fado, it's all up to him to stall
Wah,
time for
ini
the rest of
rapet
FPX
banget
to
ini
be able
Nova,
to
Cok.
reorganize and get back into position.
Shama's doing so much damage right now, and his poke is enough
Sampai
to force
ngeteng
Nova
angin,
to
iya.
back away after they're not able to catch Fado.
Xiaoma's on vision.
Oh!
The
Wah,
Dragon
dia pakai
is gonna be
stasis.
another
Wah!
satchel charge. It's not that
Wait, tuh.
going to be enough.
Wah, gede banget itu
just
Karma,
lost
Cok.
out on the heart of their damage. 4-man knockup from Lei, but can
Wah,
FPX
GG
follow
sih
up?
ini,
It's
game
just
changing
to buy
sih.
time for Fado to get
Nasus
back into the
harus
fight,
masuk
but
lagi nih.
can't find anyone with the
Selepetin.
wind slash.
Selepetot.
True disaster for FPX because
Wah,
Shamo doesn't
wah,
realize
sumpah,
he's
nge-pro.
standing right next to a
Pas
blue
level
ward.
ini geli-geli ya kayaknya.
Nova can step forward and
tahu.
start to threaten this Elder.
Terus
This
selama
will come to
Elder,
response
Cok.
for
Waduh.
FPX without their major source of damage. Nova can turn and win the team fight.
They have to
Aduh,
solve for
itu mereka
23
masih ada
seconds.
Lee Sin yang
That's when
ngeri
Shamo
banget ini.
comes back up. That's when he can teleport right back into the fight.
Hey.
Force the advantage. They
Nah
have
lu,
to get
nah lu,
this
gerakan
major
saya datang.
dragon down for them. Lei
Ya,
completely
Renektonnya
jumped out
mati
of the
dong.
fight. Can't re-engage.
Buang
It's
nyawa
Nova
dong Renektonnya.
choking down the dragon as fast as they can. 0-7-11,
Wah.
buying as much time as they can.
Ya, nggak kena
He already
ultinya.
burned the GA. He cannot re-engage into the fight.
4,000
Nova
HP.
now burning down the dragon, turning all
Oke, kita
fronts
lihat
onto it.
siapa yang
Shamo
bakal
finally
Elder, guys.
spawns, and he's getting ready
Wah,
to get
itu ultinya
it.
Six.
Going for all the
Oh,
marbles.
Comet,
Sail over
Comet.
this fight, but no one.
Oh, Kamila dapet, Cok. Wah, dapat tapi rata kan nih? Aduh, nggak ada mana. Balik, Cok. Wah!
FPX able to equalize, but the dragon goes over to Nova.
User stepping forward as
Wah,
well to try
GG
and
banget
open up this
anjing. Wildernya wah
mid
asli.
lane and try and get the kills they need to keep this game going. Nova
Seger nih Nova
have the
nih.
massive advantage
Kena
towards the
mental
late
nih
game.
FPX show. Aduh, hancur lagi di atas.
Pushing at the top side.
Hampir anjing.
That inhibitor is no HP
Kami lihat game serem banget.
anymore.
Iya.
Disaster for FPX.
Udah ini
They were
harusnya
in
game Nova
control
sih.
of this game.
Elder Cok, masalah
But they
Cok.
could not
Mantap
run
banget gue
the
cekan
clock
tadi. Yoi.
fast enough against
Emotional
Nova.
damage
They
sih,
lost
aslinya
track of
emotional
time.
damage
The
sih, sumpah.
Elder came and Nova
Itu,
clutched it.
Ziggs-nya
What a massive
ketangkap.
fight. Starts with this pick, isolated in the top side. Shama does go down. And then
Wah, ini
trying
juga
to
itu
get something
statusnya
back.
Karma,
The
anjing.
perfect timing on the
GG
sticks.
banget sih,
Neon
sumpah.
Makes it so there's no way to instantly trade. At that point, you're throwing bad money after good. And so
Ah.
Lee and the rest of FPX disengage as best they can. Nova, though, know they have an advantage, and this is such an awkward position for
that's it.
FPX to be in. They have to step forward and contest. They have to somehow stall this out, and they try some truly heroic stuff. Fado dancing forward in the front lines. 0-7-11.
Gila, itu kamu udah
such a long
sakit
time
banget
around the side,
geprekannya,
but
anjing.
he loses all his HP to use it, steadily coming online, and so when his GA gets popped in a moment here by Long, he doesn't have
Oke,
the
buat beli Wild
HP
Pass
to
Karma,
contest
siap.
this dragon. And the
Aduh,
second they see
pusing-pusing,
that,
aduh.
the second 0-7-11 escapes on 1 HP, Nova know they can burn this dragon in earnest. And there is an attempt, you'll see at the second half of this fight, an attempt to teleport back in time to steal. It doesn't work. But the stacked abilities with the respawn from the Ziggs to make it so that
Oh, dapetnya pakai skill 2 tadi Kamil ya?
low, and it is indeed a
Juara
two-player
1 kemarin juara
turn
3,
for
oke.
0-7-11 and the rest of FPX upon the teleport arrival.
And the fact that they had taken out Long before the dragon
Gila.
was burned down.
Tapi duit
it
belum
gave
sama ya ini ya.
FPX a small window of hope, but Yitse, using the second cast of the precision protocol,
You
gets
got through the
damage.
team fight, it's okay, it's the downside.
6.6k on the Camille, and now Lei
Nice.
is in the
Wah, waduh.
Yami, he gets out, but not
Waduh, disaster ini.
Nova Esports have to be on the retreat. They have to respect the rest of the damage from FPX.
Yami started the series with such dominant performances. Now he's
Aduh.
picked off twice in the same game. Maybe enough to give FPX a bridge back into this game, but they need to act now. They need to control this game now, because we talked about the scaling before. With the Elder in hand, it is even worse. FPX are going to have to be perfect to win team fights from here on.
The worst fears for FPX have come to fruition. Nova Esports are
Wah, sapinya udah mulai mau
online, and it's
ngeprank
now
nih.
down to Miracle Blaze
Ngadu-ngaduin
to save
damage
this
nggak tuh?
game.
So FPX are back at their old tricks, trying to force Nova to
Kasian
step
Garagasnya
forward
nggak bisa
into a
gerak, iya,
5v5
Cok.
they don't want to take. Tapping away at the Baron, seeing what happens. The Baron, of course, by 23 minutes into game, is a formidable opponent in its own right, which means that this is even sketchier behavior than it was the last time. we saw
Udah
it from
sepertinya lu
FPX.
belum cooldown lagi ya. Tadi baru dipakai. Oh iya, tadi baru dipakai pas keluaran ya.
Maintain these minion waves being heralded in by Nova Esports. They can play the long game. They are not the ones being run down on the clock. They can play this one as long as possible, where it is FPX. It is up to them to find a window to get back.
And I want to highlight Neon has completed Staff of Flowing Water, which is going to damage, amplify ability casts for this team. So,
ulti kamu Gragas.
Neon, Megan Furtibomb
sakit
gets a decent
banget,
chunk out, but
anjing.
Neon, beautiful shields, absorbs it all.
so the key targets for FPX in these team fights, if they want to win despite the scaling.
Waduh, ini monyet juga udah serem banget nih main damage sekarang.
Built themselves Zhonya's, and Neon is about to turn into Crystalline Reflector, something we haven't seen a whole lot this tournament. But that item will give him a massive amount of AP shielding, basically. For every AP point he has, he gets a little bit of armor.
And it's the damage reduction. But he's got hook shot, so he's fine.
Dikejar, dikejar.
0711, look at the FPX, they're completely caught out here. They're split, laying, forced to flash, intercepting Yitz's second hook shot, but he still has a GA, Transcendent Embrace, pulls the shot.
Ultinya cok, waduh Rivennya.
Bafado coming in from the left side of the flank, forced to flash away from the roof.
Yes,
FPX still has to force this fight.
Wah, GG guys.
They have to be able to put Shalma forward, but he can't because this flash, while it's down, it is too dangerous for him to step up to the members of Nova Esports.
And Leia and Desi, the two frontline characters, are just caught out and burned down.
Chain of Corruptions misses, but Yami finds the body slam. It forces 0711's flash. Frontline from FPX is forced to retreat, meaning there is not enough space for Xiaoma to walk in.
And Nova are going to try and force this the same way they did around the Elder. This is now all about the Baron.
Baron being burned down in a blanket of darkness. Megan Furtibomb finds the spark. Yiche has found Shaman. No flash.
Aduh, kena solo kill, cok.
Have 50 seconds where they have to stall for Shaman to come back alive to stop this Baron from being taken down.
TP's in.
0711 and Lane
Wah,
are
udah
coming
sini
from the
game-nya udah
base.
kelihatan sih guys.
5,000 HP on the Baron.
Divit cok asli.
0711
doing everything that he can to stall out Nova.
Itu kok nggak dibantuin kak? Aduh.
But 0711 is gone.
Bisa oke.
And now Yezi and Leia are on the run. They are forced to flash.
Wah,
The
gila
last
singkat
domino
kilanya
to
beberapa
potentially
silat
this
siap.
winning game of the series has come through for Nova.
And Nova could rewrite history here, claiming the title of the best team for the WRL over FPX. They are one Nexus break away from knocking them out of the tournament and booking their ticket to the grand finals of the first ever Icons World Championship.
You'd say with the hook shot, Vado still no flash. Yetzi trying to play for it, but
ultinya
an
meleset.
explosive cask from Yami separates Lei from the members of FPX.
dead.
Xiaoma, it's all up to FPX.
Wah, anjing sakit. Kena, mampus. Wah, udah guys, guys.
Nova Esports, they have gone supernova, and they have clipped the Fun Plus. Supernova soars into the sky, shining brighter than the stars as Nova upset the #1 team.
Udah habis
from
ini
the
FPX, habis.
WRL.
Over belduk, waduh.
What a game from Nova Esports. They get one
Wah,
win
anjir,
over an FPX side. 3 games where they are
Kuat banget anjing.
dismantled. We
GG
came
Supernova
into
asli.
this series talking about long, talking about how Nova Esports
Pecah
relied
testis
on their
Riven
star
stack-nya.
carry to
Waduh,
make
PF
anything
bisa kali ya banget tuh.
What we have seen when they are faced with the best team in the WRL is that Nova can
By the way
also
teman-teman nih, gue
rely on
masih ada
Remake,
giveaway
can
terakhir
also
teman-teman ya. Gue masih
rely
ada
on
giveaway
the
terakhir
rest of this
teman-teman ya.
team to carry them across the line.
Oke. Jangan kabur dulu teman-teman. Cok, jangan kabur dulu, Cok.
Cemented
Tuh, buat kalian yang masih nge-stay nih, tuh ada hadiah ekstra, bro.
but fell
Ya
short
gimana tuh
during
si
the
Nova ini
playoffs
parah. Wah,
alongside
ini
Nova
fake berarti
Esports.
berak. Selesai
In
udah
the end,
kelar,
it was
hadiahnya udah kelar
FPX
guys.
that took the crown of the
Bentar, keywordnya
WRL
apa ya?
region. They came into the tournament
Keywordnya
expecting to take the crown of the world, but it is Nova that stopped them in
Next
their tracks.
season.
And now they are the ones on the doorsteps
Challenger,
of being
guys.
icons.
They are the first team to book their ticket to the grand final.
Oh, gini aja.
You can
Bentar,
see the
guys.
cheers on
Next
their
season
faces.
Challenger
As far
kita.
as Nova are concerned, this was the match they were waiting for. If anyone has thought Nova looked
Nih guys, gua kopasin guys ya, gua kopasin ya guys ya.
tournament even in victory, this is the match that everything
Ikut ah.
was
Ya,
about.
lu udah menang, Cok.
And now they need only await their opponents
Ikut
from
guys.
opposite
Tuh mereka
side
aja
of the
pilih Albers nomor 1, oke.
87 days ago
Selebrasi
was
tim
the
sini
last
kalau
time
menang
that
pada
Nova
sopan dan
faced
respect,
off
coy.
against Fun Plus
Tidak
Phoenix.
ada yang namanya tidak
They
sopan.
beat them that time, And somehow
By the way, di kopas aja teman-teman ya, biar nggak salah ya.
They sure did. And
Oke,
what a
gue
win as
tungguin
well,
ya guys
because
ya, 5
talk
menit ya
about
guys
how
ya, by the way.
Long is like the best player, and he demonstrated so much depth here. Even shut down in the early game. Long is able
By
to
the way,
find
ini
huge carry
kita ngambil drop dulu,
performances.
Cok.
But it is remake, it is Yami, it is Yiza who step forward in this series to be secondary
Oh,
carries
dropnya
of
nggak
their
ada
team,
sih.
to be able to deliver a win even when Long isn't carrying the
Mantap.
game by himself.
huge, heroic performances from everyone.
Bentar, mana sih kok malah buka ini? Siap. Ini udah berapa nih? Udah 14 orang nih, udah 14 orang ya. Ini gua centang-centangin aja guys yang belum ya. Gua tunggu sampai 20-20 ya teman-teman ya. Tadi tuh gua mau ngapain jadi lupa gua. Oh, ini buat teman-teman. Jadi selamat kepada tim Nova ya teman-teman ya yang udah ngamanin slot ke final ya teman-teman. Besok kita bakal ngeliat ya, ada pertarungan juga antara tim J-Team ngelawan tim Flash di jam 5 WIB teman-teman ya. Tuh kalian bisa cek tuh 17.00 WIB teman-teman. Antara J-Team melawan tim Flash. Oke, nah ini kan finalnya, semifinal kan besok tuh tanggal 6. Nah finalnya nih jangan lupa dicek guys, itu tanggal 9 ya teman-teman ya. Nah buat yang Jakarta kalian siap-siap aja untuk bakal ada nobar lagi teman-teman, kemungkinan besar. Jadi kalian follow aja IG-nya wildrift.jabodetabek buat nanti kita bakal ada kopdar di Jakarta, nobar Jakarta ya. Dan itu slotnya terbatas ya by the way teman-teman ya untuk yang nobar di Jakarta ya. Jadi cuma ada 50 orang pendaftar tercepat gitu teman-teman yang bisa ikut, oke? Bang Momoler masih bawa tete, iya ampun. Goblok. FX menang kalah. Next season challenger kita mantap. Nobarnya bareng VTuber bang, iya mana ada cok. Nobarnya ya udah nobar. By the way ini gue mau ngecek drop dulu tuh, nggak ada. Oh ini. Oke, ini by the way ada yang udah, jangan lupa ya guys, ini juga sekalian di ini guys. Di apa namanya, diambil guys. Sayang nih kalau nggak diambil soalnya. Gratis, kalian cuma tinggal nonton doang di Twitch, teman-teman bisa dapat hadiah. Kemarin tuh ada icon, ada frame, ini ada stiker yang gue belum dapat ini. Yang gue kemarin nggak ngeklaim sih, gue nonton sih tapi. Ini juga ada stiker lagi, terus ini ada recall nanti ya, tanggal 9. Besok juga udah bisa nih, besok udah bisa nih. Julai 9, enggak nih, Julai 9 6 PM GMT plus 7. Ini cuma tinggal khusus untuk ini doang. Apa itu? Long live the king, berak kok ya. Ini challenge juga mantap, sama aja tuh emot kok. Iya sama ya ternyata ya. Oke. By the way udah 2019 teman-teman ya. Udah tinggal 1 menit lagi. Tinggal 1 menit lagi teman-teman sebelum gua roll ya teman-teman ya. Udah turu ya, habis ini gue turu santai ya. Thank you Robin. Nasi challenger kita siap. Next semester udah udah bangsat, nggak usah disepam bangsat. Siapa nih yang belum nih? Ini gue centang ya. Tadi Mugianto, Nezuko. Siapa lagi sih? Udah ya, udah semua ya. Udah semua ya teman-teman ya, udah semua. Mana nih? Ini gue tutup dulu ya teman-teman. Ya, kurang lebih begitu. Sorry by the way, gue baru baca chat lagi, barusan tadi abis ini. Udah kan ini udah 20 ya teman-teman. Ini udah 20 langsung aja gue roll sekali ya. Kok anjing. Astaga Tuhan, ya ampun ngulang dong. Waduh. Sorry cok, ya ampun kepencet nggak tuh anjing. Wah sorry cok, ulang cok. Next season challenge. Ya ampun anjing, sorry. Astaga sorry. Ini kalian spam lagi aja nih, keywordnya gue samain kok. Astaga. Sat. 5 menit lagi ya sampai ke 20.25 ya teman-teman ya. Sorry lah guys. Kita end full dulu ya. Wah ternyata predik kita salah semua ya. Nanti bos. Ulang. Bentar ya by the way guys, gue tinggal kuas dulu bentar ya. 2 menit. 2 menit aja gue tangguh begini. Hey, halo guys. Udah berapa sih ini? 23 ya? 2 menit lagi guys ya, 2 menit lagi guys ya. 2 menit lagi kita roll. Ini kenapa ngeror nih live chat gua? Ikut ke WC boleh bang? Jangan dong anjing. Rezeki gue itu fix, oke. Ah, emang terputus ya? Mana ada cok, berak loh. By the way, tinggal 2 menit lagi ya teman-teman ya. Masih sampai 20.25 ya. Ini bentar. Ini udah kah? Udah semua kah? Coba gue cek dulu ya. 31 ya. Udah 31. 1 menit lagi. Oh iya, by the way, gue besok kemungkinan besar nggak stream dulu teman-teman. Kayaknya gue mau keluar dulu atau sekalian mau record konten juga dulu. Barisnya tidur kok, iya. Tidur gue habis ini. Berarti kita ketemu lagi hari lusa ya teman-teman. Ini tanggal 7 berarti ya, tanggal 7 ya, tanggal 7. Tanggal 7 kita ketemu lagi teman-teman. Kemungkinan besar gue streamingnya pagi sih, jam 7 pagi ya. Atau mungkin di bawah itu jam 6, jam 5 mungkin ya. Gitu. Dan itu gue streaming biasa, main biasa. Udah nih, by the way udah 25 ya teman-teman ya. Pakai uang sponsor apa kocek pribadi bang? Apa itu maksudnya? Ganti jam lagi kak? Kok iya gue lagi sekarang streaming pagi. Kalau misalkan emang gue sempat gue streaming lagi ntar sorenya, oke? Tapi kayaknya sehari sekali sih gue pagi aja gitu. By the way udah ya, ini udah 34 orang. Oke, gue langsung roll aja teman-teman ya. Gue hitung ya, 1, 2, 3. Calm people, mana calm people? Kok sekarang waktu subscribe nggak dikasih lihat semuanya sekarang? Mana nih coba calm people, apa sih calm people? Calm people. Mana calm people? Absen dulu calm people. Ini udah kelar berarti. Oh, lagi masih ngobrol-ngobrol. Ore, mantap. By the way, calm people, tolong DM IG gua. Formatnya adalah lu kasih screenshot YouTube lu pertama, ya. Terus yang kedua lu kasih nama lengkap lu kasih IGN lu kasih email in game lu ya. Jadi nama lengkap, email in game, sama bukan ID. IGN lu in game name lu, oke? Nah 3 itu sama screenshot YouTube ya, jadi 4 total, oke? Gua tunggu ya di @mrlikedoc, lu langsung DM aja, oke? Nanti langsung gua cek. By the way kayaknya mungkin segitu dulu teman-teman semuanya. Bentar gua ganti dulu ya. Nih, kita geser webcam kita dulu guys. Kita pindah ke kiri lagi. Sebentar sama browsernya gue tutup. Browser. Udah bang, cabut dulu. Thank you. Iya, thank you. By the way, mana nih si calm people? Bentar. Jangan lupa di DM ya. Bentar. Oke, siap. Gue tunggu sampai ntar malam, oke? Ya 5 menit lalu kirimin kayak gitu bisa lah ya. Oke, kayaknya mungkin segitu dulu teman-teman semuanya. Jadi gue udah ngucapin maksudnya gue ngucapin thank you banget teman-teman yang udah nobar dari awal sampai akhir. Sorry banget kalau emang gue lagi agak kurang fit teman-teman ya. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you juga yang udah baru datang, yang baru subscribe juga gitu. Thank you banget. Sekali lagi kita ketemu lagi nanti tanggal 7 di streaming yang biasa. Kita mabar lagi. Kemungkinan besar gue belum tahu bakal. Enggak, gue nggak ada nobar. Nggak ada nobarin lagi sih, nggak ada nobar apa namanya? Nggak ada nobar di YouTube lagi ya. Nobar nanti langsung ini aja ya. Offline aja ya. Guys, besok CG kok. Oke, siap. Thank you ya, Bom. Thank you ya guys, by the way guys. Selamat malam semuanya. Selamat istirahat semuanya. Sampai jumpa di next stream alias lusa di tanggal 7 di jam 7. Oke? Sampai jumpa semuanya. Selamat malam. Bye-bye. Thank you guys.